Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Karting Live TV, where this week we bring you round one of the Kart Championship. My name is Joe Bradley, and once again, I'm joined by Nick Damon. Nick, welcome to the Kart Championship, my friend. We're at another kart track. It's another weekend, and here we are with another Kart Championship on Karting Live TV.
It is beyond exciting. It is, it's really great. I'm really quite pleased with everything. It's another championship, a chance to see the youngsters of karting battling away from 6 years upwards to 16, and it's pretty much really very, very exciting. I'm just a little bit concerned about the weather actually at the moment.
No, I know, that's concerning, because up until a moment ago,
it was lovely.
We had a very sunny Whilton Mill, scene of round one of this Kart Championship. Just giving you an idea of what the calendar is, it's a 5-round championship that kicks off right now this afternoon with the first sequence of heats. We've got 2 heats for you in this afternoon's coverage. Then tomorrow we've got 2 super heats going into our super finals. We're here at Whilton Mill now. At the end of the month, 23rd to the 24th of March, we go to GYG, Glanigors in North Wales. We then head up to God's Country in the northeast of England on April the 27th and 28th, where we visit Warden Law for round 3. Round 4, we go from the northeast coast to the northwest coast, where we go to Rowra in Cumbria, another favourite of mine. That's on my birthday weekend, actually, just looking at that, 22nd and 23rd of June. We'll see us at Rowra. We've got a special non-championship event at PF International for our Bambino classes, and then this championship rounds itself off with round 5 at Fulbeck in Lincolnshire on the 13th and 14th of July. We've got 2 Bambino classes. We'll talk about them in a moment, because out on track are our Bambino C50s. That's the petrol-engined Bambinos. I hear you say petrol engine. What do you mean? What else is there? Well, this Kart Championship brings you something else at the very forefront of motorsport technology. The Might E, and I emphasise the E, the Might E Bambinos we have here this weekend, and they'll be out shortly. We've got a Micromax class, we've got an Intermax class. I'm pretty sure our Karting Live TV audiences are familiar with that. And then we've got 2 junior Rotax classes, Junior Primo, I'll explain what that is coming up this afternoon, and our Junior Max. And then we've got the Honda Cadets, which are always very, very entertaining, and it will always bring us very competitive racing. We've got our first grid of the weekend that is out on track, just bringing the field round, is our pole position driver, Noah Wicklow. He's on the front row with Ollie West, with on row 2, William Wainwright and Calman Simon. We've got Arlo Gamble and Ernie Wade on row 3. We've got Riley Aston Wilkins and Jesse Bale on row 4. Row 5 is Hendrix Fallat and Freddie Purnell, with Boston Wolf and Henry Hales on row 6. Row 7 is Jax Wong from Naumann Fleisán. Row 8, Max Armit and Santo Amico. And then on row 9, we've got Etienne Gardner and Max Saint-Hilaire. It's a standing start as ever, Nick, for Bambinos. We haven't got much of a dads and mums race.
Disappointing for the opening of the Kart Championship Bambinos.
It's a 3-step journey, isn't it? It's like two or three steps for the mum and dads, which is a little bit different to if you were watching our Autumn Cup coverage at the end of last season. We've got the grid nicely formed. We've got a few gaps there. Just moving off now. And we are racing for the first time this weekend, and the 2024 Kart Championship this year with MSUK accreditation, the governing body of motorsport in the United Kingdom, will be our sanctioning body for this championship going forward. And into Christmas corner for the first time in 2024 is our field of Bambino C50s. Quite a grid as well. We're such a grid, in fact, that we've had to split them into 3 groups. A, B and C are our groups, and right now we've got groups A and B out battling for honours. So 2 heats, 8 minutes and 1 lap. That's the duration of our heats, just letting the race sort itself out before they come round. The 2 heats will accrue points that will sort the grid going forward into tomorrow for our super heats. The grid's formed from today's heats for the super heats, 2 super heats tomorrow, which will then form the grid for the all-important final, maximise the points haul, and of course the very valued trophy denoting round 1 Whilton Mill of the 2024 Kart Championship. It's the first lap of the season completed then, and it is pole position driver Noah Wicklow at the front of the field, and already 0.2 of a second for William Wainwright. Ollie West in third, Riley Aston Wilkins from Olo Gamble in fifth, Ernie Wade sixth, and then we've got Hendricks Fallat, Freddie Purnell, Jack Swong and Boston Wolf, the driver, who rounds off the top 10. We've got a three-card battle at the front, though, and a three-card battle for fourth, fifth and sixth as well. And that's Riley Aston Wilkins, Arlo Gamble and Ernie Wade, fourth, fifth and sixth. But the battle at the front is beginning to get a little bit spicy, isn't it? As Ollie West moves into second, ahead of William Wainwright there. That's the blue cart. That's gone from third to second. Ollie West there on the number 20, ahead of the 21, William Wainwright. And as they make their way round and back towards us at the paddock, they are into the boot, and already Wicklow easing himself a bit of a cushion there. Wainwright back in front, the yellow cart, the number 21 back in front of the blue cart, so it's 21 and 20 as they were the previous lap. So these two battling for second, clearly slowing one another down, and we'll continue to watch that one develop, because I think that's not going to be over. Indeed not. Up to the Christmas corner they go. They're out of crook. And already we're seeing defensive driving. Now, Christmas corner is effectively a 180-degree hairpin, but these Bambinos carry so much speed into there. Very little speed difference. So down that short straight to Ashby. Very, very tight. Oh, and it's a spin.
Oh.
A spin for the 21, William Wainwright there. And he turned into Ashby there, Nick, and it was the back end of the cart. It just gave up,
we can
didn't
see
it?
that one again, yeah.
Yeah, if we can see that again, that'd be fantastic. Yeah. Here he comes, turns the cart in, and the rear end says, no thanks.
Well done from Ollie West there.
Yeah, but Ollie West finds himself...
Got a bath for his... poor old Ollie there with a bath for free.
Bit of a mud bath there for Ollie West. Tremendous action already kicking off the season. As we then settle in, it's going to be 3 laps completed for Noah Wicklow, who crosses the line. Now, that's going to give him a massive gap. Yeah, 5.5 seconds there from Arlo Gamble now, who takes the hold of second place there behind him. Just under 2 seconds back in third, Hendricks Fallat. And we've got William Wainwright, a recovering William Wainwright after that half spin. Ollie West joining him behind him, but falling back somewhat. Jack Swong right on the tail of Ollie West. And then Jesse Bailey, Freddie Purnell, Ernie Wade, Etienne Gardner. 11th is Boston Wolf. Riley Aston Wilkins down to 12th. Max Armit, Nauman Faizan and Max Saint-Hilaire. That's your 15. We had 18 qualified on the grid.
Got fourth and fifth on screen at the moment. It says it's stretched out the front after that earlier accident. I think is that the recovering Ollie West? I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it
is. Fifth. I think he's picked up fourth place off William Wainwright, the 21. It's two mostly blue carts. It's the green helmet. That's Ollie West. Hopefully he's dried out.
Yeah, and obviously, Nick, the most important factor there was the tyres. Going off a relatively dry tarmac track onto that mud. And it'll take at least, another lap maybe?
Actually, this is fifth and sixth. So it's actually the 67. It's the white helmet of Jack Swong, actually, with the white helmet and the blue cart. They scored fifth and sixth last time round, but I counted fourth and fifth. But it could just be because there's too many carts. Ahead of the 21, that is William Wainwright with the flory yellow, makes it easy for our cameras to pick out as he drives away from the down the pit straight into oblivion. Yeah,
Jack Swong looking very racy indeed. And Wong right onto the tail now of Ollie West. That's the orange number plate of Ollie West. The 21 there, William Wainwright in the foreground, just turning into the corner there, Christmas. Now having to use, Nick, I've just seen there, William Wainwright on the 21, indicating to me by the line he took through Christmas corner that track may be getting even wetter. I'm looking outside, people with their hoods up. It's spitting.
Yeah, I mean, we've had nothing but grey clouds roll over ever since it stopped raining at 10 o'clock. But the forecast, the very unreliable forecast, it's dry the whole time.
And I kept going, dry,
that's not dry. That's not dry. But we're all getting that fantastic early March weather of rain, cloud, sunshine, more cloud. And now we're getting a bit of spitty rain. But yeah, a bit of a grip issue there for the 67. That must be Wainwright. That's Jack Swong.
That's Jack Swong, yeah. Again,
caught out going wide.
Just slid wide onto the grass. And then
no, he was avoiding the accident from, the off-track incident from Ollie West sort of spooked him slightly. So that was two good reactions for the young man, and now he's stranded, so he's lost a bit of drive.
Well, he was taking avoiding action there and moved left onto the grass, but now he's beached himself. And that's the 77.
We've got bright sunshine and the slippery surface
So
flag. Because we're in the UK. We're in the UK.
It's a bit like the Nürburgring. We've got bright sunshine on the start-finish straight, and we've got rain at the boot. At Christmas corner. That's not right, is it?
It's normally 14-mile long circuit. It's not half a kilometre and a half.
Absolutely. That's the number 21 of William Wainwright, who's fourth. Just ahead of him, Hendrix Fallat is in third, Arlo Gamble second, and the leader, Noah Wilco, extended that lead to just over 11 seconds now. So Wicklow showing the pace in time qualifying earlier this morning and continues that into the race. The number 33 there is Freddie Purnell, just chasing down Jesse Bailey. Jess on that orange plate, the orange helmet of Bailey, just heading along the back straight towards... Actually, that's down to Ashby, isn't it? I totally lost my my place there on the track.
First race of the day, it's absolutely fine.
That's down to Chapman, actually.
We're not sitting where we normally sit, and it's fine.
Yeah, I look up to look out on track, and then I look back at the screen, and I completely lost where I was on the track there. But that's Jesse Bailey. Now, Freddie Purnell on the 33, he was right on the rear bumper of that orange cart of Jess Bailey through the final turn there. Bit of history here this weekend for the Kart Championship at Whilton Mill. Bit of Whilton Mill history, actually. So this configuration that we see towards the end of the lap through the Pitts Bend, that's not going to be like that for very much longer, with plans to change the profile of Pitts Bend and put basically what will look like, or what will be indeed, a chicane there.
This should be. We think this is the last televised event of the traditional Whilton Mill final corner. So, and that's the 33.
Yeah, that's Freddie Purnell, who we've been watching Freddie's progress, and he's lost that seventh place now.
Slippy. Happens to the best of us.
But that tells me, Nick, we're seeing a lot of these youngsters spinning off, which is even for Bambinos, that is out of character. We don't usually see as many spins as we've already seen in what is like the first 8 minutes of the season, and that tells me that the track is changing conditions. We're on the final lap.
Where's our leader? Do we know?
For Noah Wilco.
Noah Wilco, number 53. I'm not sure where he is.
So we'll get a look at Noah Wilco. He's on his 8th lap. He's just started the lap now, heading towards Christmas corner by my estimation. So he's a little bit further ahead towards Christmas. And I don't mean the period in the calendar, I mean the corner.
53. They're all trundling around on their last lap. 8 minutes is up.
So we're heading towards the final checkered flag. Sorry, final checkered flag. The first checkered flag. I was ahead of myself there, wasn't I?
That's the
first checkered
flag. That's our third place. That's Hendrix Fallat. And ahead of him is the central Arto Gamble. So you need to move 2 forward, whoever's on the camera.
Yeah, 2 carts forward. From there
I think actually that Noah's got a very big lead of 16 seconds. He's probably about to finish the lap, Ash, actually, because he's got a 16-second lead, the 53 cart.
Yeah, he's going
to. So Wicklow actually may have ruined his chance of TV time by being too fast. Let's stay with the second place man, because I think the first place man has beaten the cameras.
He has. He's underneath the checkered flag already. He's just taken the first checkered flag of the season. Here comes the number 72, Arlo Gamble, who has inherited that second place. He'd be delighted with that as he checks his second flag. That's how delighted that young man is, because Arlo did see the 2 carts in front of him spin off in what turned out to be very tricky conditions to kick off the Kart Championship for 2024. So third place goes to Hendrix Fallat. William Wainwright was 4th. Then we've got Ollie West. Jess Bailey was in 6th. Ernie Wade through in 7th. Freddie Purnell takes the checkered flag there, recovering to 8th. Riley Aston Wilkins comes back up the order to 9th. Boston Wolf crossing the line now will finish in 10th. And then the rest of the field just waiting there. The 13th place, Nauman Faizan, finishes 13th. 14th was Max Saint-Hilaire. Jax Wong, we lost Jax Wong. That was the cart that we saw beached. And he went out 3 laps ago, so he completed 4 laps. So just behind Boston Wolf in 11th was Etienne Gardner, who finished ahead of Boston Wolf. Boston Wolf, in fact, has gone missing. Now that is the route into Parc Fermé conditions. What do we mean by Parc Fermé? Well, that's when the carts are scrutineered to ensure that everyone's running to the regulations. outlined in the MSUK Blue Book.
Can I just say it's lovely and sunny now?
Incredible.
4 seasons in one race rather than 4 seasons in one day.
Yeah, the dark clouds are disappearing, and the forecast that we were promised has arrived, i.e. no more rain. You said no more rain for the rest of the weekend.
I know, I got that wrong, didn't I?
Just
It rained immediately. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I am the opposite of a soothsayer. I'm a non-soothsayer. I'm a re-soothsayer.
Yeah, you get it all wrong. You get it all wrong.
My sooth hasn't been said very well recently.
We've got our Micromax field out next, and if I can just get up our Micromax runners.
I think just for those of you who are joining us, because obviously this is our first Saturday broadcast of the Kart Championship, the first ever Saturday broadcast of the Kart Championship, something we've worked with Dan and the team to bring you this year for the BKC, CKC and JKC. So we'll be showing these first 2 competitive heats at all the rounds this season. Tomorrow we obviously kick off at 10 o'clock in the morning with the super heats, and there's 2 rounds of those, and then the main final start after lunch. I think it's currently programmed for 2:30, I think, but obviously just join us at 10 o'clock for the super heats. So that's the kind of coverage. It's a couple of days worth. Obviously, you're either watching us on Facebook or you're watching us on YouTube. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to either our channel, which is Karting Live TV, or of course the JKC, BKC, CKC channel. And if you're watching on Facebook, again, if you're not watching on Facebook, giving a like to Karting Live TV will help, because that's where all our information about this championship and the other championship we cover goes first. So you'll be fully up to date with all the live karting action. And of course, you're getting some Saturday fun here. Now, I don't want any of you to leave at 3 o'clock because something else is happening in Bahrain. You must stay the whole way.
Ah, yes, of course, yes. Of course, it is.
So,
why would you want to turn over and watch that boring?
Couldn't agree with you more.
I mean, come on.
What's wrong with you people, even though you haven't even done it?
This is where the dynamic motorsport is. And really it is. True. I mean, karting is very, very dynamic. We've got the Micromax qualifying results in front of us, Nick, and the pole position for the Micromax class is Benedictus Masiokas. His time was a 54.109 from Alfie Garrett on the front row with him, a 54.124. That certainly proves to be beneficial to the likes of ourselves who are in the entertainment business. That's going to be a close race. Masiokas is a zip kart driver, Alfie Garrett an RCE. Then we've got Synergy, the Synergy factory race team of Logan Rolfe, 54.547. Then we've got the Ambition, Sebastian Behrman is in 4th on the second row. The teammate Lewis Herbertson, his Ambition teammate I should say, Lewis Herbertson on row 3 in 5th. Alfie Mayer, who's a privateer, he shares row 3. And then we've got Josh Cook in 7th, Chloe McGill in 8th, Archie Rogers Tyler 9th, Elijah West in 10th, Ethan Lloyd 11th, Adam Galudi in 12th, Logan Stanley Jones is in 13th, Buddy Hugo is the qualified in 14th, Xavier Ramsey 15th, and already the grid is around and starting the Micromax heat number 1. They've been giving the wave around.
Yeah, they all asked for it, to be honest.
Because you know why? Because they'd heard that I haven't read out the full grid.
I think it's only fair, really, at that point.
I'll go back to 15th, right, row 8, Xavier Ramsey, and shares row 8 with Ronnie Carter. Then we've got Lewis Kirkcaldy on 17th. Jensen Walker's on 18th. 19th is Matthew Lilly. LBJ Stubbs is 20th. Then we've got Sebastian Crawford in his first season of Micromax, 21st. Jack Millen 22nd. Carter Jackson 23rd. Victor Popakul is in 24th. Dian Singh Pahal in 25th. Ruben Sagu 26th. Zach Andrew in 27th. The other novice in the class, Freddie Blackshaw in 28th. There's lots of novices in the class actually. Jamie Walsh also on a novice plate in 29th. Ronnie Faulkner, Travis Giddings, Jensen Darlow, who is only in his second race meeting completely. And then it's Toby Biggs, who was a non-starter, who will be starting at the back. But back to the front of the grid, as pole position driver, Masiokas and Garrett, Zipkart and RCE lead the Micromax field round. And from what I can see, Nick, they look in grid order, they look in fine order, in fact. A huge field of Micromax. 33 karts have come out to play, and here we go then. And off towards oblivion That's the left-hand kink before the very fast right-hander. That one there, the right-hander, is called crook. And then it's all important because you carry that speed all the way up the hill here towards Christmas Corner. And the leader already looking like he's got a cushion. We've got the number 37 there of Sebastian Behrman, who's gone up to third already. Looked very racy indeed. I'm not sure if he's made that move, Nick.
A little bit of a break there by our leader as well. So, yep, he made it out of 3 corners, the blue-sided cart, the 37 of Behrman. But our leader away and confidently in the red machine. That's Alfie Garrett. And he's been chased down by the very reclined, it seemed, from the rear view. Number 12, Benedictus, whose name is slightly cut off, Masiokas. Masiokas. His name isn't quite on the screen as far as I can see it, but now it's nose to tail, top 2. As they spin round to complete the first lap. A nice,
4
3 wide, but
almost 4.
Behrman lost out of that as they came on the line. Oh, how wide is the 42 go? He's in a different postcode as he comes back in the track again there. Won't be able to do that when they redesign the track, because that won't be there.
Yeah, that slippery off track there cost him dearly. He was side by side. We had the first 2 side by side, and third and fourth side by side. We're still battling almost 3 wide into Christmas, and that's Behrman.
Yeah, came back
Behrman
again,
being
picked up
very
2
racy.
spots.
Yeah, the number 12 slides down the inside, and he will. The number 12 being Benedictus Masiokas, who's dropped from pole, third and second. He was second for a moment there, but it looks like Behrman's forced his way back through.
It's a cold day, it's a windy day. I think therefore it will dry quite quickly. There's still a little bit of grease on the track. I think you can see there, Joe, the cart's not quite going to want to go. They haven't got the temperature, and when they do have the temperature, they haven't quite got the time. But a beautiful break now made by Benedictus. He's got away from them. Oh, so he's in third. The break must be back onto, is it Alfie who's got into the lead? Alfie Meyer, who's out in front. So Mayer's got ahead. So Benedictus is now he's trying to chase down Behrman. They had a bit of a scrap, didn't they? Just coming into the corner, into oblivion last lap. 4th place is Logan Rolfe, who's made a decent move through the field. Then there's a big gap. Well, big gap for Micro Max, Dr. Lewis Herbertson.
Leader now beginning to lose that cushion he had. The number 15, Alfie Mayer, was benefiting from the squabbling that was going on between the blue cart there in second place and kind of the red and white, isn't it? The of Masiokas. That's the Zip Kart Works colours there. They're again side by side, and this is all coming into play for Alfie Mayer. As long as these two continue to scrap like they are, Mayer's going to benefit. And when they stop scrapping, which we saw for a few corners, they then start catching Mayer, and that's just pure physics coming into play there. You mentioned the tyres there, Nick, and on what was a very chilly day, the track temperature is pretty low for these slick tyres, so it is going to be 2 or 3 laps, and only now going into completing the 3rd lap are we going to see those tyres coming on to where the drivers need them.
Yeah, I mean, this is when the kart begins to feel under the driver. They've had a chance to look at the conditions. They know there's any greasy patches as Behrman now pulls out. Nice little textbook lead run up straight into Christmas Corner. Leaves himself a little bit open for an attack back going down into Ashby, but covers it off. And then they sweep back up to Parker. And they're looking, glancing over a little bit of kind of what we're going to do. This is Behrman taking the lead. I'm not sure whether Mayer was distracted by doing a bit of a radiator change there. I'm not sure, but he's been outgunned. But there's a long way to go.
Now, I know that the Behrman family will have averted their gears away from Bahrain as the Formula 2 race will have been completed, where Ollie Behrman, who I believe Sebastian is his brother or cousin.
Well,
I know there's a relationship
hopefully
there.
This cart's got a better setup than Ollie's Prima car.
Yeah, they didn't have a very good day yesterday. I'm not sure. I'm staying away from the result of the main Formula 2 race from this morning. We've got a cracking battle, though, as ever. As ever, we expect this from the Micromax class. And now that Sebastian Behrman is in the lead, it's the number 15 of Alfie Mayer, who wants that place back, doesn't he? And he's going to have to be careful, though, as he challenges that first place Behrman.
Yeah,
he's got Benedictus Masiokas, who's just waiting for a triple.
Yeah, it's this situation where he's both being attacked and he's having to defend at the same time. And Benedictus certainly looking to pick up any pieces of a botched move or of a heavily blocked move, which will lose momentum for Alfie. But Alfie out the inside and the back straight, and he's going to try and dive through in the boot. Didn't happen. The door was it's closed, as politely shoved slightly. But look at that 3-corner move, because what happened there was, in Behrman shutting the corner going into the boot, on the exit he went wide, and there into the lead goes Alfie Mayer.
It's a double apex corner of the boot. It's not a pure hairpin. It's kind of like two 90-degree turns. You miss the first apex which is what Behrman clipped, and that put him out wide for the second
back in the lead again.
But he's back in, and it was all about coming through Crook Corner there, carrying the momentum up the hill. And if you'd looked away and then looked back, nothing's changed. However, we have had a change
twice,
and twice since you last looked. And here we go again. It's side-by-side action towards the left-hander.
My guess is that Behrman's got this geared slightly, and he seems to actually have a little bit of a pace advantage as he loses the lead again going into the boot.
That's
going into
Chapman, wasn't
sorry,
it?
yeah.
This is the action into the boot, Nick. It's a very fast entry, that left-hander, the kind of the heel of the boot, if you like, or the front of the heel of the boot. I'm not really sure what part of the foot you call that bit. We know the toe. They've just gone through the
wiggly bit.
Yeah, the wiggly bit. Now look at that. Alfie Mehr, who with 2 minutes, just coming up to the 2 minute mark, Alfie Mehr, that's the biggest cushion we've seen for a few laps. But here comes Behrman again.
Behrman's got more actual straight line speed. Oh, spooked him. He's got more straight line speed. I think he's got the world's greatest drive, which is unlikely in these very similar karts. But he's just got the thing geared for a little bit more actual miles per hour. But it does seem, because the downside on these single speed gearboxes is the more power you have, the more speed you have, the less acceleration you have.
And I think that was more to do with the momentum through.
He's done it 3 times in a row.
Yeah,
and I think he seems to have basic speed, but then you look at, and he's been overtaken a couple of times on these short shoots. Look. So I think he's geared differently, because there's a power advantage to Mehr, and he can drive out the corners better. But obviously the top speed's not there, and he's going out the inside again through the boot. So they're going to change leads again. Now, Behrman's got an issue here in that he can lead going to Christmas corner, which is halfway around the lap. But unfortunately, the race is scored at this point here at start finish, where every single time Alfie Mehr's got into the lead.
Yeah, Behrman's. This is the bit where Behrman.
Oh, bigger again.
Yeah, here we go. Let's see that. Reduced, does it? No, he gained maybe a cart's length, that's all.
If that, yeah.
So he needs to be closer. Now he's sliding a little bit wide there and lost time. He's lost a lot of time to Alfie Mehr. There's Mehr in the yellow cart. That's the blue cart of Sebastian Behrman, the one that we're focusing on now. He's the driver that's chasing. And it looks to me as though he's losing grip there midway through the corner.
Yeah, I think you're right. That cart is suddenly behaving less well than it was.
Yeah, that was through Parker. And that bit's through Chapman into... And he's slipping. He's sliding around.
Everyone's on slicks, aren't they? No one's gone on wets, have they?
Well, that's a slick tyre car on Behrman.
Must be, yeah.
Is it raining? Is it spitting again? It's something that we can't really tell
might be
on our TV
again.
screen.
I can't see it. But slippery surface. Slippery surface. He's spitting again. You're right.
That's why Behrman's losing grip mid-corner, where he hasn't been losing grip. He's round the outside. Here comes the number 12, bearing down on Behrman. I didn't do that deliberately, no.
That's quite good. Benedictas is the 12. Then you've got Logan Roll from the 32. We've not really spoken about. He's been kind of playing a waiting game, but out by 3 seconds, Alfie Mehr. So Alfie's car much happier in these slightly damp conditions. These are slick karts. They're set up for the full drive. They had the full drive of 4 minutes, and now this spitty weather, this marvellous March weather from the UK. It's cold, it's damp, but we're racing because we're British. And it's called out Behrman for it. But Behrman now, he's done that thing these kids do. He's learnt in that lap. He's learnt for the problem lap, and he's trying to adjust his style to take into account that the grease has taken away the grip. But in fairness, again, Benedictus looking a little bit better. But don't forget, way out in lead now, Alfie Mehr in the 15.
And the more astute viewers will notice that the drivers are staying off what is the textbook racing line. That's because the textbook racing line, as soon as it starts to get any kind of rain on it, it becomes like an ice rink. So staying off the line, he's on the line there though, and it's going to be very slippery through the paddock turn here, paddock bend. See how he was a little bit to the left, just off the line there, and that's where he found the grip. It's the 1 lap to go aboard, and we'll find Alfie Mehr. And it's hard to pull away actually from this second, third, what is now becoming a 4-card battle for second place. So Alfie Mehr's up the road by 6 seconds. That's how he's adjusted.
He's a damp weather special, isn't he?
Absolutely is. Damp weather on slick tyres for Alfie Mehr. I suspect he's on slick tyres, unless he really gambled and put himself on wets. But 4 karts now coming together for second, third, fourth and fifth place now.
And it's from nowhere. It's the 53 of Lewis Herbertson who's taken all those 4 places in 1 lap. Herbertson's just found all the grip in the world and some more, and has shot through into second place.
Now we might be able to see whether or not he's off wets.
He's on wets.
Alfie Mehr, just ahead of this intriguing battle for second place.
This is third now.
Has taken the checkered flag. Somebody's gone into the pits. This is the battle for second.
No, it's for third. That's second place ahead. Herbertson, looking at that profile, Herbertson's on wets.
He's gone 1.2 seconds.
He's on wets.
Yeah,
Herbertson's on wets.
And I suspect Alfie Mehr was too. So Herbertson clinches second place from absolutely nowhere there. He came through once the rain really did take a hold. Herbertson used that wet weather with those wet tyres to great effect there and finishes just 8 seconds behind the winner Alfie Mayer, who takes the first spot in the first heat for the Micromax class. Sebastian Behrman literally hung on to third place, didn't he? Slicks on a wet track is never the best mix. Benedictus Masiokas, who was our pole position driver, he slipped down to fourth and again hung on to Behrman and was looking for some sort of mistake to improve on his position. Logan Rolfe, he came through to finish in fifth place. And then we've got Dian Singh Pahal in sixth. Josh Cook in seventh, with Buddy Hugo in eighth. Ethan Lloyd ninth. Rounding off the top 10 was Albie J. Stubbs. 11th and down over is Chloe McGill, Archie Rogers Tyler, Ronnie Carter, Lewis Kokori in 14th, Alfie Garrett, Elijah West, Xavier Ramsey, Jensen Walker 18th, 19th was Adam Galudi, Toby Biggs was 20th, Matthew Lilly 21st, then we got Jack Mellon, Sebastian Crawford 23rd, Victor Poppercool, Ruben Sagu, Logan Stanley Jones, Freddie Blackshaw 27th, Travis Giddings, Jamie Walsh, and behind Jamie Walsh, Zach Andrew in 30th, Jensen Darlow, Carter Jackson finished 32 and was our last run as we had lost Ronnie Faulkner on lap 6. It's Intermax next, Nick. So 950 chassis, exactly the same tyre size, drivers age between 10 and 13. They're on the Mojo tyre, which is a lot different to the Dunlop tyre we've just seen the Micromax class out on. And the pole position driver for Intermax is Josh Cormack. Let's just take a look at the grid and see how close they are. They are very, very close. It's KR Sports, Josh Cormack on pole position with the privateer Max Gilman only 2/10 slower on the front row. Adam Turicek is on row 2 in third. Jensen Sale from Ambition is alongside him. Row 3 will be Thomas Jackson and James Fabricus. James is our current Kart Championship champion in Micromax, moving up into the Intermax class for this season. JJ Plowman with ST Racing is 7th. Fraser Anderson is 8th, rounding off the top 10 on row 5 is Harvey Bacon and Sebastian Clark. Then we have on row 6 Bailey Wolf and Oscar Roach. Row 7 is Jensen White and Larry Price. Larry Price on the novice plate. On the 8th row is Sandro Kemp and Nathan Edwards. It's Drew Davidson and George Ralston in 17th and 18th. And then rounding off the 20 kart field is Grayson Wortley and Jack Moss, who will start. True Performance Motorsports, Jack Moss will start at the back of the grid after problems with the engine, I think is what I heard. Jack Moss starting at the back of this field after not posting a time in qualifying. Hopefully Jack will be out there, and he is. I see that he has just ticked the timing beam as he's come out of the collecting area. 19 karts have come out. I'm not quite sure the 20 I had on the grid there, which of those drivers have not showed a presence. So it's changeable conditions, and I'm not sure whether anyone in the Intermax class, like I say, it's the, again, same engine. The weight is slightly heavier by 10 kilograms. It's 115 kilogram minimum weight for Intermax. The Micromax class that we've just seen is 105. So slightly faster, a little bit less restriction on the Rotax 125cc engine. So a little bit more performance in all areas, really. So it's a little bit quicker for the older driver. And looking out the window in front of us, that rain is coming down a little bit heavier. And I'm trying to see if we've had time to change these drivers onto wet tyres, and they look shiny slicks to me.
Can't be a start, surely.
No, it's not. No, it's not a start, Nick.
And you can see from the contrails, road contrails they're making there, that is. It's coming down now. It's coming down now.
It really is. Look outside. I mean, that's how wet it is.
It's not supposed to rain, by the way.
Look at the wet. That's what you said.
It's not raining this week.
You did promise us. I mean, that's what you said.
It's my own fault. can't believe I've even said that.
It's going to be very tricky for these youngsters to be able to literally control their karts. Slick tyres get cooled down by it. It's not so much the... look at this. We're seeing people spin off already. And you know what? It's really, really hard. It's really hard to keep those slick-tyred karts on the track. And the rain is coming down heavier.
This will blow through in a few minutes. The wind is very high. There is this greyness that's blowing through. Sometimes it brings a bit of rain. Sometimes it doesn't. Can I just point out that we've been at Whilton now about 5 times in a row, and it's rained every single time.
Well, we're in England.
No, we've been to other tracks. It doesn't rain.
I mean...
It is coming down now, though.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I don't know what... Dan Ashton's our clerk of the course here, by the way. You'll all remember Dan Ashton from some of the other meetings we've covered.
What's the situation where this has happened? Is it a case where they can pull them back into collecting overchanged tyres, or is this the selection you've made and that's it?
Well, there's a time scale. You've got to have the cart off the trolley and on the ground.
Where's that?
A couple of minutes before we go and release them, before we get the green flag. We are getting the green flag, though. And we see from the panned out view into oblivion. And look at that.
That's the 140, which was Jensen's sail. He's gone off, and he'll have to get that back in and spinning round, because there's just nothing down there, is there? There's no grip at all.
No, it's very slippery. And what happens when carts go off track like we're seeing there, when they do re-enter the track, they're bringing on mud and all sorts. I mean, it's a quagmire here at Whilton Mill. We've had some heavy rain over the last week. And off track in the campsites and stuff, we've got literally...
Somebody else has just come off. There's 2 of them come off the side as well. Realistically, at this point, this is probably where these younger drivers may need to just think about it. It's just about survival. You just go around for a few, and it's not necessarily in the mental minds that they have at this point. It's not about anything apart from getting to the end of that lap.
Well, you've got a lot of experience out there as well. Like I say, we've got our current Kart Championship Micromax champion out there. The drivers at the front will have experience of driving slick-tyred karts on wet tracks. If you've been racing 3 or 4 years, and some of the youngsters they've come through Bambinos since the age of 6, and with a these are for the Indimax is for 10 to 13 year old drivers. So you could have been racing 5 or 6 years, and you will have experience of these conditions. If you race in the UK, you've got to learn how to drive in the wet. Adam Turacek has been the best at driving in the wet on slick tyres on lap 1, and he leads. Yep, almost 4 seconds the gap there. James Fabricus, the current Micromax champion.
Oh, they're saying that he's gone.
Oh, he's gone indeed.
Adam Turacek at the top of the hill, gone.
Now look at the mud coming on
back
there.
In third.
There's nothing else he can do. There's nothing else he can do, and he pulls back on the track there, and I think he's come on in second. I'll be honest with you,
that was a bit of an iRacing unsafe rejoin, to be honest. Look, you see the rain now. It's absolutely coming down, because obviously this weather's decided to just literally just take the mickey out of it, isn't it?
And you know what?
Nothing you can do there.
Adam Turacek went on the brakes, the rear axle locked up, he got straight back on the power. There was nothing, he was a passenger.
Because it wasn't like it was the previous lap.
That's right.
Or the lap before that.
It's going to change. And you know what? There's no... Finding the grip when the track is as wet as it is, you throw the textbook How to Drive Around a Racetrack out of the window, and it's basically a voyage of discovery. You'll see these young karters now trying to find grip in places on the track that you wouldn't think there would be. And local knowledge will come into play, round the outside of certain corners works better than on the inside line. And just here at Paddock Bend, where, the Paddock Bend there, drivers going around the outside and finding traction. And it's all about finding traction. Everything slows down. Look at how slowly these karters have to drive now.
1 minute 20 seconds now for the laps.
Yeah, that's nearly 25 seconds more in the wet. Turacek has
regained the lead
remarkably. Just showing how wet it is there, and the rain blowing straight at our cameraman Frank up on the hill at Christmas.
Poor old Frank.
He's at Christmas, so that's a pleasant place to be. Who's that? That's just fell off a little bit. It's the
169 in second, which is Max Gilman, who's actually scored third. He is third, because you've got who's that? No, there's 161. Yes, and then you've got the 151 Sebastian Clark behind him. Drew Davidson. No, it's Harvey Bacon, I think, who's come up in the 180 a couple of places.
He's
that last time round.
That's
I think Bacon's come up one place, I think. Because I haven't. But anyway, we'll get there. There is obviously a constant swap about of power down for the 151 of Sebastian Clark, and he had a little wobble as he did it, so he must have enjoyed that. Anybody who's gone out in wet, because of course they all went out and slick, is going to absolutely leap away in this race, but they've all gone out on slicks.
It depends on how close to the green flag. He looked over his shoulder there, the 157. Is that 151?
151, Sebastian, that was, yeah. He looked over his shoulder. When he looked back again, he wasn't where he thought he was going to be, so he had to take a massive correction.
No, the cart sleuthed sideways there. They didn't have time to put the carts on the wets because there's a designated time. If Frank can wipe his lens, that would be great.
Yeah, Frank, it's like working with fish scales at the moment.
Yeah, that's how wet it is up there.
It's wet enough for the fish.
I was about to say, Nick, that the worst of the rain
no,
has blown
it's
through.
In.
It isn't. It did for about 3 seconds, and then it started to rain heavier.
It always rains. You know how it always rains at Le Mans? It always rains at Whilton Mill.
Yeah, there's the Sebastian Clark, Harvey Bacon just moving ahead of him. So Harvey Bacon now up to 4th place.
Oh, and a spin. Just off camera there. I think
Clark?
that may have been Gilman or Bacon, that may have been. Not quite sure which one it was, but someone just spun and lost 3 or 4 positions. I mean, there's no criticism implied by any of this because
no.
Just staying on the track it's not Bacon because he's there moving forward. Is Harvey is with the majority white cart.
It's a voyage of discovery. Every time you apply the brake, every time you apply the throttle, it's going to be different to the previous lap.
I'll tell you what, there's less sawing in a carpenter's office, isn't there? Than there is at the steering wheel.
Yeah, absolutely. And just look at that. That's a beautiful drift there from Sebastian Clark there on the power. Just drift towards the exit curb. All the way around the outside of Crook there. That's where they're completely offline.
Weather's awful.
It's gone awful here. It's gone awful.
Oh, that was a super overtake there.
Yeah.
Zipped through. Who's that has gone through? Oh, it's going off. I bet he had a bit of a squeaky bum time there as he went toward the corner. That's Bacon again in the 180. That's an Alex Ferguson quote. That's absolutely allowed. That's now in the vernacular.
That's Inkerman.
Sun's out.
That right-hander. Sun coming out a little bit.
I appear to be a weatherman today.
You are. You're a rubbish weatherman as well. Don't give up your day job.
Oh, fantastic rooster tails.
There's Harvey Bacon just getting a little bit of wheel spin there and sliding and drifting over the exit curb at Ashby. Great driving there. Just controlling the cart in a pure drift. You can tell just how bad it is now and how wet the track is by just how slow the carts are having to drive through the corners. And it's not getting any better. It's getting worse. And what happens, Nick, is your tyres cool right off. You can't get any temperature because the additional water that's continually dropping onto the track, wetting the track, is cooling the tyres off. So you're effectively not just gripless because it's a slick tyre without tread. It's gripless because it's a cold slick tyre. So it just exacerbates the problem.
Oh, a bit wide for Harvey Bacon there.
Problems for everyone here.
So you've got Bacon, the 3 carts we can look at. This is the 3rd, 4th and 5th. It's Bacon, Gilman and Clark as they come up the hill towards Christmas Corner. Just praying to get round it. Oh, look at that little dive in there by Gilman, but the overall wider line was quicker.
Yeah, the wider line, the grippier line, because it hasn't got as much rubber on. Nobody drives around there in the dry. Everyone drives on the inside line. So that's why the outside line is the line to be on in these conditions. And the slick tyre, just the tarmac's a little bit rougher. It's less worn out there on the outside line, the less used line. And so, that's where you'll find the grip. Your tyre is actually making contact with the rougher tarmac. Whereas on the inside line, it's just on a film of rubber and water. And great kart control from these youngsters, where you see them powering out of the corner into the boot now. All it turns into slow motion, doesn't it? The number 180 there is Harvey Bacon. That's the one with the white nose cone, the red overalls. And they're all the way around the outside. Look, he put the lock on about 20 metres before the corner. He turned right.
He's more like tilling a sailing yacht than steering a cart. I shall going for heading 180.
We're getting towards 2 laps to go.
We are on 2 laps to go.
We're on the penultimate lap here, so if we can find Adam Turacek, because I'm pretty sure Turacek, who's now got almost 2 seconds in the lead on the number 122, who is, I'm trying to get a location for our producer Paul to pick him up.
He's about 40. He's probably going around the boot now, I think. He is going around the boot now. He's coming underneath Ash's camera right now.
Yeah, so he's underneath Ash's camera now. We'll get a look at Adam Turacek, who is about to enter into his final lap of this first heat for Intermax. Intermax 950 to give it its full
That's a
title.
whole lap behind. I don't know who's that. No, that's not it. That's when a couple of stragglers going through the.
So this is the first corner here. That's Oblivion, the left-hand king.
That's him. This is our leader now.
There's our leader. Let's look at
look how wide he went on that one.
Yeah, very wide. So he's off towards Christmas corner now. Here he is coming towards Christmas, as we see here. He's off the line. He's on the inside line going into the corner because that's where the rougher tarmac is, allowing him to brake and get the speed off. And then he just tippy-toes through this section, which is Inkerman's, and then down the downhill, very short chute of a straight to the right-hander at Ashby's, which is not quite a hairpin, but once again, completely off the racing line. From Ashby's onto the left-hander at Parker's, again, all the way around the outside. And this, to me, is where Turacek has picked up this and has picked up this gap and has maintained this lead. All the way around the outside of Chapman, through the little the right-hand king onto the back straight towards the boot. He'll go through the left-hander for the final time and should take the checkered flag first if he can get around the boot for the final time. And, of course, Paddock Bend, which is no mean feat. This is the section of track that will change the next time we visit here at Whilton Mill. And there turns the steering, and we'll see the checkered flag.
And he won. He was pleased about that. And a spin to win as well.
I think Adam Turacek, showing his experience, showing his local knowledge. Fraser Anderson likewise. Fraser Anderson also showing the wet line, if you like. They've got quite a gap to Harvey Bacon, who crosses the line now. 15 seconds between second and third there. That's how at ease Turacek, relatively speaking, Turacek and Fraser Anderson were. So it's Harvey Bacon's third, Max Gilman fourth. It could have been anybody's this. Sebastian Clark fifth, JJ Plowman sixth. And then we've got Nathan Edwards, Drew Davidson, Sandro Kemp. The first of the novices rounding off the top 10. That's Larry Price, George Ralston. Right on his tail there. So the battle of the novices for 10th and 11th. Larry Price and George Ralston. Jack Moss recovers from the back of the grid, and that's a great result for Jack Moss going forward. He had a troubled qualifying, didn't qualify where he should have, and he finishes 12th. James Fabricas, he had a torrid time, didn't he? Our current Kart Championship Micromax champion, moving up and into Max this year, finds himself in 13th. Jensen White 14th, Bailey Wolf 15th, and then we had Thomas Jackson will be classified in 16th. Josh Cormack and Jensen Seal went out very, very early. It's our first look, Nick, at our electrically powered Bambinos coming next.
That means you have to change the overlay.
So that was my sort of subtle instruction to our producer. A lot of novices in the mighty Bambinos. Might E with a big E is the name of the people who manufacture these electrically powered carts. Showing once again that the Kart Championship at the very forefront, along with the MSUK at the forefront of motorsport technology and new technologies in motorsport. So shall we have a look at the grid, Nick?
I think we might do, on the Might E grid.
Before we... that was our mic flag just falling. Bizarrely.
Oh, well, I'm very pleased. Can I just say that whilst I'm watching this, the weather is slowly getting worse.
Is it really?
There's more and more rain being predicted for the rest of the day.
Oh, that's terrible news.
It's quite terrible.
The good news is that the Might E grid...
There's no rain for Northampton, which is 6 miles away.
That happens around this part of the world.
I know.
Well, the Might E grid will be on wets. They've had time, and there would have been no sort of deliberation over that in the collecting area. Let's have a look at the grid then. 17 karts have qualified. Majority of these drivers are on the novice plates, meaning they are very much certainly within the first 6 races of their karting careers. We've got 3 drivers who are not novices. That's Maximilian Milaski, Jack Harper and Oliver Woodhall. But it's Junior Wright who takes pole position with a 1 minute 6.5. He's got about just under 6/10 from Ralph Martin, who'll start alongside him. Felix Tandy being run here by his famous in our world, Nick. Nick, great to see Nick Tandy here, the Porsche factory driver, Le Mans winner in 2015, and he's won a lot more than that. We don't have time to tell you, but it's nice to see Felix and his dad Nick getting their hands dirty, and Nick enjoying being here and seeing Felix, the next generation, if you like, of the Tandy family, getting involved in motorsport. Felix qualifying third with a great time of 1 minute 7.130, only a few hundredths, if not thousandths of a second behind that second place Ralph Martin. So Felix will start on position 3 on row 2. Alongside Felix is Ollie West, his time 1:7.246. Another great effort there in conditions this morning. He will start in 4th. Third row of the grid is Jensen James Williams, with Maximilian Michalski alongside in 6th. Heath Smith starts in 7th on row 4 with Jack Harper in 8th alongside. Ava Garrett starts on row 5 with Oliver Woodall alongside. Row 6 is Etienne Gardner and Nico Mohan. And then we've got row 7, Frank Pearson and Hadley Jarvis, with in 15th place Arthur Bath and Kai Erginsoy. I'm going to learn how to say that before the weekend's over. And then rounding off the 17 kart field is the number 91 of Hugo Williams. So we are getting ready to see for the first time our electrically powered Mighty Bambinos. The age of these Bambino drivers from the age of 6 up to 8. It's a MSUK registered chassis approved, the Mighty motors and battery system with the fixed sprocket gearing and a minimum weight of 83 kilograms. They're on the LeConte tyre, which is a very common tyre for the Bambino class. So nothing different really from the petrol engine karts that we saw earlier. In that respect, the only difference is, the major difference is the fact that we'll have very little sound out on track, which is very, very bizarre actually when you first see these karts go out. All you can hear, and certainly in these wet conditions, all you hear is the sploshing of the tyres through the water and the whir of the electric motors, making them sound a little bit like scale electric cars out on the track. Squealing of tyres is another thing you hear, because that's much louder than any noise coming from the engines, which are the motors, I should say. So karts being released to come round. It'll be a standing start, not much of a dads and parents running race here at Whilton Mill, because of the position of the collecting area and then the grid, literally just adjacent to one another. So we line these karts up in grid order. They're finding their way around. This is where the drivers will explore the conditions, and they will have taken instruction, if you can indeed instruct a 6-year-old, 7 or 8-year-old. That's very, very tricky, because once they get that helmet on and get out on the track, I'm pretty sure everything you've told them is they'll just be out there. And as long as these kids are enjoying this experience of driving their karts around the track, that's the important bit. The winning aspect, or wherever they come in the field, is just additional. It's peripheral. It's not the important thing. The most important thing of seeing these youngsters drive their karts around this racetrack is that they are smiling at the end of the session. And the majority are. Pretty much every competitor we see racing Bambinos, big smiles at the end of the session, at the end of the race. And as you see, they're just beginning to be formed up on the grid, and our grid marshal will make some semblance of sense and order to whether or not they are in grid order in where they should be. And that's a job I wouldn't like, Nick, would you? Not a chance.
No. I think it's probably about the same as herding cats.
Very similar.
I think almost exactly the same.
Especially in these conditions, the wet conditions, because, you know, it's not easy. Bambinos, by the way, they don't have I mentioned there they'll be on wets. Of course not. I'm being stupid. They're on a treaded tyre in dry conditions.
Right.
They have the one tyre. So they were already on treaded tyres. So the Bambino doesn't have
look at that start from...
Great start from pole position. Junior Wright getting off into the lead through Oblivion.
Still raining, as you can tell from the camera.
Yep, still very wet out there as well. And the field, I can say, has gone through Oblivion and Crook, heading up the straight towards Christmas, and everyone's through without any incident to report. And it's the number 32 of Ralph Martin being challenged down the inside, and a change for second there, and I think that's Ollie West. Just getting ahead, just trying to see the number there, Nick, through the murk of our cameras and on screen.
There's a bit of lime green nosage for both of them, slightly different on the side, but it is the 20. I think it's the 32 must be leading, which is Ralph Martin, as you say. It's in third place. It's definitely the 11 of Junior Wright, so he's dropped a place. Looking for the second place. Is it? It's still quite hard to tell, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll find it very, very difficult to see. Our camera lenses.
It's 32 from, I think it's Ollie West now. Ollie West has got second in the 20, so it's Martin from West from right. Felix Tandy was scored fourth, coming out of the first few yards, effectively. But as they go into the boot for the first time, it's the Ralph Martin kart leading Junior Wright. Leading Ollie West, sorry. So it's 32 from 20, West in third.
We're going to have a guest commentator in for the second
Hopefully.
heat. Hopefully, yes. Johnny will be. Johnny from Mighty E. From Mighty E, I've said it again. Johnny from Mighty will be coming into the commentary box and giving us a little bit more insight and information on the technicalities of this electric kart. If you watch our paddock show, which goes out on our Facebook pages tonight and will be screened in the live coverage tomorrow in the lunch break, we speak to Felix Tandy's dad, Nick Tandy, who's a professional race driver at the very highest level of endurance sports car racing. He's raced everything from Porsche Carrera Cup to, he started in mini stocks. And Nick said that, and what Nick will say is, the simplicity of the electric kart takes away all of the variable elements which you have to be on top on in a petrol engine kart, whatever class it is. There's so many variables, and this really is a bolt on and go kind of a kart. And if that proves to be the case, certainly at this age level, I think that's going to be an attraction. Because, if you've got no mechanical knowledge whatsoever, you can quickly learn how to, use nuts and bolts and stuff. And that's basically what it'll come down to. Yep. Bolting on tyres, checking the safety of it, everything's tight, and, no playing around with carburetors. And this is exactly what Nick Tandy tells us. Now, here is a man who, for a profession, will pore over data on every technicality of his race car.
And we'll make his engineers talk about all the nuts and bolts and,
yes.
and the bars and
yes.
the springs and everything else as they try to set the cars up. Those of you not aware of Mr. Tandy's 2015 Le Mans 24-hour champion. That's the highlight of a very illustrious career, and a Porsche Works driver in their hypercar. So absolutely at the top of his game. Unfortunately, his son had a very bad first lap and came across the line in 15th. So my guess is probably that he's gained 5 places this lap. So obviously,
he's back up to 10th.
Everyone's kind of I think obviously what we haven't seen offline is a few spins and a few meanders off the track. Because even though they are always on treaded tyres, they're not always on a wet track. These kids, and they obviously the one thing that no one in the Bambino class has is lots of experience.
Not at all. Not at all. That's not good, Nick. I'll leave you to fix that before it just seems to be falling apart. Ralph Martin leads then, and that is the leader just coming through the boot now, or the second place kart there of Ollie West. Now, Ollie West and Ralph Martin leading across the line there. So Ralph Martin leading as Ollie West comes through. The Ralph Martin there and Ollie West showing the same livery. Now, I know Ollie West is with MP Coaching. I suspect that Ralph Martin is probably a MP Coaching driver as well, looking at the livery of those karts. So two teammates off at the front, and like you said, Nick, very little experience there. These two circulating together. There's only just under 8 tenths between them. They've got a 6-second gap to third place Junior Wright, with Heath Smith a further 1.5 seconds behind. It looks like Ollie West is gaining slightly. We are inside the second half of this first heat for the Mighty Bambinos. and just have a rundown of the top 10 as the two at the front of the cart, the front of the field come together. As Ralph Martin, Ollie West in second, Junior Wright third, Heath Smith fourth, Jensen James Williams in fifth, Jack Harper is in sixth, Ava Garrett in seventh. It's Maximilian Michalski, and then Hadley Jarvis. Felix Tandy now sits in that 10th spot, rounding off that top 10 as the leaders cross the line to complete what is 4 laps. The gap is down to 0.5 of a second now. And then we have that 6 or 7 second gap. These two beginning to pull away. The two teammates from MP Coaching, I'm going to take a punt out because of the liveries. These two now beginning to just edge away even further. In fact, they've pulled out another 4 seconds. That's a massive, massive gap there. If we can drop back to the carts behind them by about 10 seconds, Paul, because we've got Jensen James Williams now in third with Junior Wright a half a second. And I think it's Williams who's just overtaken Junior Wright. So there's the battle there for third and fourth in the sunshine, coming out the sunshine.
Actually has stopped raining, but there's more to come.
I'm trying to look at the sky, Nick, to override your weather forecast app, which has proved to be ridiculous.
Brilliantly accurate.
Yeah,
if accuracy is another word for completely wrong.
So that battle for third coming together now. The 45 of Jensen James Williams has just overtaken the Junior Wright, with Heath Smith now coming into that picture as well. So what was a 2-card battle for third and fourth, beginning to develop into a 3-card battle. They're at the boot section of the Whilton Mill track, and down the inside at the boot there, as going wide did Jensen James Williams, and that's allowed Junior Wright through. So back into third for Junior Wright, the number 11 ahead of the 45, and look at that, that's Heath Smith. He's gaining and gaining side by side into oblivion and around the outside. That's very brave. Very brave for Jensen James Williams, Nick.
That's all they know at the age of 6, isn't it?
Yes, I suppose. And by doing that, that's allowed now Junior Wright to come back into the attention of Heath Smith, who pulls alongside into the braking area for Christmas. Oh, and look at that. Nearly takes that third place away as well.
Oh, a little bumping and boring.
A little bit of wheel banging there. But a change then as Williams we've got Pat Marcus coming into play as well. So it's the 45 of Jensen James Williams. Heath
lost
Smith
the place. Oh, got a little sideways swipe there from Heath there. So
the number 69 is Kai Ergensoy, just finding their feet in this mighty Bambinos. And you kind of forget that there is, well, certainly from where we are, that there is no engine noise. We've got these karts performing, pretty much exactly the same as we would see with the petrol engine Bambinos.
It's much easier to balance an electric motor than it is a petrol motor. It's really very easy. There's 4 or 5 different ways you can make sure these are the same.
You mean from the regulation
on the speed
sense?
Control, on the power, on the battery. Everyone thinks, if I do this and do that, I can get more. If you've got a clever enough speed controller, which effectively is the electrical fuel injection, effectively. You can balance it all down, because you can put a throttle on the amount of power that goes. It doesn't matter how much you got in the battery. It doesn't matter how much you got in the motor. You can put a throttle in the middle on it.
That's a good analogy there. The fuel. Did you say fuel pressure?
Injection.
Fuel injection. The power. Yeah.
We've got that's not going the right way.
Yeah, that's the sun coming out now and playing
havoc with
our cameras.
Also a little bit of a. So is he just? He's been helped. Oh, got a tank slapper on. The guy behind him got a tank slapper on and just tipped him round. That's very bad luck. Is that the 34 or 44? Maybe the 44. This weather basically has decided to make camera 2's day. It's either throwing water into it or sun right down the lens.
It's quite arty silhouettage.
That's what we've gone for. We haven't gone for kart coverage. We've gone for we want to win the BAFTA for best outdoor broadcast.
The artistic touch. With getting towards
Where's
the
our
final
leader? Where's Ralph Martin, the 32?
I was going to say,
he's a long way ahead of this one of Heath Smith. He's like 20 seconds ahead. So he's probably going to be coming into the view of Frank very soon, up the hill, I would think. So it's the 32 you want to look out for, Frank. Ralph Martin.
So that is the third place kart there. There's the leader, Ralph Martin now, just through Christmas Corner. That's the arty silhouette shot.
Oh, that's it.
Through increments.
Josh, he should be up there getting those shots, shouldn't he? Because he could sell those from every single day. Oh, look at my silhouetted against the sun and the rain and all the other weather.
And the glint of the track, the glint of the wet track. We've got back markers there just having their own race there and having the odd spin just to raise the attention level of Ralph Martin in the number 32.
He
spins! He spins off.
Oh, no. And he's lost the lead on the last lap.
Oh, he lost it at Parker, the left-hander, and that's allowed Ollie West through. It wasn't that far behind. He had a 4-second lead, as we see, and it was pure speed there. He got up on the curb, and then the rear end just gave way, didn't it?
Dear, oh dear. Poor lad, yeah.
Put him on the grass.
He reduced the amount of rubber on the road with that little bit of curb, and that was it.
And there's our new leader. Ollie West coming through, but look at that, Ralph Martin coming back with a bit of determination, but it's going to be Ollie West who takes the checkered flag. Let's see what the gap is at the line. Oh, that is so
very cool for Mr. West there. Didn't even celebrate.
Half a second. He's perhaps not sure that he's actually won.
Oh, good point. He may not have known that it was Ralph who span in front of him.
Absolutely. There was a lot of incident in that Mighty Bambino Heat 1. So Ollie West takes the checkered flag first. Half a second was the gap to Ralph Martin, who recovered well to get within half a second of Ollie West, who went zooming past. It was Heath Smith who finished third. Fourth is Junior Wright, and Jensen James Williams threw in fifth place. We're waiting for Jack Harper to take the checkered flag there. He consolidates and formalises that sixth place finish. Ava Garrett will be our next finisher in the pink helmet. Maximilian Mikalski finishes in 8th spot as well. Felix Tandy improved on another spot to finish in 9th. He takes his checkered flag. And Frank Pearson will finish 10th, just waiting for... And Frank Pearson takes 9th, actually. And Felix Tandy, who came through on the penultimate lap in 9th, actually dropped that place to Frank Pearson on that final lap and finishes in the top 10. Running off the top 10 then, Felix Tandy. We'll see an interview with him and his dad Nick in our paddock show. That goes out tonight and tomorrow during the broadcast. So further on down, 11th and down is Hadley Jarvis, Oliver Woodall 12th, Etienne Gardner is in 13th, 14th is Nico Mohan, Kai Ergensoy was 15th, Arthur Bath was in 16th, and Hugo Williams we lost on lap 2. So that was a great and, as ever, eventful first heat for the electric motored, the electric powered Mighty Bambinos. We've got our Junior Max runners out next. So it's Junior Rotax coming out for what will be their first heat. And we will have a look at their grid from qualifying this morning. Junior Rotax qualifying.
Well, they're going to be, these guys, next ones out, are going to be presenting with a much more interesting track because it looks like it might get a bit of sun for a few minutes. Now, it's obviously wet at the moment, absolutely. But with the wind we've had, it does dry reasonably quickly.
Yes, it does. I'm looking at the wind as well. It's pretty windy out there as well. Pole position, finishing off, or I should say, I'll start that again. Starting 2024, how we finished 2023 is Kasper Tomilewski. Kasper is the 2023 reigning Kart Championship champion in this class. He's on the pole position by just over a tenth of a second from Addison Smith. Row 2 is Oliver Fabricus with Ben Horner alongside. Row 3 is Marcel Popperkull with Ewan House alongside him. That's row 3. Row 4 is Harry Hurst Grover from Callum Gosh. Charlie Vary for ST Racing starts in 9th with Andrew Jackson in 10th. Braith Murdoch and Jack Robinson are on row 6. Then we've got James Kell and Gregor Reid. Row 8 is Logan Howes and Aidan McDonald with Aston Brown and Connor Dolan on row 9. And then row 10, Riley Morgan and Max Haller. Elliot Foster, Lewis Sumner. Joshua Jarvis, Sam Green Gomez. Lewis Holt, John J. Buchan. Molly J. Pugh, Calvin Moffat, Leon Barlow, Matt Scott, Bella Brown, Archie Doherty, Luke Sawyers, and it's Emily Cooper who didn't start qualifying, along with Luke Sawyers who didn't post a time. So they will be starting at the back. We'll see how much they progress through the order. But it's our reigning champion, Kasper Tomilewski, I should say, who was leading this Junior Rotax field round to take their first start of the 2024 season. It's not just the first start of the weekend, it's actually the first start of the season. And here we go. We look like we are in good grid order, and we get going through Oblivion, the left-hand sweep. And it's karts on the grass. We did expect that in these conditions. We've got karts spinning and karts pointing the way that they shouldn't be, and that is not a very good feeling.
Sam Green Gomez was one of those who was facing the wrong way.
I hated doing that, and I've done that many times. You've got the whole field bearing down, and you are just sitting there waiting for them.
And the other was Ben Horner as well. He's from fourth place. He's facing the wrong way. So Horner's made a terrible start from fourth place. Not a great weekend for people with the surname Horner so far.
I think that's Charlie Very. I think that's the ST Racing livery I can see there of Charlie Very. That's come up the order. I might be wrong. Up the order into third. That's the yellow and blue. I think I'm wrong, actually.
Everyone apart from Harry Host Grover, who's number 2, has a number beginning with 200, which is quite an interesting difference in the numeration system. Everyone's 200 and something apart from Harry Host Grover. You can see there in second place in the 2 kart, and he's looking to get the lead. And Grover, that's not, wow, that was interesting lines there. But the lead is still the 290 Volo Fabricus, and then it's the 215 Addison Smith in third. After Harry Host Grover decided to redesign the track a bit earlier because they do it themselves here in a couple of weeks' time.
Yes, they're going to do it for him. But the thing is, it was a variation on an opinion on what line to take through that final turn, and he found himself over the curb
on all the lines.
And yeah, he did. He went from right to left, quite extreme. He's carrying the number 2 because, of course, he finished it second in the Kart Championship in Junior Rotax last season. So he's got, we know how quick he is. Kasper Tomilewski, who's carrying the 220, he didn't choose to take the number 1. He's down in fourth there after lap 1. Oliver Fabricus is the driver that led on the 290.
Some of the top 6 or 7 reverse themselves. Oh dear. You don't want to get a nudge, do you, with this level of grip?
Well, that was just getting the kart sideways on the brakes, just to scrub off some speed and get the kart turned in to change direction. We're seeing that all the time.
He's doing it again, and it didn't work again.
No.
I think Harry Host is pretty ensure that tight line into the pit bend corner is where his paddock corner is going to work, but it hasn't so far. Here it's Marcel Poppelkool and Andrew Dixon who were facing the wrong way. We just saw a while ago.
We saw Harry Host Grover sliding very wide through Crook and finding himself losing that momentum, and he's dropped down to third now behind Addison Smith, who was there ready to pounce. That's the yellow and blue kart I'm talking about. Addison Smith there, who was ready to take that position from him. And in complete contrast, Oliver Fabricus, who was leading this kart. That's the orange livery kart there. Just watch next time through. Watch him through that first turn, through Oblivion, and then Crook. Look how much he puts the kart across the right-hand curb. We'll check that out. If we stay with the leader, Paul, that's the kart in second place. And we'll get a view of the leaders as they come through to complete what will be lap number 3. It's pole position driver Tomilewski, who was fastest lap last time by, and that's the kart last in the frame there. And we come through the final turn. Here's the bit that we want to see. And then just look at the way he hooks that kart. He's almost off the track on the right-hand side. Yeah.
They're all doing it now.
A bit like a rally driver.
They've all followed him and gone, that's a good idea. And they're all ditch hooking it through the inside of Crook, but the net result, that was too much curb. But he definitely decided he's going to try and turn the kart with the curbs, but that was too much that time going around the apex of Christmas Corner, and that's when he puts the brakes on the kart, snaps to right.
He's doing that deliberately. Don't get perturbed. He's doing that deliberately. He's deliberately flicking the kart on the brakes to scrub the speed. Now then, it's stopped raining as we've got a challenge for the lead.
When it's gone.
Challenge for the lead at Chapman, and that's Addison Smith. It was the fastest lap of the race last time by in a 61.1, and he continues to do that. Now, this is textbook, isn't it? Last of the late breakers into Chapman. Yeah. It's a left-hand corner followed by a right-hand kink sweep, and that's where he gets across and in front.
I think Fabricus actually wasn't expecting that. He kind of got on a different line. He now has to follow Melida, but there's still over half the race to go. Third place, Harry Host Grover. As I say, Kasper Tomilewski's coming back into the field. Aidan McDonald picks up 5th from James Kell in that lap.
What I was going to say, Nick, is it stopped raining. It has stopped raining, so we are going to get rid of the water on the track, and we're already seeing track conditions coming back to these drivers. The times are coming down. We're seeing personal best pretty much the whole way down the field, and that was another fastest lap, this time for Addison Smith, a 60.827. So they're taking the track is evolving by about half a second to a second every lap by, as these wet, treaded tyres are getting rid of the water. And I'm not going to even estimate when we perhaps will see any kind of dry line beginning to develop, as we are quite away from that.
Yeah, and of course, it gets to the point where it gets greasy.
Bit of a study there.
Yeah, it just dry off, and the excess water goes, and the grip goes up, the grease up, and then it gets a little bit greasy before the dry line appears, and it gets a lot quicker. Fabricus, name emblazoned on the back of his blue and white racing overalls, running in second as the field. Oh, that's some off in the mud there, but a long way down because they're about 2/3 of a lap down.
We've got the leader about to encounter back markers, Nick. And at the best of times, it's always tricky because those back markers could still have a lot of pace. It's just they've had a spin, and that's why they find themselves down the field. However, Addison Smith knows what the job is, and he knows he's got to get past those back markers as swiftly as he can, and he has.
I don't know who that back marker is, but it's very sensibly. Really,
yes.
He saw it, and then he's sort of right, and he moved aside to let the next 4 or 5 through. So, yeah, he knows this heat is lost effectively. He's had a problem early on. He or she, I don't know who it is. So, and it's like, well, I don't know reason to ruin anyone else's race. I'll just pick up my 27th or 29th place and just go back to the pits and work out what's going on.
Well, as well as that, you don't want to be the driver that tripped up the leaders, do you? You know, you don't want to be involved in any of that. So there's Fabricus with his name emblazoned across his the back of his overalls there in what's turning out to be a relatively lonely second place.
And I think Hurstgrave is coming back to him though.
Is he now? Kasper Tomaszewski as well.
It's weird. Whether actually might be that Tomaszewski's dropped off Grover, which given the visual impression that Grover's getting closer to Fabricus. But I think Grover is getting closer. I think Harry Hurstgrover, who tried everything he could and spectacularly didn't come off initially, now is looking to get a little bit closer, a little bit of speed. Obviously, these other back markers being encountered. There's your first, second. Grover, in fact, again, Tomaszewski a little bit closer during this lap. So there's an ebb and flow within the lap, Joe. Yeah,
we're seeing that, aren't we? And I think that's to do with, again, I think the track evolution is beginning to become a thing. As Addison Smith now, not exactly the fastest kart on the track that time by.
He's pulling away, though.
But he still is pulling away. The gap was 1.2 seconds. So as Addison Smith in the blue and yellow car just in the background there crosses the line, the gap was 1.2. It's now out of 1.4. So he is easing away. But likewise, like you mentioned, Nick, you saw it, didn't you? Harry Hurstgrover in third place on the number 2 there, catching Oliver Fabricus in the orange and black livery car. But likewise, Kasper Tomaszewski is catching that third place car of Harry Hurstgrover. So a 3-car battle now beginning to develop for second, third and fourth. There's the leader just going through the corner there in the blue and yellow car, Addison Smith. But this is where the action is. This is where the action is for second, third and fourth. It's the orange car of Fabricus. Then we've got Harry Hurstgrover on the number 2. Tomaszewski started on pole, and current champion, who could carry the number 1 if he wanted to, but he sticks with the number 220.
Yeah,
3-digit numbers for the junior Rotax category.
So second, third and fourth now right together from being a little bit spread out. Our leader is just encountering a bit of back markery ahead of him. There's a couple of back markers actually. So this is going to slightly affect the focus moving forward of these guys.
Yeah, and it's whether the back markers will be, familiar with dealing with the leaders coming through. They're having their own race, remember. It's not Formula One. See what I mean? There's a driver getting it all wrong and ending up pointing in the wrong direction, and right there were the leaders, and this is where it becomes tricky, and this is where you can lose out, as we're seeing there with fourth place Tomaszewski almost taking advantage of Harry Hurstgrover there as he tripped over a back marker.
Yeah, it was the 213 of John J. Buckham. It wasn't really Buckham's fault. He was in the corner. Oh, and that's gone. That's the 290. That's Fabricus Span. Fabricus Span. I'm not sure what happened there. Well, sure, we've got that again for it.
We had Harry Hurstgrover just having a peek down the inside here.
Oh, right. Grover touched him.
Yeah,
there wasn't a gap there. I mean,
the number 2 of Harry Hurstgrover was there as he turned in.
I don't know how you call that one, really.
No, neither do I.
That's going to be down to whomever and Dan Ashton the team. That's the end of the race, actually. It was so exciting we missed the end of the race.
If Dan Ashton can't decide, then he sends that to the stewards for them to decide. So there is the checkered flag with all that action going on in the final lap. We missed Addison Smith crossing the line to take the checkered flag. Harry Hurstgrover finished second on the road. Kasper Tomaszewski started on the pole, finishes third. Oliver Fabricus, who was lying second there until that final lap, finally finishes fourth. Fifth was Aidan McDonald. James Kellett was in sixth. Gregor Reid in seventh. Logan Howes in eighth. Ninth is Jack Robinson. Ewan House 10th. It was Lewis Sumner in 11th, and then moving on down the order, Max Horler, Ben Horner, Elliot Foster in 14th, Charlie Vary for SD Racing 15th, Marcel Poppicle 16th, Leon Barlow, Emily Cooper, Riley Morgan, Connor Dolan, Molly Pugh, Braith Murdoch. Then we had Callum Gosh, Matt Scott, Lewis Holt finishes 25th. Then we have Luke Sawyers, Bella Brown, Archie Doherty, Calvin Moffat just taking the flag there, and then Joshua Jarvis 30th. Aston Brown, John J. Buchan, Andrew Dixon, and Sam Green Gomez 34th and final finisher. All 34 carts making the start and getting to the checkered flag. So that's got to be a big pat on the back for all of our junior Road Act Max drivers there.
Good, sensible driving both at the front and the back. Fabregas, despite being spun on the last lap, only dropped to 4th, so he still picked up a reasonable amount of points. He's not having any too many problem. Frank sent me a picture of the oncoming weather.
Oh, really? Is that a big black cloud?
It's not looking great. There's more rain coming, apparently.
That's great. That's great.
Yes, it's very threatening weather. It's basically, the weather's got a flick knife. It's that threatening. Oh, yeah. There's a lot of weather going on. It's what you always need, though, isn't it? Way too much weather.
Yeah.
But, so, the track is thinking about drying, but it's about to get wet again. So who's out now?
We have got our Honda Cadets. These are Honda-engined Cadets, and with drivers aging from 8, it's the 900 and 950 millimetre approved chassis. The blue tag MSUK GX 200 engine, so Honda Cadet 200s. You might have heard them see these before on Karting Live TV coverage. Got a minimum weight of 103 kilograms, and they are on the Dunlop tyre. So this is the category, Nick, that reminds us every time of a train of NASCARs, where you see a train of what can be sometimes 30 plus karts. We had...
However, Joe, it's been interesting so far. In 2 or 3 of the races, what we have seen is much more stringing out because of the weather. So it'll be interesting if these guys can actually give us a nice train. The parents are waiting on the grid, so this is a standing start as well.
So a standing start for the cadets. It's Magiris Kuvekis who will start on the pole position with Archie Loveridge alongside Albie Smith and Ed Spain. Row 2. Row 3 is Ricky Jr., McIntosh and Archie Cannon. Ralphie Branscombe and Kevin Ivanov start on row 4. Row 5 is Oliver Ratton and Riley Blakemore. Cian Sullivan and Ronnie Smart are on row 6. Row 7 is Luke McGallen, reigning British champion, the number 1 of Ryan White, starts alongside in 14th. Then we've got Ella Dixon and Elliot Burke, Daniel Barton and Otto Amy, the novice driver, starting 18th. Ashton Horsepool, Tyler Banks. 21st and 22nd is Finley Thursfield and Jack Wykes. Jacob Letherby, Sophie Morris with Freddie Budd, Ollie Knox, Dino Rowlands, Luke Jardine and Jane Prakash rounding off the 29 karts. And then we've got Harley Bradbury Stretton, Jerry Diffesey, Reggie Diffesey, and then 2 non-starters in qualifying was Jaden Patel Scott and James Pearson. So they'll be starting at the back if they've joined us. Yes, they have. Jaden Patel Scott there? No, so no Jaden Patel Scott coming out, but Jerry and Reggie Diffesey, hopefully I'm not murdering
James Pearson.
And James Pearson, the final starter there.
So they have all ticked the sort of pre-timing beam effectively, but the race obviously not underway yet. There was a bit of a confusion as the karts have got slightly out of order during the formation lap. Nothing that rare in a cadet or a Bambino race. They're now looking a little bit happier being lined up. Marshall's just trying to assure also there's a little bit of separation between the karts. The cadets don't take a whole starting slot each. They get 2/3 of a starting slot.
It'll be a standing start, lights controlled, 5 red lights, which will then come on in sequence and then be extinguished, and that is the get-go sign for the start of this race. Right. Just clearing the grid now. We've got a nicely formed grid, 2 lines of Honda Cadets with Magiris Kuvekis and Archie Loveridge. They're the ones who are going to battle it out towards the first left-hand flick that is flat out here. It's called Oblivion. So the start will go into Oblivion. The red lights come on.
Oh, no.
Yes.
There's a bit of a jump from the 42. He stopped again. Well, 70, that must be Ed Spain. And he's rolled over in 3rd as they come through Oblivion very slowly, of course, and then roll through. So yeah, a bit of water on the lens. We'll get rid of that lensy water quite soon once we're sure it's not going to rain again. So that'll be like July. And they sweep round through the corner. What's the collective name for a cadet kart field?
Cadets.
No,
You mean the collective noun?
Yes,
like a flock of cadets.
It should be
yes, it's a flock of cadets.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you think everybody's in first. There's a challenge for the lead. Again, very wet track, so it's a one-line circuit at the moment, and again, we're still seeing the wet line being used.
The important thing to remember is that this grid is set from qualifying, but qualifying was in the bone dry.
That's right.
2 or 3 hours ago.
Yeah,
so the guys who were great, guys and girls who were great in the dry, or had a good setup for the dry, might not be enjoying these damp conditions as much. There's going to be some kerfuffling and shuffling as they move on.
And I always found the wet to be a good leveller.
Abby Smith making an excellent move there into second place.
That was a great drive through the final turn at Paddock Bend. For the last time here this weekend, that configuration of Paddock Bend. But what a move that was. Just carrying speed through.
Ed Spain in that blue cart has made that breakaway going to Christmas. It's Abby in second. Then it's the 73 now of Archie Loveridge, who just pulled into third place from the 75. I think I must have misread. I can't be said. It must be 15 of Margaritis. Some of these numbers aren't quite so clear at a distance with old eyes.
Yeah, it's Magiris Kovekis, the number 15, who started on the pole. And like you say, Nick, Kovekis, the fastest kart in dry conditions, a little bit different here, with a little bit different kart setup, a little bit different driving style needed. And that's a two-way battle there for second, as Archie Loveridge and Abby Smith come together. Not quite together, if that makes sense. There's Ryan White on the number 1, the current British champion.
Big nudge.
Now, Ryan White started way down the field. He's up to 6th the last lap. He's certainly further up the field here. So I'm not quite sure what happened to Ryan in qualifying, but he's up to 5th already. So we'll keep an eye on that number 1, Nick.
No, don't forget, if you want to hear more from Ryan, he's in our paddock show, available at lunchtime tomorrow and on YouTube this evening, if I upload it whilst I'm watching the Grand Prix. And that's a lovely little leap out there by the second of the red cart. So that's the 51 of Ronnie Smart, I think, getting past Kevin Ivanov there. 51, white helmet, red and white on the side.
Well, Ryan started in 14th place, and now he's up to 5th. And he looks very, very racy indeed.
Is he 5th or 4th now? I think he's 4th now. Yeah, he's
1, 2, 3, 4th. Yeah, so another place, another box ticked for Ryan White then, in that 5th spot.
And the kart we're talking about is the bright red overalls there, and the red and white kart coming down towards us here, chasing down Abby Smith. And the one kart looking up the inside of the boot. Abby herself was pretty fast around this section of track earlier, but it looks like Ryan's getting a little bit hunty, and he's going to come up the inside, and I think this is going to be and Abby there kind of went, all right, I can see you there. And of course, these drivers know each other, and sometimes they know when it's best to the discretion is a bit of part of valour. I think probably a little bit disappointed that she also let Ronnie Smith through as well there, but over half the race to go, you can get that back quite easily. But now, off and hunting and into Archie Loveridge is the number 1 kart of Smith.
Well, they're Project 1 teammates, these two.
Smart White,
yeah. So we'll see as Ryan White will want to try and eke away, but no, coming back at him is the 51 of Ronnie Smart. So the number 1 there, Ryan White, in the red and white. Great colours there, by the way, for his dad Paul, who works in Aberdeen, but he's from the Newcastle area. So he'll really love being running in red and white at the minute, and using the football analogy there. Of course, he'd love that, just to remind him. Love you running in red and white, Paul. Really loving this. Ryan beginning to pull out a little bit of a cushion now. He was getting very, very pestered, let's say, by his teammate Ronnie Smart. Both of these drivers with Project 1. Another variation on Ryan there.
He's through. Smart has taken Ryan.
Absolutely. Look at the grip he found there, taking the more conventional line. And that's the transition, isn't it, Nick?
That was the route that Harry Hurst tried to take in the last heat, which didn't work. So they come towards us now back up the hill, and these two teammates I'm surprised we haven't got one of them tapping his head going, let's work together and arm ahead, which is normal when they do this. Because they have let Ed Spain in the lead and Archie Loveridge get away. They're 5 seconds behind the leader and about 3 seconds behind second place as they scrap around for the back end of the podium and now to the outside as Ryan looks to get this place back from Ronnie. And he's got up the inside. Will he make a move for it? Nope. Ronnie says, no, you're not doing that one. As they turn back along the back straight.
Well, the gap to Archie Loveridge in second was 2.3 seconds. Loveridge is 2.7 seconds down on Ed Spain. So this battle for third now going the way of Ronnie Smart, coming towards the final stages of lap 5. Ed Spain crossing the line now, 5 laps completed for him. The gap out to 2.8 to Loveridge. The gap is out to 2.8 to Ronnie Smart and Ryan White. So now Ryan White dropping off the back of Ronnie Smart and back towards Abby Smith. And if you ask me, Nick, with the lack of rain coming down, the track beginning to dry, and as the track dries, it looks to me as though Ryan White's kart has kind of gone away from him a little bit.
Yeah, he's probably got a slightly softer setup. Perhaps he eased everything off and narrowed everything down. But certainly he was quite able to get past Abby when he overtook her a couple of laps ago. But now Abby moving. It's not Abby, it's Albie. I think I'm now saying it's her. It's probably a boy. I do apologise. Albie. I've completely misread that with my eyes.
So did I.
It's Albie. Sorry, Albie. I do apologise.
Yeah. You're not Abby.
Sorry,
Albie.
Albie. That is the first one of the weekend. We've got that wrong, and we do apologise to Albie intensely there. That was not deliberate. That was called having two commentators who are a little bit older, more mature.
It's not that. I'm just glancing down at the times because I can't take my eyes off this screen. The way that what was a 2-card battle, and Ryan White there once again falling foul of his teammate Ronnie Smart, who stays in third place on the clock, and Ryan White had actually gotten ahead of him. And with these two squabbling over that third place, Albie Smith and Kevin Ivanoff coming into the 4 are almost becoming Cian Sullivan joining in as well, all the way down to 7th.
Yeah, and all these people are losing time on the first two. Loveridge, the lead from Spain to Smart now, which is first to third, nearly 7 seconds. That's gone up by a second and a half in this last lap as they scrap away. Albie Smith looking racing. I wonder Albie just sitting there waiting to pick up the pieces of some sort of Ryan White, Ronnie Smart. White up the inside, and Smart's pushed right wide. Now this is a chance for Albie. Can he get through? 3 into 2 won't go.
Yeah,
Albie's nearly got it, but that's where he needs to be there. He needs to be there and wait for that mistake.
It's that king on the exit of Chapman that sorts them out. They've got to sort themselves out before they get onto the back straight. They're already at the boot. Now watch this. Where will Ronnie Smart position his car? Down the inside? No, because Ryan White takes that line. Because the track is evolving back to them. It's becoming a more conventional racing line through the bends here. Not so much a wet line. Ryan White using all of the curb and more, and now that 2-3 car battle for
Albie up
what
the
is
inside.
3rd, 4th and 5th
and
is becoming a 4-car battle.
So Albie's going to pick up 2 places lost by Ronnie Smart there as Albie went through, and also the 50 kart of Kevin Ivanoff. So it's all cracking on here, and they were a second slower than the top 2 who are away. Ed Spain, Archie Loveridge. We're on to the penultimate lap now.
And I thought, Nick, that Ronnie Smart had it covered. I thought he had Ryan White covered. It's not the case. And now that Ryan White's broken free, Albie Smith going with him. And there's Ronnie Smart coming back towards the number 50 of Kevin Ivanoff and trying to get that position back. But who's that behind? Is that Cian Sullivan joining in as well on the blue card just at the back of this
gaining
field?
Slowly, but I think you're saying there's 2 things happening here. There's an ebb and flow as the grip increases, and whether they work out the part of the track to be on for the grip to increase, or whether their setup allows it. And also these little minor mistakes, when you've got 5 karts right next to you, you lose momentum and suddenly 4 karts have gone past you.
Yeah, like I say, it's the NASCAR of karting. You lose out. There's Ryan White using all of that curb. Now it's a sprint race up to Christmas Corner, and they're going to go side by side into the braking area. They sort themselves out, but it's the number 50 of Kevin Ivanoff who goes ahead of Albie Smith. Smith coming under pressure now from the 51 of Ronnie Smart and Cian Sullivan, the 26 on the blue cart there. There's back markers coming into play, and Ryan White's been held up massively.
Reggie
Parker on towards Chapman now.
Oof! Don't think DeFissi knew he was there, and he's been shoved, very unpleasantly shoved out there.
The back marker there having to take avoiding action, I think is the technical term.
No, he was avoided for himself. He got a little bit of a tap, but that's going to mean there's going to be a huge shuffle behind as they got stuck up behind the back marker, and then he kind of went off, and I'm not quite sure. In fact, in all that, Ronnie Smart appears to have come back through to 4th place in this pack, already through Ed Spain for a great victory, and Archie Loveridge for 2nd, but all the battling was in this following pack, and it's Ryan White who picks up 3rd. I think it's going to be Ronnie Smart. It is in 4th. Albie Smith in 5th. Cian Sullivan 6th. It's Ralphie Branscombe in 7th. Kevin Ivanoff in 8th. Yeah, bad last lap, but Kevin lost about 3 places. Archie Cannon in 9th. And Margaritis Kavicius makes up the top 10.
Well, that's an incredible drive, I think, from Ryan White. Ed Spain, let's see where Ed Spain...
This is what happened in the back, mate.
I do not know how to make sense of any of that went on in that last lap. I can't keep a tab on who moved where and who did what. But what I can say was it was phenomenal driving. Ed Spain started fourth. He took the win. And then, of course, we had Archie Loveridge, who had a bit of a lonely second place. He started second. He finished second. Ryan White, though, started that race in 14th and made his way through eventually to third. He was joined by his teammate, the number 51, Ronnie Smart, who started 12th, just started ahead of Ryan. So those two moved up the order. Now, they will start their second heat in exactly the same qualifying positions as the grid positions, I should say, are taken from time qualifying. So Ryan White and indeed Ronnie Smart has it all to do again in the next time we see these out later on this afternoon. For now, though, we move away from Honda-engined cadets and we move back to the petrol-engined Coma C50 engine Bambinos. It'll be another standing start. This time the grid will be formed up by groups A and C for the Bambinos. The first heat we saw out was for groups A and B. So Group A out again. This time they're joined by Group C. And we had two qualifying sessions. Ollie West started on the pole position. We released the Bambinos. And I'll see if I've been given a grid for the first heat for these Bambinos. Groups B and C. Have we got next? No, A and C. So I'll just talk amongst yourselves while I fathom out where our grids are for this first heat. They are going to come out. Noel Wicklow has come out at the head of the field, so he was the first of Group A. Benjamin Chivard starts alongside. We saw Benjamin, at least I saw Benjamin, at the Warden Law Spring Series rounds 1 and 2, where he absolutely dominated the field of Bambino C50s up at Warden Law. This series, of course, the Kart Championship, does indeed visit Warden Law for round 3. That comes up towards the end of April. Second row of this Bambino grid is Lewis Wilson and William Wainwright. It's John Stevens and Arlo Gamble, who had a very good first heat. They start 5th and 6th. 7th is Max Armett and Logan Hodgetts. And then looking down the order, it is in 9th, it's Nico Wesolowski and Riley Ashton Wilkins. Jax Wong and Hendrix Fallat are on row 6. Arthur Bowers and Calman Simon are on row 7. It's Wraith Owen and Christian Doshi on row 8. Row 9 is Brady Atkin and Santo Amico. And then rounding off the 19 Kart Bambino field is Henry Hales. So petrol-engined Coma C50s is the order of the day for this one. And it's the drivers again from the ages of 6 upwards to 8. We've got the C50 and the C50G engine. It's fixed sprocket gearing, minimum weight of 71 kilograms, and they are on the LeConte all-weather tyre. So it's a treaded tyre as we set this race away, and this field of Bambinos head off into oblivion and through Cook, and it's Wicklow who leads and Shivar in second. Is that your handiwork there, Nick?
Yeah,
Are you going to be able to speak?
That's why I'm out of breath.
Or shall I come back? So with the rain now subsiding, we've managed to clean our camera lens at turn 1 there. Frank up on the hill, still being blown to bits.
I got Come On Brady Atkin from Passion Karties at Emma Parson.
Do you want to wait until you've got your breath back?
No, Brady Atkin's the car number 23. He's a Come On.
All right, okay. Where is he? There he is. He started in 16th. The leader, though, is Noah Wicklow. He's off, and behind him on the bright green helmet is young Benjamin Chivard, who I mentioned earlier. Third place, that looks like the 21 of William Wainwright. It is indeed the bright yellow liveried cart there. These three now just picking their way around. Chivard coming back at the leader, Wicklow at the entrance to the boot. They come out of the boot now and through the Well, they're still relatively flat out, even in these conditions. Just finding where the grip is, these three youngsters making their way around at the front of the field. I can give you the top 10 as they come through. So it's Wicklow leading, Shivar in second, Wainwright third, Arlo Gamble fourth, Hendricks Fallat fifth, sixth is Logan Hodgetts, Lewis Wilson seventh, eighth is Arthur Bowers, Jack Dwong is in ninth, and rounding off the top 10 is Calman Simon.
I'm not sure if you've explained the heat situation with the Bambinos, why it says AVC. You have done? Well, I'll stop breathing out there, that's fine.
Yeah, we've got so many Bambinos, we had to split them into three groups.
There's obviously a limit, isn't there, on how many you have on the track at one time.
Yeah, so rather than having them all on the track at the time, I think we'll be
they wouldn't take that much space, but who knows what would happen.
No, we need to move that banner, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we might make a note of which one it is for tomorrow's coverage. It's all about the signage.
It's all about signage.
Yeah. Beginning to space out, though, Nick Wicklow. Beginning to space out at the front, Benjamin Shivar in second. In third place, William Wainwright. And then a little bit of a gap there to Arlo Gamble beginning to be produced. However, there's the number 78 of Benjamin Shivar. He's dad's Bosnian and showing the Bosnian flag, representing Bosnia, young Benjamin. Oh, lovely kart control there, young Benjamin.
But I don't think that necessarily gives you the most forward momentum.
Well, he's lost time, hasn't he?
Wainwright,
yeah, he's lost time there.
Just got better drive. And, you know, it can be spectacular. You can get yourself your fast and your furious bonus points, but it's not necessarily the quickest way of doing things.
I tell you what, Nick, I'm very impressed with these drivers, the Bambino drivers, in the way that they're young, 6 years old, remember, and the way that they can feel the speed, they can feel the momentum. They know when they're going slower. They know when they're losing speed. And Benjamin will know straight away that that's not what he wanted coming out onto the start-finish straight with a handful of opposite lock. Yeah. And he'll know that the momentum has been stifled, and he'll be avoiding that. We've seen him drive very smoothly on all of the tracks. And, that's why he's currently just behind the leader there in second place.
This is fourth and fifth, which is Hendrik Fallat and Arlo Gamble. Gamble with that blue top, but then we go also second and third is getting close together again, so fourth and fifth and second and third coming together. Noah Wilcote nicely away again, so Wicklow looking to win his second heat. But
yeah, so he's maximising his points haul, isn't he, going forward into the super heats?
Yeah. But
here they come then. Let's see if Arlo Gamble can come back at Fallat as they cross the line. Then it's 3 laps completed. We are at half distance. The heats, remember, 8 minutes and 1 lap, 8 minutes and then 1 lap. And there is that a battle for the lead?
No,
who's
second
that?
and third. That's second and third. That's Wainwright.
That's Wainwright gotten ahead, hasn't he? He's got past Benjamin Shivar, and now we'll want to pull away.
Almost 4 seconds up the road is Wicklow.
Yeah, Wicklow has gone, hasn't he? He's checked out. And surprised to see it. And you know what? If Shivar's car continues to have snap oversteer like we've seen earlier, then he is going to lose time.
They're both gone. Oh, poor. Oh, dear. Shivar there absolutely spooked by the other traffic.
Well, he, in fairness to him, spooked. He had nowhere to go, Nick. He couldn't really turn to the right because his car wouldn't turn. He turns and then he has to...
Yeah, he's back out again, yeah.
If he turned, he would have slid into the number 21
He's a bit unlucky, of course. He just lost all because it's wet grass.
Yeah.
But this is now the battle for second and third.
Now then, from our position, being in the entertainment business,
very good.
We're going to now watch Wainwright and Shivar come back at Fallat and Gamble, the two karts that we're watching there. That's Fallat ahead of Arlo Gamble, through the boot, and on towards... There's a kart on the outside of the boot. This is now the second and third place battle across the line. Wicklow has already gone. Fallat in second, Arlo Gamble in third. We'll keep an eye on what's going on behind. Now, behind in fourth is Benjamin Shivar, who recovered better. He's got Jack Swong in fifth, Lewis Wilson in sixth, Arthur Bowers in seventh, Calman Simon, Brady Atkin, Logan Hodgetts, William Wainwright, the kart that spun, the yellow kart that we saw spun, is down in 11th.
Yeah. So Wicklow, I think, won the last heat by about 15 seconds. So he's absolutely laying down a marker for this first round of the Kart Championship in the Bambino Coma class. But the second place and third battling right now in second place is snatched by Arlo Gamble as they turned in at the bottom end of Ashby there, and he's now running second. There's a 4-kart kind of kerfuffle behind them, but second and third changes again. It is beginning to cloud over and it is spitting. So the rain has returned. So it was completely pointless to be rain down clean the lens.
It's not going to affect these karts to a massive extent because they're on the treaded tyre. The LeConte all-weather tyre is what they call it. It's basically a treaded tyre. However, it is going to mean the grip's in a different part of the track. And already we can see that the rain falling on our camera lens, and we can see how the drivers are just adjusting the line.
Got back past Gamble again there during that lap, but now it's about 3 to go.
And if the rain continues, the track conditions are going to change. The drivers are going to be, caught out potentially. As I thought that for a moment there. We were side by side. We're not. Fallatt in second, Gamble in third. Into the braking area, and an early turn in there in these wet conditions at Christmas Corner. They come out of Christmas, and then through the left-hander, and then the right-hander there, using the curb on the inside. Look at that. That's Inkerman's. Down the hill.
See the rain that's really coming down again.
And this becomes a very tricky corner, this. This is Ashby, and it's downhill off camber, and in the wet, that just is exacerbated for the drivers. From there, they go towards Parker. This left-hander here is Parker. Then a short blast towards Chapman, which is quite important because you need a good momentum out onto the back straight towards the boot, and the entry to the boot, which is a sweeping left-hander, 90-degree left-hander, followed immediately by a double apex 180-degree turn. It's going to be a very tight hairpin come the summer. This point here, going to be turning much further right than that.
Very sharply right, and then back left onto it. But they've got the joy of this. Freedom and swooping for the last time onto the pit end.
Wicklow leading by 11 seconds. Noah Wicklow. He really has been a class of this Bambino C50 field. Fallatt in a very strong, relatively strong second place. Still just under 6/10 Arlo Gamble. And we know how quick Arlo can be. And Arlo there, he's kind of predatory, isn't he? He's waiting for Fallatt to make a mistake and find the wet patch, or lock up the rear axle, and just waiting for a mistake. But it's so easy to make a mistake in these conditions. Benjamin Shivar, the green car, just coming into view there on the camera. He's in fourth now, recovering after that avoiding action for William Wainwright, who's moved up from 11th to 9th, having a bit of a recovery drive.
Yeah, he got a bit of the pace in the kart, but obviously lost a lot of it when he was facing the wrong way as everyone went past him.
So Noah Wilco, Nick, 11 seconds there. We'll
see if we can find our leader.
Yeah,
because I don't think second and third is going to change. That's Wilco. It's 11 seconds past. He's going to be underneath Ash, or perhaps on the.
He's just coming across the line now.
Across the line now.
I think that's him there, Nick. Just
there
coming
he is.
Through Oblivion.
Going through Oblivion, looking very menacing with his iridium visor.
Let's see where he's built up this 11-second gap to the rest of this Bambino field. He is being able to drive away. Look at the early turn in there, using the curb. Little bit of oversteer mid-corner there. But look how smooth he is. Look how very little steering input we're seeing on this kart. And that's just, he's using the track. He's maximising his grip through the corners all the way around the outside of Parker. Sorry, that's Ashby. Sorry, got my corners mixed up. All the way across the curb. This left-hander is Parker. And again, what line does he take? Oh, no, the inside line there. That's more conventional. And again, but look how smooth he is.
Oh, yeah.
That is where he's got the time. He's got very little steering input. The kart's not sliding around and slewing around in oversteer or an understeer. The kart's actually turning in. So a great wet setup there. Whoever is responsible for Noah's setup wants a pat on the back.
Certainly does.
And it's been well driven, of course.
It has. There's a car, the 22 of Christian Doshi there was off the track at the top of the boot, but it's crossed the line, and a second win in 2 outings for Noah Wicklow. This time probably by about, 13 seconds by the time Fallatt gets over the line.
Well, that's Group A's heats completed. It's the first heat for Group C, and that was maximum points, so Noah Wicklow will start tomorrow's super heats from the pole position.
Yeah, he's double maximum.
Yeah. So Noah Wicklow takes the win by a 14-second gap from Hendrix Fallatt, who did indeed hold on to that second place from Arlo Gamble in third. Benjamin Shivar was fourth, Jack Swong fifth, Brady Atkins sixth, seventh was Lewis Wilson, Arthur Bowers ninth, Calman Simon was, Arthur Bowers eighth, Calman Simon ninth. Logan Hodgetts finished in 10th, We then had Nico Wesolowski in 11th. Henry Hales was 12th. Riley Aston Wilkins was 13th. William Wainwright dropped down the order again. Another problem for William there, finishing 14th. Then got Santo Amico 15th. John Stevens was 16th. And then we have Ratho and Christian Doshi, who we lost on lap 5, and Max Armit, who we lost on the first lap, Nick.
Yep. Tricky conditions for very young children, very young drivers. Rain coming down during the course of the race. Again, I can look in 3 different directions and see 3 different weathers at the moment, but it is raining back at the Whilton Mill track at the moment, as one of the carts is brought back from oblivion, where it fallen off. So damp again. Anybody who was in the paddock about 20 minutes ago thinking, I wonder if I can get a little bit of slickage going on. That's not happening.
Yeah, so the track that was evolving back towards being less wet. I'm not going to say dry because it was nowhere near dry. Now there's Dan Ashton.
Apparently it's hailing now.
He's our clerk of the course.
It's hailing and Ash can't feel his fingers, just so you know.
It's hailing and Ash can't feel his fingers. These prima donna cameramen. Why didn't he dress appropriately?
I think he did.
Yeah, Dan Ashton looking like he's been a bit weather beaten as well out there.
This is shouldn't be a surprise because England. It's the first. This is the 2nd of March. But this is surprise bad weather. We've been promised not to get this. It's absolutely tipping it down now.
Well, it was always going to be cold, but the forecast that I saw.
It is hail. It is small bits of hail now, bouncing off the floor. It's just what you need. A hailstorm. Oh dear! And we're in this warm area here with a hailstorm. What can you do?
Well, let's release the junior primos out onto the track. What's junior primo? Well, it's that age group junior primo of just before you sort of transition out of Inter on the narrower tyre. You go to the wider tyre. It's a junior max, exactly the same as junior Rotax. The 125 FR 125 engine from Rotax. But you've got to be under 14 before the 1st of June this year. So you've got to be under 14, and it's that age gap of 12 to 14 years of age before you get in with the big lads and lasses. And, the junior Rotax grid can be pretty heavy going and pretty heavy tactics in there. So it's the age group really that we're looking at here. So Junior Primo catering for that transition from Intermax into the very rough and ready tactics of Junior Rotax. Not always. We do get clean racing. So it's Daniel Hartley who's the quickest of our primos. Ellis Daly alongside Maya Simpson, let's say it. Finley Hans, row 2. Tyler Dibbs and Zach Kane on row 3. Then we've got Thomas Butcher, Ethan Bath, Jack Johnson, Alessio Lamalfa, Oscar Pitt and Leighton Kelly, Eddie Stewart and Ewan Stevenson, Alfie Forrester and Carter Inskip. Clarkson, no surprise, we're getting the wave around. Dan Ashton there.
Nowhere near together, were they?
He's telling them one more lap, so they better get in order. And I think the drivers knew they were going to get another lap there. We've got a mix of teams and privateers in Junior Primo. I think I was at about 12. Leighton Kelly. So 13th, Eddie Stewart and Ewan Stevenson. Alfie Forrester and Carter Inskip Clarkson are in 16th. Riley Mason Lewis and Sophia Caldwell in 17th and 18th. Then we've got 19th and 20th. Dominic Thornton and Laurie McVeigh, Bella Fairclough and Riley Till rounds off the 22 kart field. But we've only got 21 karts out. Now, Riley Till did not go out in qualifying, has not come out for the first heat, so Riley Till is not here.
Has entered but not started. Oh, someone's facing the wrong way in the background.
Enjoyable racing for the newer junior racers.
Not in this weather.
The Kart Championship. Maybe not when it's hailing.
No. They are getting a bit quick, actually. Somebody needs to give them a bit of... Yeah, they get you now. The double hand slow down. Somebody actually off there at the side of the first part of the boot, but they are now rolling into the pit bend for the... hopefully a start. That's going to get the two lines way out of order.
Oh, they have.
They're going to get a start on that?
No, they've been sent around. That was not in any way, shape, or form.
They're going too quickly.
Yeah, they were out of grid order. They were out of line. They were all, and I think that the pace across the line was perhaps a little bit too quick.
Someone needs to really slow down the guys at the front a long time before they get to the boot. They need to go.
Well, they usually do. They usually
need to go at walking pace.
Yeah, they usually get slowed down. They usually get slowed down on the back straight, don't they?
So at this point, I'm just trying to look see how they are. They're not really. Oh, I've got people catching up now who fell off early. Well, that's a bit difficult. This isn't. Well,
it's hard, Nick.
I'm not saying it's not hard, but
yeah, it's
oddly,
it's
I was
tricky.
thinking going slow it shouldn't be quite as hard.
But they don't on this pace lap. I remember the first Super 1 race I ever did. They went off on the coming out the collecting area. I couldn't catch them. I'd never driven as fast in my life. I couldn't catch them, and this was the pace lap. It was like, what are you doing? And this is what we're seeing now. This is where we need our pole position drivers the front row drivers need to be slowing the things down. They need to be slowing things down. Remember, these are junior drivers, if you like. Junior Primo. Junior Primo is a class of the Kart Championship, and again, that pace is
going too early.
A little bit hot.
It's going too early. I think they're going to get away with it. I think, but they went out of line because he put the power down too early, and therefore on the outside line you can get a little bit more drive than you can on the inside line, and in doing that, the line's got completely out of order. Under investigation, number 63, the leader. So the guy went off in pole. Daniel Hartley's under investigation, and
well, they're coming through the final turn too quickly.
Effectively, he jumped the start. He jumped the start because his position gave him way more acceleration than the person who was actually in pole.
I think it was Daniel Hartley on the pole, wasn't it?
No,
yes, it was
on the other side. So it just got completely out of order. So
they were basically led through that final turn. I know we're speculating here, and we'll come to the race order in a moment because they spread out. Everybody's coming round. We'll get the race order in a moment. But for me, they were too quick through Paddock Bend. Pitts Bend, sorry.
Because he was putting
too quick.
He was putting the power down.
Because everybody
not here. It wasn't going. He basically gunned it from there.
Yeah.
As they went round the corner, and then.
So Daniel Hartley leads, Maya Simpson in second, Ellis Daly third, Jack Johnson fourth, Zach Kane fifth, Eddie Stewart sixth, Eddie Stewart moving up the order to sixth there. Great move from Eddie on the first lap. Alfie Forrester seventh, eighth is Leighton Kelly, Ethan Bath is ninth, and then Thomas Butcher in rounding off the top 10. Just outside the top 10, Riley Mason Lewis, Sophie Caldwell, Cart Inskip Clarkson, Dominic Thornton, and then 15th, Laurie McVeigh. So that's Daniel Hartley, the pole position driver. He was the quickest in time qualifying. He got off at the start. I don't think the start issue was is a factor from where he is now. Maya Simpson continuing to try and chase him down. It's a very, very wet track now, Nick. You can see plumes of spray coming from the rear tyres. We've got the 59 getting a warning. Not quite sure what that is.
It's Riley Mason Lewis.
Right.
That's probably a more forceful overtake than he should. And there's our leader. Under investigation, we've got no idea what has been decided. We just have under investigation. That needs to be investigated and decided upon.
So Daniel Hartley leads by 2 seconds now at 2 laps. Maya Simpson, a very lonely second. Maya has 3.5 seconds to Jack Johnson. Eddie Stewart, he is the driver on the move. Eddie Stewart on the number 45. Just keep an eye on the 45 in the blue and yellow liveried cart. And he is moving up the order in 4th place now. Just going to remind myself where Eddie Stewart started. It certainly wasn't 4th. Eddie Stewart started in 13th. And Eddie now up to 4th. He was 6th last time by. That's him there on the blue and yellow cart. The number 45 through the left-hander at Parker. And now he's chasing down the 27. That's Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson now beginning to be caught by Eddie Stewart. Eddie Stewart down the inside into the boot. No, he got held up slightly there as the leader goes through. Daniel Hartley completes 3 laps and then on towards oblivion. Maya Simpson in second through Crook, the right-hander, and there's Stewart through in third. So as the leader continues, we've now got to keep our eyes on that cart there is Maya Simpson, and we'll keep our eyes on the gap between that cart there with the orange helmet and the cart behind, which is Eddie Stewart, who is catching her. So we'll keep an eye on that gap as Eddie Stewart came through. 4.7 seconds was the deficit between second and third. Behind Eddie Stewart was Jack Johnson on the 27. And we'll just, as we see, plumes of wetness. So there's the orange helmet of Maya Stewart. Maya Simpson being followed by Eddie Stewart. So the blue and yellow cart behind that one there with the orange helmet is Eddie Stewart, who will pick up in a moment as they come through turns 1 and 2. That's Oblivion and Crook. Now the card just coming into view. Now that is 6 seconds. Oh, it's Jack Johnson. Sorry, Eddie Stewart's had a problem. Eddie Stewart dropping to 6th. That's why the gap's gone out. So it's the 27 of Jack Johnson, just off our cameras there. We lost Eddie Stewart going off. He was chasing down that gap to Maya Simpson. It was about 4.5 seconds there. And Eddie Stewart there losing about, I think he's had a bit of a half spin or a problem, and drops to 6th place. Just ahead of him is Leighton Kelly in 5th, Alfie Forrester in 4th, Jack Johnson in 3rd. And now we've got the 27, Jack Johnson, being pressured by the 79 of Alfie Forrester. There's the lead. There's the second place car of Maya Simpson. Now behind her is that battle for 3rd and 4th. Just coming through and into our view now. That's the battle there, across the line. 2.5 minutes remaining. And that 2-card battle for 3rd and 4th beginning to be joined by Leighton Kelly for 5th as well. And then the recovering Eddie Stewart's dropped off the tail of them just about under 2 seconds. There's a move down the inside at Christmas, not coming off because the traction that Jack Johnson had keeps him in that position. But look at the 79. Forrester down the inside of Ashby, or at Ashby I should say, down the inside of Jack Johnson. Out of Ashby. Johnson looking over his shoulder to see if anybody else is joining in. And yeah, I've got to say, Leighton Kelly's not that far behind. That's the cart number 78 there. And number 78 moving down the inside. I think that might have been a touch. Yes, they haven't come through. There was certainly an incident there. So that's allowed.
That's the 78 of Leighton Kelly. So Kelly has got past.
Well, what happened Johnson there, Nick, was the 27. We saw the 27 and the 79, Jack Johnson, Alfie Forrester. I think they came together at what would be Parker. And that's allowed Leighton Kelly through in 4th. No, Alfie Forrester is through in 3rd. So it was Johnson and Kelly who came together.
And I've got to go Leighton Kelly from Rosehill Youth Theatre.
Well, he is. He absolutely is.
And a kiss, by the way.
Who? Which youth theatre?
Rosehill Youth Theatre.
Go on, lovies.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Jazz hands to the front of the grid.
Oh, great battle there. Absolute sideways.
They're obviously teammates, these two, or they just got the same eBay sticker kit. And they're 79-78, Alfie Forrester and Leighton Kelly. 79 coming down the back straight now. Accelerating into the boot.
Well, Alfie Forrester's with BSR. Jack Johnson, Leighton Kelly, not showing with anyone, but they're same, similar liveried carts. That sort of, they could both be with BSR. As the 27 comes through, then we're getting towards the final stages. Then 20 seconds on the clock through the first sections. There, that's the Alfie Forrester Leighton Kelly battle. Ahead of these two.
Who's that spun? Who spun there in front of Frank? Frank, who spun in front of you?
That's not the second place cart, is it?
That is the 85.
No, it's not.
That's Oscar Pitt, his back a lap.
Yeah, he's down the order. So Oscar Pitt struggling in these conditions. We are on the penultimate lap. It'll be the one lap to go about next time by for the number 63, Daniel Hartley. As everyone's slipping and sliding around, aren't they? It's quite clear to see that Rotax Junior Primos struggling as would anybody in these conditions. We're transitioning from wet to dry constantly.
We're on the last lap, and Daniel Hartley, I think, is any second now going to cross the line, actually.
He's crossed the line already, Nick. Yeah.
And then Maya Simpson picks up a second. Forrester from Kelly.
Let's try and pick up Daniel Hartley, the number 63, who's heading, I think, towards Christmas, if not just coming out of Christmas corner.
There's just one lap to go, is there?
Yeah.
Right, so we've got another lap to go there. So that was interesting. He wasn't on the final lap, he started the final lap. There he is. There's the 96, is there?
That's the second place cart of Maya Simpson. So it's the cart about 10 seconds ahead of Maya.
10 seconds ahead.
Massive gap from
probably in there, coming in around the boot now. There he goes.
So getting towards the checkered flag then for the Junior Primo first heat. And it'll be checkered flag time for Daniel Hartley, who crosses the line just off our camera and takes the checkered flag to take full honours. Maya Simpson will come through in a moment, but there's the battle we've been concentrating on. Alfie Forrester and Leighton Kelly, they didn't come together after all, and it will be Alfie Forrester who takes this third place and crosses the line. A variation on an opinion how to take that pits bend, the final bend here at Whilton Mill. Forrester finishes third, Leighton Kelly fourth. It's Zach Kane who we wait for now in fifth, and there's a gaggle of 4 carts crossing the line. It'll be Eddie Stewart, the recovering Eddie Stewart, who finishes fifth. Zach Kane sixth, Ellis Daly in seventh, Jack Johnson eighth, Ethan Bath in ninth, Carter Inskip Clarkson rounds off that top 10, and just outside the top 10, that's Laurie McVeigh who takes the flag. Sophie Caldwell through in 12th, and then we wait for Dominic Thornton 13th, Finley Hans, Alessio Lamalfa, Ewan Stevenson will finish 16th, Thomas Butcher 17th, Oscar Pitt 18th, 19th was Riley Mason Lewis, and then rounding off the field is Bella Fairclough, who we lost on lap 1. That concludes the first heats of the season for the Kart Championship. We get into our second heats. Remember, the heats today are all about forming the grid for the super heats tomorrow. And then we have 2 super heats tomorrow, which then form the grid for our all-important super finals. So kicking off the second round of heats will be our Micromax field. And it will be, again, the grid formed from time qualifying earlier today. So the Micromax qualifying saw Benedictus Masiokis on the pole position. He will start from pole position again, with Alfie Garrett alongside. Then we've got Logan Rolfe and Sebastian Behrman. This was a cracking race in Heat 1. We're just recovering a couple of stranded carts out on the track. So that gives us plenty of time to have a look at our Micromax grid. Third row of the grid is Lewis Herbertson and Alfie Mayer. Josh Cook and Chloe McGill are on row 4. Row 5 is Archie Rogers-Tyler and Elijah West. Row 6 is Ethan Lloyd and Adam Galudi. Row 7, Logan Stanley Jones and Buddy Hugo. Xavier Ramsey and Ronnie Carter are on row 8. Row 9 is Lewis Corrie and Jensen Walker. And then row 10, Matthew Lilly and LBJ Stubbs. Sebastian Crawford and Jack Mellon are on row 11. Row 12, Carter Jackson and Victor Popakul. Dian Singh Pahal starts 25th with Ruben Sagu in 26th. Zach Andrew and Freddie Blackshaw 27th, 28th, with Jamie Walsh, Ronnie Faulkner, Travis Giddings, Jensen Darlow in, I think his mum Sarah, who's no stranger to a karting paddock, with dad Tim, of course, now seeing the second generation getting involved in the sport. Jensen Darlow qualified 32nd. Toby Biggs qualified, or didn't qualify at all. And Toby Biggs has come out, so that's 33 starters, I think. Yep, we have. So Toby Biggs will start at the back after not posting a time in qualifying. Not sure what the problem was for Toby. He's running with Zenon. And we've got a mix of teams and privateers. Zip Carter at the front row of the grid with RCE alongside. And we get things underway with Masiokis and Alfie Garrett leading the field off through Oblivion and into Crook Corner. Out of Crook Corner, the all-important blast up the hill towards Christmas. And no incidents to report. Drivers just... and I think we've got a full start. Yes, we have. I got all excited prematurely there. I was looking at the grid, of course, and looked up, and we had carts waving around, not looking like they were racing, and that's what told me. So, false start flag. They're being shown on the well, the flags are flying and the boards are being lit up with the false start flag, the green with the yellow triangle. That's what that's all about. You see there the marshal just holding up the green and yellow, green flag with a yellow triangle. Tells all the drivers that we're not racing yet. Still 8 minutes and 1 lap on the clock. It's the second round of heats just about to begin with the Micromax class about to get going. Drivers between the ages of 8 and 12. It's the 125cc Rotax engine. Dunlop tyres for Micromax. So round the boot, nicely ordered, nicely in control, with great job by our pole position driver, Benedictus Masiokas. And here we go, we're going to give it another try. Let's see if we can get things underway this time towards oblivion. The field through what is a very, very tricky start. It's very fast, and in these wet conditions, very, very tricky indeed offline. There's been lots of mud being brought on by carts going off track as the field through Christmas Corner and then on through the left-hand kink towards the right-hander at Inkermans. You carry a lot of speed through there. It's downhill towards Ashby Corner. This is the right-hander at Ashby. Off Camber Corner there. Huge expansive exit curb there to use if you have to. And we've still not started this Micromax heat. We've had 2 goes at it, and each time our starter has not been happy. So once again, we form the grid up in 2x2 formation. So I'm not sure whether we're out of formation, which was why we didn't get them going. But it's Masiokas and Alfie Garrett on the front row, Logan Rolfe and Sebastian Behrman on row 2, with row 3, Lewis Herbertson and Alfie Mayer, Josh Cook, Chloe McGill on row 4, and row 5, Archie Rogers, Tyler and Elijah West. Let's see if we can get things underway. Again, this is their 3rd attempt as they come out of the boot and then through Pitts Bend. It's
third time's a charm.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very eager youngsters here in Micromax on the Dunlop wet tyre at the moment because of these track conditions, and surely we will get the red light going out.
Was that a yes? Well, fair enough.
We've got a spinner there right in the middle of the pack.
Camera spinner.
The rest of the field making their way through.
1, 2 and 3 away. Big pack behind them. Let's see what happened there. Coming through Oblivion for the first time. And Crook.
Well, he just got really wide through Oblivion and got onto the curb on the outside on the entrance to Crook, and then the car just swapped ends. Easy to do in the circumstances. The rest of the field, though, no incident to report as the leader goes off. Can you see that number, Nick?
It's the 37 from the, I think it's Alfie Garrett, I think it's 37's in second. Sebastian Behrman's definitely in second.
Right, so that's Alfie Garrett in the 42,
and it's the 42, yes, the number looks a little bit 7 and 2-ish. And Behrman out the insides take the lead.
Side by side into the boot, side by side. They had to sort it out before the right-hander of the boot, but they're coming back again and through Bits Bend side by side, and this time Behrman makes it, and there's the switchback. There's the switchback, and the 42, Alfie Garrett, will lead across the line for the first lap. And you know what, Nick? Looking at the way they started and finished that lap, you would think nothing happened, but we had 2 lead changes in 2 corners.
Yeah, it was all action, certainly through the boot there. So it's Alfie Garrett. Garrett, sorry, Garrett. Oh dear. Alfie Garrett from in the 42. That's the majority red car, and the blue and white. That's Sebastian Behrman. And then behind them, the mostly white-nosed machine of Logan Rolfe, who's got a bit of a watching brief as Behrman makes up the few yards he lost to Garrett coming out of Crook that last time round. But he's now looking again to do something through the boot. He would have learnt that the over and under didn't work as they turned into that left-hander before they did the big glorified loop around top of the boot.
So it's RCE from Ambition, from Synergy. It's the team battle there that we're seeing. So these drivers very much at the forefront of this class in the UK here at the Kart Championship for the first round at Whilton Mill. And it will be Alfie Garrett who's settled into that first place, hasn't he? Sebastian Behrman second. He's not done though, is he? He's coming back at him. Just trying to find grip there as the Synergy driver Logan Rolfe tries to hang on to them.
Yeah,
and if anything, he's
okay. I mean, I don't think he really.
Ebbs and flows,
yeah, I
he?
mean, I don't think he's got. I think his distance to Garrett in the lead is probably the same. His distance to Behrman is coming and going as to where Behrman is in relation to the leader himself. Behrman again in those through Christmas and perhaps through the first part of Ashby, he loses a little bit. Inkerman and Ashby lose a little bit of time, and he seems to gain it back again as they go round here, which of course is Parker, and then into Chapman, which is a more than 180 loop back on itself. And then you'll find he'll be just thinking about what to do as he goes now down the back straight and thinking what to do and come to the boot. But he's probably actually been gapped very slightly by Garrett in this particular lap.
There's an element of the tyres coming on still, even if you are in the wet. You know, the wet still will heat up somewhat, and because they're treaded, they're a different compound of rubber, and they will heat up. And it's clear as we complete 3 laps that the tyres for Alfie Garrett are not so much of a struggle as they were on that first and second lap. We've got a very wide line there as they come down the order. I think that's settled down.
That might have been a deliberate line, I think. Someone trying see what. Yeah, because the battle now is that battle. I think it could be 4th and 5th. It could be 5th and 6th.
4th and 5th.
So it's Benedictus Masakis and Alfie Mayer in the 2 yellow carts, but the first 2 are back together again, so we can't take our eyes off this over this lead battle.
I was going to say, Nick, it's hard to pull away from this because in these conditions anything can happen, and I would hate to lose sight of just what happens here. This is intriguing because both of these drivers literally searching for grip at every opportunity, whether they're pressing the brake or turning the steering wheel. When they turn in, trying to get the car to do what they want it to do is kind of coaxing it into the corner and coaxing the power on.
Yeah.
And this is a very tricky corner here. It might look easy just to throw a right-hander, but the karts are sliding all the time, and if you're too eager, then you can easily slide too wide, slide sideways.
Yeah, I think what it is, they're having in the dry, they kind of
exactly what we were seeing there. As Alfie Garrett got very wide, and on the exit curbing of Crook Corner, it was a huge puddle that's developed. He's wide on the curb, and as he tries to pull it back, it's like that. Now that it was aquaplaning in
water
extreme.
Is just like a solid brake.
Yeah.
He'll have surprised himself
He
there.
will have absolutely.
And he'll be quite damp.
He'll be very wet, and he'll be very. It was quite shocking that because the kart just snapped left. Now that has left Sebastian Behrman, who wasn't as wide as Alfie Garrett there. And you know what? That was Alfie Garrett taking the wider wet line and finding himself further to the left.
Unfortunately,
on
it was
that
so
exit
wet.
curbing.
It was a puddle. So yeah,
he ran out of curb basically. He ran out of curb, and that's where the puddle was.
If you've driven on the motorway and you get a little bit of aquaplaning, you can feel it dragging at the steering wheel.
That's right.
Even in a road car. Imagine what it's doing on a race kart. And I was just saying that, rather than demanding a steering input, which you would do during the dry, you have more of a conversation with the front end, don't you, to kind of work out between you what you're going to do.
Yeah, you sometimes have to be overly aggressive, as we're seeing the front runners there. Here's Sebastian Behrman, just with the way he turns into Christmas and there's massive amount of lock from Logan Rolfe. Yeah, the Synergy driver there, showing exactly what I was trying to explain there, with a massive armful of lock until you get that front end of grip. So first, second and third now, Alfie Mayer catching Logan Rolfe there. Those are the 2 karts in our picture there. The number 37 is Sebastian Behrman, then the number 32 of Logan Rolfe. That's the kart in the picture, the blue and yellow livery of Synergy. Alfie Mayer on the number 15 is chasing him down. And Alfie Mayer, who is a privateer, chasing down the Logan Rolfe.
Rolfe in camera now, with behind him Alfie Mayer, the 15, as you say. They've just this lap dropped Benedictus because Benedictus Masioka was only 3/10 back. He's now a lot further behind.
Alfie Garrett's recovered to 4th, by the way. Masiokas, who started on the pole, down to 5th, but he's right on the tail of Alfie Garrett, and I'm not sure whether that's Garrett who will just pull away slightly over the course of this next lap.
Masioka, I don't think he was particularly. Masiokas was particularly happy in the wet conditions. He's good enough to be in the top few, but that pole position was set in the dry. The qualifying in the very period of nice dry we had, wasn't it? Just after lunch.
Yeah.
And
then
it
kind of lulled us into a sense of security.
Yeah, all heck broke loose.
We're inside the final 60 seconds, I think, of this second and final heat of the day. 50 seconds on the clock. And we'll be looking for Sebastian Behrman again to follow him into the final stages of this second. We've got a spinner just coming into the boot, not quite sure, too far away. Behrman's on the blue and yellow kart, I think, just coming out of the final turn there. And there's Behrman there. He's the leader into the
37
penultimate lap, because we've got 30 seconds on the clock.
But they're mucking about with. Is it the second? Is that second kart? Second place isn't. I don't think it is. That not Logan Ralph. That's a back marker.
No, that's a back marker
behind him with the pure white bumper and the red nose cone. That's a 26, which is a back marker, but I can't see exactly who it is. It's Zach Andrew, who's there.
So there's the leader then, heading towards Parker through the left-hander. The Ambition driver will then be greeted by the welcome sight of the lit board showing 1 lap to go, show last lap, and he'll be glad to see it. He's had a relatively eventful race there, I think, when he was just behind Alfie Garrett, remember, when he went off into that puddle. He'll be avoiding that one. He learned from Alfie Garrett's mistake there of being too wide, and it'll be the last lap board that we will see shining brightly above the gantry.
Well, this, of course, is the last lap of the day for Behrman, and he'll be hoping, like the rest of us, this is the last he sees of wet weather for this weekend.
The last lap of the day for all of these Micromax runners, Nick.
That is true.
So in second place there, Logan Rolfe still got Alfie Mayer for company, but we'll just continue to pick up Behrman, the leader. That's the one there, 37. Looking over his shoulder, there's nobody there, Sebastian. You've got a gap of 2.5, almost 2.5 seconds last time, by 2.3 to be exact. So we'll just follow him to the flag with a very fine win. And you know what? All of these drivers deserve a big pat on the back all the way down the order. And we'll have a rundown of the order when we see Behrman across the line. So it'll be Sebastian Behrman into the final stages now. As he comes through the boot for the final time this afternoon. They'll reconvene tomorrow for the super heats. But checkered flag for the number 37 then. The Ambition team driver Sebastian Behrman takes the flag. It'll be Logan Rolfe for Synergy in second, Alfie Mayer third, Alfie Garrett a recovering fourth, Benedictus Masiokas in fifth, Lewis Herbertson will be coming across the line there now in sixth place. And then we've got a gaggle of Micromax carts there.
Well, you choose who's going to come where those five.
Herbertson finished sixth, Josh Cook seventh, Jensen Walker eighth, ninth is Buddy Hugo, Adam Galudi is 10th, Elijah West 11th, then we had Dean Singh Pahal, Logan Stanley Jones, Archie Rogers Tyler, Chloe McGill was 15th, and then behind Chloe McGill, Xavier Ramsey, Albie J. Stubbs, Matthew Lilly, Victor Poppercull, Toby Biggs was 20th. Toby starting from the very back of this 33 kart field and getting up to 20th, so that's a great drive after not being able to post a time in qualifying. It's Lewis Kirkcaldy in 21st, Jack Mellon 22nd, Ruben Segou, Ronnie Carter, Sebastian Crawford in 25th, Freddie Blackshaw just behind him in 26th. Then we've got Jamie Walsh, Jensen Darlow, Travis Giddings, Zach Andrew. Carter Jackson was the last of our runners as we lost Ethan Lloyd and Ronnie Faulkner on that first lap. Yeah,
the field spread in these wet races is obviously much greater than we're going to see tomorrow, hopefully, when it's dry. So there's backmarkery because people are getting, as you say, Joe, having a spin and having to get themselves back into position again. But certainly a lot of action, and I think it does, in many ways, and we're talking about 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, it separates the men and the women from the boys and the girls, these conditions. But I wonder if Alfie Garrett's got over the surprise yet. Can we see that one again? Was that our last replay? Let's see. Just press again and see. It might be. Let's see. Is it the waterworks? It is. So he's just gone away and just hit that. Oh, that must have been a shock.
You know what? He wasn't that far into the puddle as well, was he?
He's just put a whole of a front wheel in there, and it's just brake. It's like having a single brake on the front left, and that's it.
Yeah, there's the time board that you see there. You see the lights, the starting lights, and just to the left of that, you see that showing 8 minutes. It's 8 minutes and 1 lap, and the drivers see that, of course. As we've got our next race coming out,
the final Bambino of the day.
Petrol engine Bambinos coming out, the Coma C50s. This time groups B and C.
When's the next Mighty?
Not for a couple of heats. I've got Intermax.
Are we running behind time, by the way?
Probably.
It's currently 16:23.
Just 30 minutes or so.
Oh, well. With these weather, that's pretty good.
Yeah, very, very good. We're not that far behind schedule. Benjamin Shivart will start on the pole position with Ollie West alongside. Then we've got Lewis Wilson, Calman Simon, Logan Hodgetts, Nico Veselovsky, John Stevens, Ernie Wade, Arthur Bowers, Freddie Purnell, Jess Bailey, Nauman Faizan, Wraith, Owen Santo Amico, Henry Hills, Max Saint-Hilaire, Kristen Dorsey and Brady Atkin round off what is an 18-kart Bambino field.
I was about to say they were going a bit fast, but of course they haven't got to grid up because they're going to be gridded on the start line.
Yep, standing start for these
section of
Bambinos.
expectant parents waiting for their youngsters to arrive on the Whilton Mill grid. Probably they've sat there literally drumming in instructions and just hoping that in some way it works. Because, you know, I'm sure that most of you watching who aren't kids have had kids, and you know, trying to convince a 6-year-old to do something, it's a bit kind of could be, who knows, might go either way. I mean, obviously, I'm sure they take their racing very seriously as kids, but also they're kids. And they should be having fun.
Yes, there is, but it still blow my mind every time I see a Bambino grid going out on track and racing, because the racecraft that we see from these youngsters, they've got this kind of instinctive, inherent feel for momentum and speed. And, you know, even the ones that are just starting, they quickly get up to speed, and before you know it, they understand a racing line. You know, it was Nicky Lauda who said, you don't need a textbook to tell you which way to go around a track. You should feel how to go around a track the quickest. Right. And certainly
that's why I'm not Nicky Lauda.
Yeah, that's why I'm not Nicky Lauda. Here we go then. We get things underway.
Not a great start for the 22 there.
No, the 18 slow to start as well. That is who's
that? That's Christian Dosh in the 22, Max and Hilaire in the 18. Benjamin Silva was how do you put this on? Let's get that correct. Benjamin Shiva was away across the line first, and we get Benjamin and Ollie, who we've spoken about a bit before in previous heats. They're first and second. Ollie West in second and 20. And third place was Calman Simon when they went across the line. I'm not sure that's the 12, but we'll get a bit closer and get a chance. No, it's not. Simon's now in fourth place.
Shivar it is who leads through Ashby for the first time, using all of that curb and a little bit more, in fact, if he could. Actually, but he used it all.
Do we know if our fifth person, Logan Hodgetts, is any relation
to what?
Stefan Hodgetts and the Hodgetts family?
Don't know. Actually, that's a good shout. I don't know. Chris Hodgetts being grandfather then, and Stefan Hodgetts, who was very, very quick and clear.
Oh, Chris Hodgetts was quite impressive.
Chris Hodgetts was very quick as well.
BTCC Championship
BTCC.
When it was multi-class.
Challenge for the lead though, as Ollie West comes through the inside of Shivar going into the boot, and that was an absolute. I talked about throwing the textbook away. Well, that was a textbook move if ever I saw one. Got the momentum on the back straight, and we've got the first lap completed first by Ollie West. Shivar will not be happy with that. I first came across Benjamin Shivar about last month at the Wardenlaw Spring Series, where he took 2 days, 2 victories in all the heats and all the finals. And here we go, side by side. Ooh. It's a sprint race up towards Christmas. Christmas comes early for Shivar as he gets that lead back and turns into the corner almost side by side, again using the momentum and keeping the speed up, using that exit curb through Inkerman's Nick.
Coming after them in 12th place, it's Ayrton Senna or Calman Simons. He's got a full Senna rep, including, I think, the Marlborough sponsorship on the front of it.
I love it.
Hopefully I've written something apart from Marlborough. It's not the greatest thing to have in a Bambino class.
On May the 1st, it'll be 30 years since we lost the late, great Ayrton Senna. Now, Calman Simon.
He's doing well, though. It's wet conditions. He's doing a full 1985 Estoril, isn't he?
I suspect the helmet design was chosen by Dad.
Do you think so?
Being introduced to the late grade. 3 wide on the back straight towards the boot. Shivar on the right-hand side. Down the inside has gone Ollie West, and he will take the lead back. But coming through is Calman Simon. And who's that in fourth, Nick?
I think I'm funny. It sounds like a kind of a JPS livery type concept.
We are really revisiting 19.
He's got a little bit of a JPS kind of black and gold edging to it. He's just obviously covering a large number of tobacco firms as well. Right, fourth place, it's Logan Hodgetts.
Yeah, so Ollie West, Shivar, Simon, Hodgetts. That's your first 4. These 4 carters now pulling away from John Stevens in 5th. Who's having a bit of a lonely race there, just out of picture. But it's definitely Ollie West who leads by perhaps the biggest margin we've seen. Fastest cart on the track there for lap 2 was indeed Logan Hodgetts. Cart number 74 in 4th place. Purple time of 1:19.9. First driver to dip inside the 19s.
Yeah, I mean, but as soon as they start scrapping with each other, they start slowing each other down. Hodgetts, of course, having the watching brief in 4th place, was able to gain the top 3. They had a more sensible lap this time. West pulled out a bit of a lead. Benjamin's now closed that back down again to a cadet cart length at most. Calman Simon's dropped a little bit off him. There are a couple of cadet cart lengths, but in fact, interesting, Hodgetts, the fastest person last time, has definitely been dropped by these 3 this time. However, in 2 corners' time, it could be completely different.
Absolutely, and if Shivar's not careful, he's going to lose out to Simon, who had a look down the inside, didn't he? But for some reason, they all slot back into position through the boot. To the left, and now the right-hander.
Simon looking. No, he didn't.
No. Looks like he is.
He positions himself, and then he doesn't. I think he's got the position, but perhaps not the pace in the kart at that moment to do that.
He has a look at the gap, and is that the gesticulation from Ollie West of saying, let's get on with it and pull away? And Shivar says, yeah, but I want to lead. Out of Crook now, onto the straight that leads to Christmas. There's absolutely nothing in these Coma C50s. They are very, very equally matched, and we've got 3, let's call that 4, very equally matched drivers as well. And considering these conditions, Nick, very tricky indeed, very easy. We saw what happened in the previous Micromax heat, and there we are, Simon coming down the inside of Shivar. Again, slotting back in.
I think Simon's just at the moment lacking that.
Mistake,
big mistake by Ollie West. Just went out wide, lost all drive, and has gone from first to third. So it's now Sivar from Simon.
He found where that curb is retaining the water. Yep, the Ayrton Senna replica helmet takes the lead, and Shivar comes back at him, and then slotting into third is Ollie West, the early leader, who finds himself in third place. Coming up in fourth is Logan Hodgetts, though. He's going to latch on because these 3 who are squabbling over this lead overall are going to slow themselves down. That's going to allow Logan Hodgetts to get a bit of cake in this party. And if they're not careful, Hodgetts is going to reap the benefits. But we've got a new leader who slides very wide in the number 12 in Ayrton Senna style, actually, through there. It was a bit of opposite lock. Beautiful. 4 laps completed.
Yeah, these 4 now. I think what happened is interesting. Kalman Simon got in the lead very effectively, but then he began to get a bit flamboyant, to be honest, enjoying being in the lead. And he's lost that kind of momentum. And now suddenly the 3 of them are back together with him, and looking up the inside goes Shivar, but nope.
Oh, they're side by side coming through the left-hand kink, and then it's into the very fast Inkermans. And trying to sort of squeeze one another, aren't they? These 6-year-olds are trying to intimidate one another on track.
They
incredible.
Are.
Now, this is where you can get, if you get too wide, it's really wet on the outside of that Ashby curb because it's full of mud. Down the inside at Parker. That's a change for second as Ollie West goes down the inside of Shivar.
He's got both of them. He's going to go from third to first in 2 corners. Not quite.
He hasn't got the momentum coming out the corner. He didn't have the traction, did he? So a change for second. We've still got Kalman Simon in the lead.
They've thrown Hodgetts back into the fray again. He was very, very close to Ollie West as West himself. Constantine is back up a little bit to the backman of Shivar, but Shivar goes a bit too wide, loses some drive, and that's going to give it a little...
Shivar. That's not Shivar, that's
West. So West doing a little bit of drive and goes in the second. God, it's changing every 2 seconds. And it's actually a lead of 6 metres there for Kalman Simon.
And if that second place Ollie West isn't careful, Shivar, if he can come through here nice and clean and carry momentum, he is indeed the bright green kart and bright green helmet with the blue and green kart of Ollie West under threat from Benjamin Shivar. Shivar chooses the discretion being a better part of that.
West dived into the lead through Christmas there, and it looks like someone could lose both places. Nope, Shivar has a third. That was a superb move for the lead there. Sam. He just carried a bit of extra speed, really, and just let's see if I've got grip. I have got grip. Look at me, I'm in the lead.
Here we go. There, just the last of the lead break. But it was a late entry there for the number 12. Kalman Simon choosing the outside line, and that
perhaps
left him
vulnerable. The ultra-wet line is no longer the best line.
It's coming back,
pulling away is West now.
It's that point in a drying track where we see the track transition and that ideal wet line. And I think we've had a spinner there, Nick, and that might even be the leader. Ollie West, I think.
Salmon's down second.
No, that's Ollie West.
Salmon's gone to second.
Simon, there's Shivar.
Simon's still in second, sorry.
I saw Kart spinning and then...
one of them's gone, Hodgetts is gone. I think Hodgetts has gone, hasn't he?
We've lost Hodgetts, yeah. Across the line then. It's the number 20.
Yes, it was.
Ollie West.
So Hodgetts has definitely had a problem because he's no longer 1.5 seconds behind. These top 3 are in a different order. It's West from Simon from Shivar, but Hodgetts nowhere.
Yeah,
8 seconds. He lost 8 seconds. They didn't lose a position, but lost about 7 seconds.
So I believe we're on to the final lap here, guys. In the excitement, we lost sight of the last lap board. There's that wide line through Christmas Corner from Kalman Simon again. That's doing him no favours, and Ollie West, if anything, has eked out a bit of a cushion. Shivar's coming back at him for third. Started on the front row. He'll not like finishing third, and down the inside at Ashby. Who's it going to be? It's a race towards Parker, and this side-by-side Shivar has to slot in behind Ollie West in second now, and down the inside, no, not quite able to do it at Parker's. They're going towards Chapman now, the left-hander, and again a variation of opinion on line through Chapman's, but it comes out in favour of Ollie West. And, sorry, the number 12, Simon, is the driver I'm talking about, the Ayrton Senna rep. Helmet there being used in great style, but the leader there, the orange number plate and the bright green helmet of Ollie West, is the driver that's going to see the checkered flag first. He looks over his shoulder, there's nobody there. No. Ollie, you've driven a cracking final lap, punching the air for Calman Simon. He's happy with second, Benjamin Shivar third, and then the rest of the field coming through. Logan Hodgetts, who dropped off the back after that slight mistake, finished at fourth, and then John Stevens, Brady Atkin, Henry Hales, Nico Wesolowski, Lewis Wilson, Jess Bailey just crossing the line now to round off the top 10, and the rest of the field coming through. That's Santo Amico, Freddie Purnell, Arthur Bowers, Raith Owen finishing there. Ernie Wade will be next in 15th. Max Saint-Hilaire will finish in 16th. And then it'll be Nauman Faizan and Christian Doshi rounding off the 18-cart field. That concludes the heats then for our...
The wind's picked up, that's for sure. Can you see the flags blowing?
Oh, yeah, it really has. Yeah, hopefully it'll blow that rain away.
What rain?
the rain that we forecast. It'll be Intermax next for everybody after the last of our Coma C 50 heats. So Intermax, just getting their qualifying up. Josh Cormack was the fastest driver in time qualifying, so the grid will be exactly as we saw in the first heat. Josh Cormack and Max Gilman on the front row, Adam Turacek and Jensen Sale on row 3 and 4. Thomas Jackson, James Fabricus, JJ Plowman and Fraser Anderson 7th and 8th, and then 9th and 10th Harvey Bacon, Sebastian Clark, Bailey Wolf and Oscar Roach 11th and 12th, Jensen White, Larry Price. Then we had Sandro Kemp and Nathan Edwards, Drew Davidson, George Ralston, Grayson Wortley and Jack Moss. Remember Jack, who had problems in qualifying, started 20th last and 20th, and then made his way through to finish, I think, if my memory serves us rightly, 9th. I'm just going to see if I can get the result of Heat 1 up, and then we'll remind ourselves of just what happened in the Intermax first heat. It was...
I think this is why there's been a... it's just taking a lot longer because laps are slower to end all the races. All the races end up being about a minute longer, don't they? Because it's just so much longer with the big field spreads and the wet weather. That's the reason we're a few minutes behind. They can't get too far behind because it gets dark.
Well, yes, it does, and we've got no floodlights here.
There are floodlights, but they're not up to racing standards. They're good enough for a bit.
Oh, yeah, of course. We raced under the lights, didn't we?
They weren't great.
They weren't. Well, we're blind as well in the dark.
Deaf.
Yeah, exactly. We've got our grid of Inters out. They'll be on wet tyres. There's a tyre choice here in Intermax. They're on the Mojo tyre, so the Mojo wet again. It's the drivers aged 10 to 13. It's the 950 chassis with the Rotax FR125 engine. Slightly more restricted than Junior Max, slightly less restricted than Micromax, but fundamentally the same kart, same tyre width as we see in Micromax, just a different tyre manufacturer for our Intermax field. Josh Cormack and Max Gilman leading the field round, Adam Turacek and Jensen Sale on that second row. Hopefully we'll get the grid filed up in order and quickly move on and get this heat in the bag. We're forming the grid nicely for our super heats coming tomorrow. 10 o'clock our coverage starts in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where the action's at. It's at Whilton Mill for round 1 of the Kart Championship. And here we go with Intermax for their second heat.
Ooh.
There's still a lot of water on the track.
They've asked for another one.
Well, I think they didn't ask, they got, because that didn't look very good at all. And I think what our starter will not have liked was the actual pace across the line. It was too fast.
Yeah, there's an issue really. The people on the front row are going as soon as they take that right-hand turn at Pitts Bend, when they should actually wait a little bit. Because
they do that, by the middle of the grid, you're going through Pitts Bend flat out if you're at the middle to the back of the grid. And that calls for, and that's too fast. into oblivion in a pack, in a kind of pack race.
There needs to be a little bit of these are racers, they're not going to listen to anything, but there needs to be a little bit of a
they're 10 to 13 years old, so they wouldn't listen at the best of times.
That is true. They do know best.
They actually do, to be honest.
They probably do.
Yeah, they probably do. We've ruined it, haven't we?
What can you do?
So coming round then, Josh Cormack and Max Gilman, they are the drivers at the front of the field who we rely upon for them to bring things into some semblance of order. Josh Cormack on the front row for KR Sport. Max Gilman, who is entered as a privateer, as is Adam Turicek. And then we've got Jensen Seal, who's with Ambition. Bradley Shepherd Racing with James Fabricus as their driver on that third row, which you can just see. But the number 169 of Max Gilman on the right, it's the Josh Cormack pole position on the left. And
no, it's round again.
No, we're round again. I think that was just too fast for the likes. And
what I've noticed is that when we've had these multiple full starts, they've not shortened the races, which does happen in other championships. You get a couple of full starts, they'll shorten the race by a minute.
Well, what time is it, by the way?
It's
20 to 5.
20 to 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more heats.
We're about 20 minutes late at the moment, so
yes.
And you don't want to get past 6 really. But
well, it starts getting dark towards 5:30 really. You know, the sun beginning to drop past the horizon.
So I hope that no one's been overly cute with the fueling of these carts, because they're going to run out. Here they go. They're going to try and do something. Gilman.
Well, try and start, hopefully.
Well, you would hope so, wouldn't you? Gilman is now looking very much at Cormack and saying, "Come on, let's get this thing in a line." Interesting that Gilman, I think, Cormack in the 121's on a clear visor, whereas Gilman's gone for the full dark visor. It's kind of a mixture. Normally when it rains, most drivers go for a clear or a lightly yellowed visor, but obviously there's a combination when the sun does come out towards the back end of a rainy day like this. And they're thinking about it now, and they're still thinking about it. This looks better. And yes, but I think probably because at the end of the day, it was a bit bored not letting this race go off.
We were running out of time, I think.
Yeah, I think they're going, right, that's near enough.
Yeah, it looks like Max Gilman's on a Thule Motorsport card, whether I think he must be with Thule Motorsport if he's running their livery. That's the Intermax all the way up to Christmas Corner with very little or no incident to report. There was a little bit of inadvertent, unavoidable kind of contact
Cormac
down the inside.
It's Cormac now in the lead in the duck egg blue and, light blue and red cart. Behind him is our pole man.
That's Adam Turicek in the lead, Nick. 122.
Turicek's come through. So it's Turicek from Cormac. Cormac's now in second, sorry. And then there's got the 140.
Jensen Seal up into second.
Where's he come from?
The Ambition driver there, right on it in this first lap and looking very racing indeed, all over the rear end of Turicek as they go into the boot for the first time. Out of the boot now, it's accelerating, not quite flat out through this one though. It usually is in the dry, but not this time. As they cross the line then to complete lap number 1, it's Turicek, Jensen Seal, Josh Cormack, Thomas Jackson up to 4th, Harvey Bacon 5th, Gilman, Plowman, Fabricus 9th is Jensen White, and Fraser Anderson rounds off the top 10.
191 there facing the wrong way. James Fabricus was actually driving the wrong way slightly at that point. He he's lost it on the curb going in. Manages to
that's unlucky.
That's probably damaged that pink and black cart.
That's unlucky.
Because that was a big thump onto the front left wheel, and that's not necessarily. There's got several things in there which you get knocked out of alignment. Hopefully he'll be able to complete the race and then fix it overnight.
Adam Turicek leading then. And he's pulled out a little bit of a gap from Jensen Seal, who looked like he was challenging, but Seal has dropped off the rear bumper. And again, we've got a little bit of tyre temperature coming into play as the driver in third there, number 121, Josh Cormack. He's wanting to get on terms with those two carts ahead of him for first and second. It'll be 2 laps completed then.
The sun shines brightly now.
Oh, it's just taunting us. Absolutely taunting us.
There's a big battle behind for 4th, 5th and 6th. There are two and a half abreast going across the start finish line. 2 of them go wide, 1 goes tight. And the 4 who have no idea who's where.
No, variation on a theme there, wasn't it?
So fourth place, it is the I think Gilman's now come up to fourth place in the 169. That's Matt Gilman, so he go back up to fourth from after a poor start. And then you've got the 116, which is Thomas Jackson, just dropped down a couple. So it's all scuffling about still as they get used to this constantly evolving grip situation.
Still a lot of water on the track, though, Nick. You can see that. I mean, look at the spray coming up from the tyres there, just glinting in the taunt of the sunshine there. Beautiful lighting here. We're not creating art, though. I think our
best cinematography race is getting a good chance of getting that one. Is that's the battle for...
Yeah, that's Thomas Jackson
third and fourth, isn't it?
Hassled by Harvey Bacon.
Yeah, fourth and fifth, but they are just losing Cormac ahead of them in the 121. So it's still Turacek from Sile, from Cormac. Cormac's just disappearing in the distance now to the left-hand side of your screen. The two white helmets are Jackson and Bacon.
Well, Gilman's gone ahead of Jackson as well. So Max Gilman now up to fourth. And the question is whether he can chase down Josh Cormac in third. Oh, side by side nearly then.
A little bit of a snuffle across the nose. And then a complete lack of drive from the 116. He came out the corner there.
Yeah. Did not have any traction whatsoever.
That was Thomas Jackson. Yeah, he kind of cut across, put the power down, and it's almost like he lost grip. And then as he kept the power down, the grip didn't come back.
Yeah,
so he kind of end up with the spin. He didn't get the thing. It just didn't hook up again.
I think once he started spinning the wheels, he was just standing still, wasn't he?
Yeah, you need to come off. You need to come off the throttle and back on it again.
Yeah.
But obviously that's.
But when you do that, the cart beside you was already pulled past you. That's the fractions of a second that we're playing with here.
Harvey Bacon on camera now.
So Turacek across the line leading. The gap to second is 1.9 seconds to Jensen Seal. 0.6 to Josh Cormac. Then we've got Max Gilman just under 2 seconds in fourth. Another 1.2 seconds to Harvey Bacon, who has got Thomas Jackson and JJ Plowman now coming into play there. Fraser Anderson in eighth. He's not that far behind all of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers there. Harvey Bacon, Jackson, Plowman and Anderson beginning to come together from fifth place down to ninth. Well, that's eighth, I should say.
Yeah, all going relatively quietly now after that kind of action-packed start. They've all given themselves a little bit of breathing room. This is the closest battle on the track at the moment, which is the second and third, Sile and the 140. And 140 and the 121 of Josh Gilman. The
question is, of course, the track's transitioning, definitely. We are dissipating the water. However, I'm sorry to tell everybody out there in TV land that have got more black clouds appearing in the sky.
Oh, don't.
So I'm sorry, but that sunshine is giving a false illusion there. And
it's kind of coming from there as well.
Yeah, the track's going to dry today. That is absolutely for sure. Here we go then, side by side towards Christmas. Into Christmas corner, we've got a change for position.
Yep, 121.
The
it's gone past the 140. So second place there for
Sile, position there
for Cormac over Sile.
Now Cormac was the quickest in qualifying, so we know how quick the KR Sport driver can be. And it's a bit of a recovery driver, isn't it? It's a bit of a recovery drive for Cormac. He's settled in, the cart's come in, the track is drying all the time. It hasn't started raining again, however it's about to, just when. And we see him pulling away Cormac from Jensen Seal. And by the time they get to the boot, he's pulled out at least, 2 or 3 cart lengths, if not more. Can Seal come back at him? Because Seal, if he's not careful, Max Gilman is going to be joining in with that little party.
It's a very, very good lap for
169
Josh Cormac. So pace-wise, though, he still wasn't as quick. It was his quickest lap, but was he as fast as the leader? Was he still took a couple of tenths off the leader? So Turacek still's got the pace, but at least released now. You kind of feel that Cormac isn't going to be bothered by Sale again, although it's big words in this weather, which is constantly changing. Huge amount of wind, which doesn't. Obviously, there's no air on a kart really, so it's not going to affect them that way. But it's enough to affect the driver because they just get the way it feels in the body. It is blowing right. It's blowing right down the right behind them as they go over the start-finish straight, and right in front of them as they go down the back straight. So there's a blowing. It is blowing not gale, but it's certainly 20 or 30 miles an hour, which will give them that headwind. Will give them a feeling they're not going as fast as they thought they should do, and they'll be pushed into the first corner in oblivion, which is the last place when he pushed into.
We are inside the final minute, so 2 more laps to go after this one. We've got Adam Turacek through now. He's completed 7 laps. The 121 is the second place kart, 3.5 seconds behind. The sun breaking through the very dark clouds is creating some strange lighting here. We're creating beautiful art, but we can't tell you the numbers on the carts because of it.
We're all about the art, Joe. It's all about the art.
I mean, look at that there. The 121 there of Josh Cormack started on the pole. In second place, all the curb there, giving us a bit of an idea.
Do you not feel that these shots should... They're such lovely shots in the summer. They should start going out of focus, and then the Grand Prix music should come in, and they go.
Yeah,
they are Frankenheimer-esque. I think that we should have that kind of theme going underneath.
Yeah, well, it's a shame we're not making a movie. Shame we're televising a sporting event, isn't it? Yeah,
so it's always a shame we're not making a movie.
Yeah, I'm not sure, that we've got enough time for Josh Cormack, who's really coming into this now. You can see the confidence he has on the brakes. He's just flicking the kart sideways, scrubbing off the speed, keeping the heat into those treaded wet tyres as well by doing so.
Look behind him. He's look behind him, but there's no one there. He's got a lead of a couple of seconds. He is still 3.5, just over behind Adam Turacek, who's really looked good in these damp conditions. So that's now on the last lap, and that's our second place man. Can we drift forward by any chance to our leader? The 122 is 4 seconds further ahead. There he is, bright blue bumper, coming into the corner at Parker. Thank you very much. I'll get my Parker and my Chapman's all run. There goes Chapman, and he's just a little bit slidey there.
Yeah, it's still. I mean,
I'd like to point out, despite looking completely different than the two cameras, they are the same car. It's just the sun.
He's got a lot of confidence, Adam Turacek. It's going to be very difficult to beat in any conditions this weekend. He's really got on top of that Intermax kart. He knows where the grip is. He knows Whilton Mill. He'll acknowledge the checkered flag. He takes the heat win. He's going to be up the grid for the super heats tomorrow morning. Josh Cormack is going to follow him up the order to start tomorrow's super heats as well. There's a great battle behind them as Jensen Sale finishes third, Max Gilman fourth, Harvey Bacon fifth, Thomas Jackson sixth, Fraser Anderson finished 7th. JJ Plowman, Sebastian Clark, Larry Price, the novice, rounds off the top 10 from James Fabricus. Jensen White, Oscar Roach, Grayson Wortley, Nathan Edwards, Drew Davidson, Jack Moss didn't move up the order as great as he did in the first heat. He finishes 17th. George Ralston in 18th, and Sandro Kemp finished a lap down in 19th place.
Another very, very interesting lap of races. They battle the consistently changing ambient temperature, wind and weather. And of course, we said normally when you set a grid by qualifying, you think, well, that's not going to lead to an awful lot, but we set the qualifying in the dry, and now everyone's in the wet.
Well, yeah.
So suddenly it's not quite as A to B to C to D as it was at the beginning, and there's a lot more variables in there.
Qualify in the dry and then add water. And
are we adding more water? What's the?
I think that black cloud that I was.
The main black cloud has blown over, thankfully.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
The first one that's blown over and hasn't dumped its hail on us. I say us, it's actually Ash and Frank, to be honest, because we're sitting inside quite a dry area.
Don't rub it in.
Well, I don't want to fib. I don't want to kind of make out that we're having the world's. It's all gone terribly wrong.
Pole position then for our next heat, second and final heat for Junior Rotax. It's the reigning champion, the reigning Junior Rotax champion in the Kart Championship, Kasper Tomilewski, will start on pole from Addison Smith alongside. Oliver Fabricus and Bren Horner are on row 2. Marcel Poppercull and Ewan House, I should say, are on row 3. And then we've got Harry Hurst-Grover and Callum Gosh on row 4. Row 5 is Charlie Very and Andrew Dixon.
Just see this small child running across the muddy area. So there's obviously been a cart that was abandoned on the way up towards Christmas. So that's going to take a while to recover.
Just want to get his race boots full of mud. Stay off there, my son. So where was I, Nick?
I don't know, because I just interrupted you because I saw a squirrel.
You just totally interrupted
me. It was
a
squirrel. Whoa, squirrel!
You saw something on the track that bear no relevance whatsoever to the grid of Junior Rotax that I'm reading down.
Yeah, but I wanted to talk about the fact that there's a delay because someone's rescuing this car. Oh, dear, that's hard.
No, you didn't. You saw
that's
something and you
very
spoke
hard
about
to... Look, it's Sir Graham Goodwin well.
What?
It's Sir Graham Goodwin well for a number of years.
We are bringing mud onto the track there in the braking area.
With their tiger feet.
It'll be lonely this Christmas.
It will. And that's the end of my mud songs. They had several other hits, but I can't think what they are at the moment.
And considering this is the Kart Championship, where the average age is 11 or 12, they will have no idea what we're talking about.
I'm sorry, you mean they don't get taught early 70s glam rock at school anymore?
The parents are in their 30s.
The parents won't know either.
Yes, the parents
are. The worrying
got clue.
thing is we're making references that the parents of the racers don't get.
There's only you and I who know what the.
I think Paul does. Paul does.
Well, Paul does well.
Frank doesn't
because he's American.
He's American.
Yes.
So we've amused the three people we know.
It'll be lonely at Christmas.
It will be.
Yes.
Yes. Tiger Feet.
Where
was the other one?
Where was
Tiger Feet. They played that Christmas. What was the third one they did?
Yeah.
Oh, what else did they do?
I don't care. Can I read this grid down?
We've got some time.
Well, you Google mud hits. We brought mud on at Christmas, and they're going to sing It'll Be Lonely at Christmas. So row 5 was Charlie Very and Andrew Dixon. Braith Murdoch and Jack Robinson were row 6. Row 7 was James Kell and Gregor Reid. Logan Howes and Aidan McDonald are on row 8. And row 9 is Aston Brown and Conor Dolan. Right, if you interrupt this grid again, I'm going to throw you off that chair. Row 10 is Riley Morgan
Very
and Max
aggressive.
Forlaw. Elliot Foster and Lewis Sumner are on row 11. And then we've got Joshua Jarvis, Sam Green Gomez, Lewis Holt, John J. Buggan, Molly Pugh, Calvin Moffat and Leon Barber, Matt Scott on row 15. And then we've got Bella Brown, Archie Doherty, Luke Sawyers and Emily Cooper rounds off the 34 kart field. We've actually only got 32 karts out. Emily Cooper, though, who didn't post a qualifying time, is out and rounding off the 32 kart field. That's come out for this second heat. Where are they then?
Well, no, because you're so snappy. I wasn't. Well, there's one here which would be interesting because it's called the Cat Crept In, but I heard the groundsman's very particular about that not happening at the track here. The Cat Crept In.
Cat Crept In.
Oh Boy, which is obviously a cover
of
Moonshine Sally, Dynamite. But yeah, there's a lot of mud hits, and we literally gone down a rabbit hole which no one else is interested in. So let's get ready for this Junior Rotax Heat 2. Oh, that was some very aggressive lefty, righty, spinny. Let's try and warm the tyres up. We got quite close to losing it, but kind of the 220 there of Kasper Tomaszewski.
Here we go, though, Nick. We're about to start. Tomaszewski, our reigning champion, then Addison Smith alongside into oblivion. Have we got a start? It looks like we have. If we haven't, that's a very aggressive
first couple of corners, yeah.
But I think we're racing on up towards Christmas Corner then. And into the braking area. You see the kart slewing sideways, scrubbing off speed. Bizarrely, everybody through without any incident. I'm sure they've got a different opinion in the middle of that pack. Just look how slippery it is, Nick. Sideways, out of Inkerman's, and then down towards Ashby.
Most of the visible spray's gone though, Joe, so it's now we're now officially into a drying track. It won't dry by the time we finish this afternoon. It's a drying track. They raise a bit of water, a position gain there by Harry Hurst Grover going up the inside of Chapman, and they come down the back straight and into the boot, and it's a relatively comfortable lead already for Kasper Tomaszewski. I'm assuming it's Addison Smith behind. It is in the 215, the yellow and blue, and then you've got the big gainer in this first lap. It's Harry Hurst Grover, been up 4 places.
Great first lap then for the reigning champion, who gets off into the lead, and he's not exactly challenged by Addison Smith. But there's Harry Hurst Grover, who we saw come through in Heat 1, hasn't he?
It's came back together
we saw
a bit,
him do
actually.
that, yeah.
I think that Addison Smith's tyres, I think Kasper made a little bit of an error, or Addison's tyres are coming on. But the big gainer was Harry Hurst Grover, because he gained about 6 places. He just gained there from basically what happened there was Addison Smith tripped over the back of Kasper, and then suddenly Harry Hurst Grover said, no, do you know what, I'll have that space.
They're still suffering from cold, wet tyres here, Nick. Getting heated, and then when lifting that rear axle is brilliant. But that was still scrabbling around for grip there as Addison Smith has lost out to the number 2, Harry Hurst Grover. So we've got the championship of 2023 being sort of copied and pasted onto 2024 already.
Oh, he's trying it again.
As we've got, yes, he does like that one. As we've got the reigning champion Tomaszewski, and then the reigning vice champion in Harry Hurst Grover leading this heat number 2 for Junior Rotax.
Yeah. Interestingly, there it's the top 2 have dropped Addison Smith a little bit during those 2 corners, but Addison very, very good under the brakes. I know there's a foreshortening during the braking period, but he does seem really good at the brakes. I think actually what's happening is that Kasper's being a little bit circumspect, because he's, of course, the first person to discover the corner each lap, and the other two are basing their braking on effectively on what Casper's doing, and therefore both Harry Hurstgrover and Addison Smith can gain a metre or so just by braking a little bit after the leader.
Well, they will concertina, won't they, in the braking zone, and if anything, he's still fighting it, isn't he? Tomilewski is still fighting that car, from fighting for grip. He's finding the grip, though, because it's lifting that back wheel. So the outside tyre, the outside rear tyre, is finding the grip, and he's able to release that axle, and that releases the engine power and frees everything up. Different opinion of line through Pitts Bend, but then they all come back together at the line.
Yeah, it's interesting because Tomilewski does seem to get some really good drive sometimes, and sometimes he's struggling to get out of corners. Other times he gets really good drive, which is a strange situation. It's almost like, if it's damp, he's in trouble. If it's wet, he's fine, or vice versa. But he's this time looking quicker out of Christmas and down through Inkermans than he was last time. He's actually managed to gap Harry Hurstgrover in the white-fronted kart, but then they'll come back together again. But it's a good lap, this one, for Casper.
Yeah, he's kind of found something, hasn't he? And I think that what he's found is he's got his tyres that have come on to where he expected them to be, and now we see the temperature coming up, the pressure's coming up, and we see Tomilewski continuing in the vein that he finished 2023 off, and he started 2024 with a heat win in heat number 1. He's leading heat number 2. We're just coming up to half distance now, and things beginning to settle down, aren't they? Tomilewski, Hurstgrover, Addison Smith in that third place. 2.5 seconds behind them in fourth is Fabricus, and then we've got Logan Howes, Andrew Dixon, Ben Horner, Marcel Poppicle, Gregor Reed and James Kell rounding off the top 10.
Ben Horner has a 5-second penalty, came from the DigiFlag. So all the penalties on DigiFlag are 5 seconds added at the end of the race, which currently would drop him from 7th to 14th. But that, if it stays dry, he'll probably not drop that far, but he's got a 5-second penalty to be added at the end. That's Ben Horner, the 2.72.
So try and bear that in mind, as we've got a challenge for second that's beginning to develop, isn't it? We were going to pull away from that and have a look down the field. However, Addison Smith has now got a kart underneath him that he's kind of prefers than he did for the first 3 laps. And Harry Hurstgrover. And if anything, Nick, these two are coming back towards the leader.
No, it's half a second at the line last time. My guess is it's going to be very similar to these, but the problem is they're fast at different parts of the track. And Harry Hurstgrover was very quick in the start of the race, which makes you, and suddenly if you look now, you think, oh, Addison Smith's nowhere. He's fallen right off the back of them. But I guarantee, by the time we get to the lap, he's right with him. Again, Harry Hurstgrover gains time on Casper Tomilewski going into the braking part of Christmas. And as these guys battle away...
I'm not sure how we can.
We can't.
You know what I mean? I'd love to have a look at this
There's a massive battle between 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. But unfortunately, the top 3 are effectively scrapping for the big points. And that's the ones that, at the end of the day, they're the ones the journalists write about. They're the points that matter. They're the ones that win the heats and getting to the front of the superheats.
I actually think that Tomilewski has got this under control. So dare we have a look for Logan
Ash,
Howes
when they get onto the main straight, just let them through, and then we'll wait a few seconds for this massive battle for 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. So not that one. There's another big battle coming up. It's going to be a battle royale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we are. It's a 5-kart battle, which is currently being led by Logan Howes in the 2.55. Then Ben Horner, who's got a penalty, remember. Gregor Reed, Marcel Poppicle, James Kell, and I think it's also Braith Murdoch just in the back there.
Yeah, and defensive driving at this early stage. I say this early stage, there's just about 90 seconds side by side towards Inkermans. Who's it going to be? I think it's Gregor Reed overtaking Ben Horner. And they're still side by side. They come together at Ashby. And it's the 2.72 of Ben Horner there who almost lost out. They sort themselves. I say they sort themselves out. They kind of do. And they're still not settled, are they? Side by side through Chapman's. They come through the King. And he was forced onto the exit curb. Yeah, he was. And there was no grip whatsoever there. So very, very forceful driving. These two on Lando Norris karts as they come out of the boot. I think they've allowed Logan Howes to break away. They're still side by side. Yeah, 2.11, that's Gregor Reed. Marcel Poppicle on the 2.34, but 2.72 Ben Horner and the 2.11 Gregor Reed. These are the two on the blue and yellow karts We've now got Logan Howes.
Up the inside. Oh, pulled out of it. Thought about it, the 2-3-4.
That's Marcel Poppelkuhl.
But don't forget, Ben Horner is sitting on a 5-second penalty.
Poppelkuhl won't know that. He won't have noticed that. So he thinks he's battling for position when really he can sit on the bumper.
Emily Cooper's also picked up a 5-second penalty, but she's a lot further back in the pack in 20th.
So Poppelkuhl there, who is on that red and white card behind the blue and yellow card. And down the inside, Poppelkuhl's made it happen. Down the inside of Chapman's. He comes back at him though. Horner fighting back. He's got the ideal line. And the Lando Norris kart with the time engine on Ben Horner's kart.
Just about to start their last lap, and it's all over the slot as they go round the second part of the boot. But across the line, is the 2:11. It does a dive up the inside there by Gregor Reed. I think he may have got ahead of Marcel Poppelkuhl there, up into oblivion. But we're going to have to go away from this one and find our leaders again.
Yeah, we're going to have to find our leaders. Kasper Tomalewski, who's still being hassled by Harry Hurst
there
and
they are.
Alison Smith.
Lovely little move there from young Frank.
Exactly as we left it. Exactly as we left it.
To the half metre.
I'm pretty sure it's been an intense battle. But I think Tomalewski, who knows Harry Hurst Grover, who knows Addison Smith, these three battled their way through 2023. It was Tomalewski who took the championship from Harry Hurst Grover, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3. So close you can pitch the proverbial tent over them as the checker flag flies.
And in the 2,000th of a second in the end.
Incredible, side by side.
2,000th of a second. Kasper Tomalewski takes it from Harry Hurst Grover by 2,000th of a second. I don't think we've got a replay of that, have we? No, fair enough. That's too much to ask for. It came from nowhere. Addison Smith is scored in third. Oliver Fabricus is scored fourth. Logan Howes fifth. Ben Horner is sixth, but I think actually Ben will be down if the penalties applied in 13th. Then you've got Gregor Reed over the line in 7th, Marcel Poppelkuhl in 8th, James Kelly in 9th, Braith Murdoch in 10th, Jack Robinson in 11th, Ewan House in 12th. All those will move up one place if the Horner penalty stays. 13th, Andrew Dixon. 14th, Len Barlow. 15th, Lewis Summer. Then he's got Luke Sawyers, Charlie Very, Riley Morgan, 18. Emily Cooper's also got a penalty, which I think is going to drop her down to 23rd, but currently scored 19th. Callum Ghosh is 20th. Molly Pugh, 21st. Aidan McDonald, 22nd. And it's Lewis Holt, Connor Dolan, Sam Green, Gomez is 25th. John J. Buchan, Archie Johnny, Bella Brown, 28th. Matt Smith, Ashton Brown, Elliot Foster, and Joshua Jarvis. And every single one of those 32 karts got the trip. Therefore, they did all the 9 laps. And given the treacherous conditions, that's a pretty impressive performance by those racers. So what have we got next? Next up is the second of the Might E's. So it's going to go quiet for a bit as the electric Might E's come onto the track. Now, have I got the grid is the question. I always think you might have the grid. I don't know. Let's find out if I have the grid. And then secondly, can I read the grid? Because I haven't got this grid dark in here and I haven't even got my glasses. So it's I'll be fine. So unfortunately, what's happened is that somebody has to actually... no, that's not right. Someone hasn't actually put that... Yeah, found them now. Someone hasn't put these in the right order, so there's going to be a bit of an argument with Joe about not putting his paperwork together. And here we go. Okay, right. So the Might E Heat 2, Mighty Bamboo, the electric Bambinos. And it is in pole. It's Junior Wright. Then you've got Ralph Martin in second. Felix Tandy starts in third. Ollie West in fourth. Jensen James Williams is in fifth. Maximilian Mikalski, is in sixth. Heath Smith is in seventh. Jack Harper eighth. Ava Garrett ninth. Oliver Woodall 10th. Etienne Gardner 11th. Nico Mohan is in 12th. Frank Pearson's 13th. Harry Jarvis is 14th. Arthur Bath is 15th. Kai Erigonsoy is in 16th. And Hugo Williams is in 17th place. Joseph.
Electric karts back out there.
Electric karts.
Now, we were going to be joined by Johnny from Might E. However, he's got new customers to entertain.
Hang on. So what you're saying is he feels that the customers are more important than being on the telly.
Well, his marketing's working because he's got new customers. He's going to tell us all about it tomorrow. It's just Johnny will be able to give us more of a technical insight as to what these electric Bambino karts are all about.
I understand.
You
the theory.
You absolutely
However,
do.
The practice obviously is down to Johnny.
Yes. Yes, you absolutely do understand.
Having raced electric cars as I have since 1980.
Yes, RC scale models.
Scale motorsport.
What sort of scale?
1/12, 1/10, 1/8.
There you go. Well, this is real life scale.
Real life, but actually not, because they're Bambinos. They're like, but they're like
Well,
quarter scale.
They
of
are
real
quarter
people.
scale real people. They're from 6 to 8 years old. So these youngsters who absolutely astound me. I'm sick of saying this, but I can't help but say it. They astound me with their racecraft, the way they go about their just driving around a track, and their understanding of speed and momentum, and they understand what a racing line is and how to get the best out of these karts. They really do. They're mind-blowing. And then I meet them at the podium for the other trophy presentation at the end of the day, and it's like, how small are you?
Little kids.
How small are you?
I love it when they're walking around.
Big beaming smiles.
They walk around the pits, obviously all suited up, and the helmet is bigger than half the child.
Now, this is another age-appropriate comment I'm going to make. They remind me of, they all look like Jim Bamba cartoons.
They do indeed. It should be the Jim Bambino, shouldn't it, really?
Jim Bamba was a cartoonist who had an
Autosport.
Autosport cartoon strip. And it would always be
drivers
motorsport
the drivers
related.
wear their helmets, weren't they? Rather than face.
It's a standing start for these Bambinos. They're on treaded tyres, which is standard fare. The LeConte all-weather tyre for the mighty Bambino series, and away they go. And the pack of electric carts.
Cleaner start this
Someone's
time.
turned the volume down, as all you can hear is the tyres on the wet track. There's no noise from them whatsoever, and of course, zero emissions.
Well, looking over his shoulder going, where the heck is everybody else? Is Ralph Martin. He's got this massive lead after 2 quarters. They'll come back, don't worry. They'll be with you in a minute. I think it's Ollie West has picked up second, despite being scored fourth over the line. That's my guess, because there's a kind of a shuffleage of numbers. I think that's West in second. I just need to get a little bit of a look at the numbers on the other carts. Oh, facing the wrong way there was Felix Tandy. He's just spun on the 28. So just coming into Ashby for the first time. Look at the third place cart. That's the Tandy cart.
He's going to do that a lot.
See his dad
in
do that.
motorsport. yeah, I'm sure.
Not obviously. Well, let's not talk about that. Anyway,
yeah, there's lots of those
the greatest
stories.
racing driver I ever saw was a very well-known British driver who actually took the car and wrecked it during the lap to the grid. That's Alan McNish in the 2008 Petit Le Mans. And he wrecked the car on the way to the grid, and then he literally drove it back over 10 hours to the lead, beating the Penske's. And that's
can happen.
Another reference that no one listening is going to care about apart from us.
Not at all, Nick. I'm just dropping off here with that, so I'm going to go back to this race.
It's an awful thing to say.
I'm going to go back to this race because Ralph Martin leads on lap 1, crossing the line. Ollie West is in second. He's got 1.5 seconds already as Ollie West. Heath Smith in third, a further 1.5 behind. Another 1.5 seconds or so is Maximilian Michalski. Oliver Woodle is in fifth. Jack Harper sixth. Seventh is Nico Mohan. And then Hadley Jarvis in 8th, Etienne Gardner in 9th, Ava Garrett is rounding off the top 10. Then we've got Frank Pearson, Arthur Bath, Jensen James Williams, Junior Wright, Hugo Williams, the recovering Felix Tandy after that spin, and it's Kai Erginsoy, Kai Erginsoy, who rounds off the 17-cart field.
So top three, in fact the top four are all strung out. In fact the top six, it's like they've spaced themselves out for qualifying. There is no...
They're equally spaced out. Now remember, 6 to 8 years old, these are, if you look at the amount of novice plates we've got with this Mighty Kart series, we've only got 3 drivers who've got a licence. And so we've only got 3 drivers with any kind of experience. So what you'll find is they'll kind of instinctively back off one another, because they're not used to lapping very, very close to one another. As they gain confidence in what they're doing, and especially in the track conditions, as they gain confidence, they kind of begin.
Sounds like us in iRacing.
They come together. Absolutely, it's the same concept.
Just back off, people.
It's the same concept. Yeah. Heath Smith in third was the fastest kart on the track there. The first driver to dip into the 17s, 1:17.9 for Heath Smith. The gap has come down slightly. It was 1.6 seconds or so to Ollie West in second. It's come down to 1.3 3. We'll keep an eye to see if that gap continues to drop. But Ollie West is still 1.5 seconds behind the leader, Ralph Martin. So nothing changing there in the top 3. It's just under 7 seconds back to 4th, who's got 4.5 seconds of Jack Harper in 5th. And then Nico Mohan a further 2 seconds behind in 6th.
Yeah, there's a big spread. Obviously, as you say, this is their first race. And they are also enjoying British weather conditions for the first time as well on a racing track.
As long as we see 17 big, happy, smiling faces at the end of this race, then objective achieved. Because it's all about the fun of driving their karts. The added addition of the joy of racing and being competitive is just an icing on an already very rich cake for these youngsters. And we are getting a bit of a race here as Heath Smith comes back to Ollie West. And we will see whether or not... Well, I have no idea what that means. But we have got a battle. And that's the leaders, actually. I thought it was Ollie West and Heath Smith. And Ralph Martin there has now got Ollie West right on his tail there, half a second behind.
I can't hear you.
Oh, sliding wide. But this is a battle for the lead. Now, this has come out of nowhere. We saw the gap being 1.5 seconds for 2 consecutive laps. And then we've got this battle coming down to just half a second.
To show the field.
I know. I was looking forward to going through the field and showing everybody every single karter, and then we have this develop, and we can't really break away from this.
No, you can think, right, we're going to have a little run through the field, and we can talk through. And no, at that point, Ollie West has had a good weekend, to be honest. Is now running into the back of, not running back, running right behind Ralph Martin now. Ralph. Very relaxed. He's not done the dangerous and constant checking over his shoulder, has he? I'll just drive around, it's fine.
No, he's driving around. That's good. But they're absolutely nose to tail, bumper to bumper, out of Crook Corner and on the straight up towards Christmas Corner now. And still no look over his shoulder, is there? Oh, and down the inside. No. But no, he's got the grip on the outside line. Ralph Martin.
Going well. So as they come back down towards Ashby. Oh, he's gone. Oh, dear, that was Ralph Martin spinning. Let's see that one again. And Ollie West who spun. Ralph Martin. Ollie West comes down the outside and then asked a bit too much of the kart. He tried to counter and just went and spun, and he went for the lead. But what did he come lap with? Nout. And it's Ralph Martin back in the lead as West's valiant attempt to take the lead. Well, he's learned something, and he's entertained us. So
that's a shame.
It's fine.
That's a shame.
He's fine.
He might not have a smile at the end of this. But like I say, it's a big learning curve.
He won't have lost too many places because he was 18 seconds ahead of the 4th place man.
Yeah, that's true. So Ralph Martin, then. This gives us an opportunity to have a look at the field, Paul.
Well, we'll do it again this time when they go up past Frank.
We've got under 90 seconds to do it. So we will try and follow some of our field round. Let's have a look at Ava Garrett. Let's just see them file through.
So there we have our leader, Ralph Martin. He's got 2nd place, which is Heath Smith. Ollie West only dropped to 3rd after that massive issue. Now, the interesting thing, he is so far ahead that when he comes off the shop, we can just see the next kart, which is Jack Harper. And then behind that is the red and the pink of Oliver Woodhull. And then there's going to be another little gap. And here's a battle. And that's a battle between Jensen James Williamson Jr. Wright coming towards us, those 2 karts. And looks like Junior might be just trying to drift out. And then behind Junior Wright is Maximilian Michaels. And then there's another bit of a gap before Ava Garrett, who might just come into view now. That's Ava Garrett in the pinky kart. And then behind Ava should be the recovering Felix Tandy, who was facing the wrong way and in absolutely dead last. So
he's come up the field, hasn't he?
He'll be sitting there. He'll be disappointed with what happened on the first lap and probably quite pleased after that. Then you've got Etienne Gardner and Frank Pearson who are right together. And then behind them you've got Arthur Bath. And then this final kart actually running is Kai Ergensen. I'm wondering how long we wait now before the leaders come round again. In fact, any second now, Ralph is going to come into the view on the left-hand side. There he is, and we'll pick up with our leader after having let the entire field go through, and it's taken a lap.
That's very nice. That's very nice, seeing all of this mighty Bambinos field go through, all 17 karters coming through. We lost Hugo Williams on lap 3, so we didn't get a chance to see Hugo there. But it's all about Ralph Martin, isn't it? Started on the pole. He was under a lot of pressure from Ollie. It was Ollie West who pressured him, wasn't it? And then had that spin, challenging for the lead. But if you don't try, you don't get. So all credit to Ollie West there.
I thought it was a really good move, and he nearly gathered it up. And next time, he probably will.
Yeah, he learnt that. And that's what these youngsters are going to learn, isn't it? Racecraft is what we call it. And learning to drive around a track at speed is slightly different to learning how to race around a track. And it's Ralph Martin then who is into and out of the boot. He leaves that second apex well alone at the boot and will take the checkered flag and take the second heat win.
One more to go? One more to go?
A final lap, is it?
One more to go.
Oh, I was getting ahead of myself.
You have got ahead of yourself.
I thought he'd already seen the last lap board.
He literally didn't see it by about 7 seconds.
Right.
So with these minute and 20 laps, this is when of course the general kind of drift away from the timetable.
Right, I haven't hexed it for him. I hope he can.
Can you do it?
One more lap to go.
What you need now to do is add that Jeopardy commentary they put in when there's nothing exciting in there.
Well, you know what? I think we tend to take for granted that these competitors, these drivers, these youngsters, they will turn in at the right speed. They will brake at the right speed.
We saw one person losing the last lap, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And you know when they make the slightest of mistakes, and it can all go horribly wrong. You know, we kind of go, what happened there? But it's so easy to do. I mean, they're driving these karts on the edge of their grip and adhesion. And Ralph Martin, if he's not careful, will catch the driver at the back of the field there, one of the back markers, as he continues. And he's only got, 3 corners to go now? Two corners
he's in
to
the
go
boot now. He's got a 10-second lead. It's all worked out very well after Ollie went a little bit over-ambitiously into Ashby on about lap number 4. Lap number 3, and there across the line to win is Ralph Martin. Well done, Ralph. Great run. And then we will wait various amounts of time for other people to go across the line.
Yeah. So the way they will finish will be Heath Smith will take second. The gap of the line was just under 11.5 seconds. Ollie West, the recovering Ollie West, slides kind of in a very sort of entertaining style out of the final turn, and will finish a further just under 10 seconds behind in third. Jack Harper finishes with his checkered flag in fourth. The next kart through will be Oliver Woodhall, and then the next kart through, weaving across the line there in showboating style.
Shogun style? Mitsubishi Shogun style.
Maximilian Michalski. And then we've got Junior Wright crossing the line in 7th. Jensen James Williams finishes in 8th place. And then we've got Eva Garrett in the very distinctive pink helmet and the pink rear bumper. That's Eva.
Felix Tanny gave himself a bit of a well done for getting across the line. Good stuff, Felix.
Well, it was a good recovery drive, Felix, after that spin. Getting back up to 10th. You'll be happy with that. Hope Nick encourages you so. Etienne Gardner.
Out of interest, but by the time the last person crosses the lap, this race will be over. Almost 12 minutes old on an 8-minute race.
Could be, yes.
Because he's gone to 10:27. There's a minute and 17 behind. So it doesn't matter, but it's just then they've got to take another minute to clear the grid. It is getting dark. That is a very good point you're making there. How many races have we got? 1 or 2? 2. They should be all right. They are now. Well, actually, they're not that far behind. Was the last race supposed to start at half 5?
I hadn't finished the rundown, you know. You did know that, didn't you? I need to mention these kids at the back of the field that are waiting for me to mention their names.
Hang on. Well, it's getting dark, but lighting up the track with these drivers.
Yes, so Frank Pearson it was in 13th. Nico Mohan in 14th. Kai Ergensoy in 15th. Arthur Bath finished 16th. And Hugo Williams, we lost it on lap 3. I didn't see him go off.
Careless of us.
Yes, Hugo Williams. So we've got our Honda Cadets out next. And it will be a full quarter of Honda Cadet 200s. Just going to scratch that off and have a look.
So we're down to how many? 2 more?
We've got 2 more heats, yeah.
And what time should this one have gone off?
5:15.
Oh, we're only 7 minutes behind.
Yeah. We've been about that, haven't we?
We were 14 back at one point.
Not far behind. And the light's going to be... If we had those black clouds that we had earlier, that would have been a tragedy.
All going well.
So, yes, it is all going well. Honda Cadet. Where's my Honda Cadet grid? just going to look for it now. There it is there, the Honda Cadet 200 qualifying grid. And we will have a rundown of the grid. Magiris Kovekis was indeed our pole position driver after the time qualifying session. Archie Loveridge alongside on row 1. Albie Smith in 3rd, Ed Spain 4th, Ricky Junior McIntosh 5th, Archie Cannon in 6th. Then we've got Ralphie Branscombe and Kevin Ivanov in 7th and 8th. 5th row of the grid is Oliver Ratton and Riley Blakemore, Cian Sullivan and Ronnie Smart 11th and 12th. 13th and 14th we've got Luke McGall and Ryan White. Ella Dixon and Elliot Borg are on 15th and 16th. And then 17th and 18th we have got 17th and 18th Daniel Barton, Otto Amy, Ashton Horsepill and Tyler Banks are on row 10. Row 11 is Finley Thursfield and Jack Whites. Jacob Letherby and Sophie Morrison next. Then we've got Freddie Budd and Ollie Knox, Dino Rowlands and Luke Jardine, Jane Prakash, Harley Bradbury Stretton, Jerry Duffy, Reggie Duffy, Jaden Patel Scott and James Pearson round off the grid. And I think we've got everybody there apart from, once again, Jaden Patel Scott, who was in the entry but didn't qualify, and he has not come out. So 32 carts. 32 carts. We've got 2 carts missing from the qualifying rundown. It's another standing start this time for Honda Cadets. And carts to look out for: Ronnie Smart starting 12th, Ryan White, the number 1. He's the current reigning MSUK British champion. He starts 14th. Both of these drivers moved through very much up the order in Heat 1. So we'll keep a wary eye on that one. The grid just forming up nicely and clearing as we do so.
Hello to Gaz Bury.
Hello,
Just
Gaz.
tune in. Hello,
Yes.
Gaz. Hey, mate.
Every series needs a Gaz Bury.
It does, actually.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree with that more this week. Couldn't agree with that more. And he beautifully wrapped your clipboard, which
He
you
did.
then left and forgot to have
I
on
left
the
with
screen.
Nick Tandy, yes. Shh, don't tell him. But I retrieved it. So all good. All good, Nick. Thanks, mate.
Oh, you know.
Remind me never to commit a crime with you, will you?
You're a policeman.
Well, I was. Not so much now. Talk amongst yourselves. I'm just going
What
to
are
take
you
me
doing?
take me meds.
Oh, right, yeah. We
So I don't kick off.
We are working with the elderly here, so there's several times when there needs to be some sort of pillage going on.
I need me dinner, that's what it is.
You had the world's biggest burger for lunch.
Hours ago.
You had a burger that would have fed most of Kuwait.
It was the size of me head. Right
Right,
then, we've got the light sequence going on. One, the lights
Away.
go out, and away we go. And this gaggle of Honda Cadet carts get off towards oblivion, still slipping and sliding around. Track conditions are still appalling, really. There is zero grip out there, even for treaded tyres.
Oh.
As we get it in towards Christmas, and moving and
Nudgage
shaking
there,
from
wasn't there?
left to right. Yeah, it's the 99 there of Albie Smith, who
It's-
moved up into second. But I tell you what,
Said Spain was third.
nobody had traction coming out of Christmas.
No, it's got greasy now. I think we got that point of the day where it's now greasy, not
This is what you
wet.
mentioned
on the
earlier,
track,
isn't
yeah.
it? You mentioned this earlier.
But I think it's Albie Smith who's leading in the 99 cart. Behind him is the 72 of Ed Spain, and then it looks like the 42 of Archie Cannon. So it's going to be quite a big change from how they crossed the line on lap 0, effectively. And now up the outside comes that 99 car.
Oh, he hasn't
Smith,
quite,
no, he's
hasn't
having a bit
quite
of a
got the
row with
line.
Ed Spain. So Spain actually got past Smith there, and now he's trying to get back again.
So as they cross the line and complete the first lap of the second heat, and look at the number 1 there, Ryan White, up from 14th and into 3rd.
That's amazing.
In one lap of racing, the British champion carrying the number 1. And there we got a massive example of why Ryan White is carrying that number 1.
So Ryan obviously had a bad qualifying.
Yes, I
But
think so.
now tomorrow we go into the super heats, and the
Yes.
super heats are set on the results of these two
Yeah,
heats, aren't
he's
they?
gonna
So
be
he'll
right up there.
be near the front. Yeah. So it's at least you can make a progression from a problem, which is always good.
Yeah, I kind of like this format. It's slightly different. And there he is into second place already, ahead of Albie Smith. Down into Ashby. He slides wide, and Ashby Smith
Back
comes
to third,
Albie
and back
Smith
to
comes
second.
back. Yeah. Oh, now he's back up to second. Cracking racing, this. Absolute, as ever. Honda Cadets.
And now
Albie Smith
dropped
going
back
wide.
again. Yeah, but they're interesting that kind of ebb and flow did allow Ed Spain to get away a little bit. His lead last time round was 0.3 of a second. My guess is it'll be slightly more this time, though he is now being heavily hunted by that red and white, well, mainly red but slightly white cart of Ryan White.
Now that irate gentleman that came to our booth window there.
Yes, who was that? Yeah, who was it?
That's Ryan White's dad.
Is it?
Who's absolutely delighted about the red and white comment I made about his car.
Is he a Sunderland
Big
fan,
from Newcastle.
Oh, Newcastle.
He really appreciated that. He's going to take a lot of stick. But Project One is a team that he chose, and Project One colours are Sunderland's colours.
What's the betting? It's going to be black and white by next event.
Red and white stripes for Ryan White work for me. I'm sure they don't work for Paul. But I'm sure Ryan loves the colour of his car.
You northeasterners, honestly. Brilliant.
The rivalry goes on, doesn't it? Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Ed Spain being chased down by Ryan White. Then at the line, it was Ryan White with fastest lap, a 1 minute 3.126, literally her thousandths of a second quicker than Ed Spain. So they are coming down. The gap's less than a second. We'll check that at the line as they get out onto the back straight, just out of Chapman's now, heading towards the boot. The battle is all about this lead battle. The British champion there on the number 1, catching the number 72 of Ed Spain. Or is he? That's the question. The gap was 0.9 of a second last time by. Let's see where it is as they cross the line now. 3 laps completed. Spain across the line. The gap 0.7, so it's come down 0.2. And another fastest lap from Ryan White. 1 minute 2.887. He's the first and only driver into the 1 minute 2s as well. So Ryan White, the fastest man on this track, as the track begins to dry, get less wet, I think. It's never going to dry.
That's a better way of putting it.
It's never going to get dry.
But then literally the grip is going to start disappearing before it comes back again, because you are now getting off the wet line and trying to get back on the dry line.
And it's the time of night as well. The sun's here in the UK.
There's no temperature. It is
here in the UK.
Parky out there, I have been told.
Well, I don't know where people are watching from, but here in the UK, it's going to be full dark by 6 o'clock. And it's what time is it now here?
It's half five, yeah.
Yeah, so the light is going to start going away. We get to turn the clocks forward into springtime at the end of this month of March. But right now, we are battling against time to get this underway. Inside the second half then, 0.7 of a second was the gap from Ryan White there on the number 1, catching Ed Spain.
That's further, I think, isn't it, visually?
Oh, it's out to a second,
yeah,
yes.
It looked a bit further.
Ed Spain takes the fastest lap, 1 minute 2.689. He snatches that
let's just drift back to 3, 4 and 5, who are a little bit closer at the moment. Certainly 4, 5 and 6, in fact, are really battling. With the leader of that pack being the 73 of Archie Loveridge, with Kevin Ivanov and Ralphie Branscombe behind him. All scrapping away. We'll make sure we don't lose the guys at the front, but that's just been stretching. So these... Of course, there's a huge amount of sticker colourage. There's so many colours in all those carts at that point. It was like someone had been ill at a psychedelic festival, that was. That's a pause for you to take over.
All right, okay. I thought you had something to say.
Where am I going to go from someone being ill at a psychedelic festival? Joe. Do I have to say Joe now this time?
That's why I left it. So what's going to happen here then? The number 42 of Archie Cannon being caught by Archie Loveridge on the 73 there. That's the blue and yellow and the red, yellow and black cart that we're battling here. Archie Cannon on the 42, just ahead. Battle at the front down to 9/10. Looks like Ed Spain's got that, but the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th now is the battle we're going to continue to watch as the leaders just come underneath us. It's whether or not that Archie Loveridge can catch Archie Cannon. Behind them, Ralphie Branscombe, Kevin Ivanov and Cian Sullivan. 3-card battle there. Great stuff, as ever, from the Honda Cadets. Time running out as well, Nick. They're getting down to the final 2 minutes of the afternoon. Yeah,
there's a couple minutes to go, and certainly this battle 3 down to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 is really raging at the moment. The top two, they're not... Ryan White, who made that fantastic move from 14th down to 3rd in the lap and then moved forward, hasn't got much further. There's a move now made in this middling pack. Oh, it's very, very good.
No, that's
move.
for 3rd, mate. That's for 3rd.
No, I'm saying it's 72 of Loveridge. He kind of put the cart where Cannon couldn't therefore take the line, had to back out. Now he's done it with 2.5, 3 laps to go, but interestingly it's Cannon who doesn't seem to have a huge amount of speed. He's now a lot of pressure from Ralphie Branscombe in the 96.
Yeah, Branscombe's coming in because it was Loveridge that got by Cannon, and now that's left Cannon exposed to Branscombe. We're getting towards inside the final 90 seconds then, and Archie Loveridge tries to pull away, loses time there though to Archie Cannon, who comes back at him. And if anything, that's allowed him back onto his bumper, and Branscombe can reap dividends here if these two start tripping over one another. This is the battle for 3rd right there. The bright green helmet there of Archie Cannon almost pulled alongside. Oh, he's down the inside. Yeah. Down the inside at Parker's, but he then comes back round the inside.
There's Branscombe. That's Branscombe up there. We're trying to get both of them. He's got one. He's got one. So Branscombe moves into fourth.
We could see that coming. We knew that Branscombe was waiting for that. Once these two started to trip over one another, and they did, that's what allowed Branscombe through. Now he's on the rear bumper, or will try to get onto the rear bumper of that cart ahead of him, which is Archie Loveridge.
Yeah, it's looking pretty. Just so you know that the front is going across the line again. It's down on a 10th, but it's still just shy of 9/10. So in the last 4 laps, Ryan White has gained 0.15 of the second.
Ed Spain responded, didn't he?
And it's not like you get into 1 second and then you can pull the DRS flap and get a bit closer. You've actually got to do the work yourself and get closer and closer and closer. But we are still, this is the penultimate lap. So they've got this one and one more. The battle is being joined by Loveridge and Branscombe here. Branscombe, the second of those two cars, Loveridge with the blue helmet.
Branscombe's not done, Nick. He's got, knowing young Ralphie Branscombe as we do here on Karting Live TV, we know he's not done. And Archie Loveridge is not done as well, and he's going to wave off the advances of Branscombe. He knows he's there. He just looked over his shoulder there. He saw who it is. They know each other intimately, these lot. They've been racing in various championships for the last few years in the Honda Cadet 200s. And as they come across the line...
Oh, too wide, Ralphie.
The gap at the front is down to half a second, and they're inside the back markers.
Let's try and we can shift forward.
There's a challenge.
What's going on there? So we'll have to see what it comes out. But these are our leaders. And Ryan White has got right onto Ed Spain as they're going through Christmas Corner now.
This is a battle for the lead then. Ed Spain, who did respond to the advances of Ryan White, but Ryan White's kept his head down, kept the pressure on. And now we've got Spain having to defend into the right-hand of Ashby. Now they head to Parker's. They're not quite alongside each other, but it's a defensive line which is going to compromise that. And that did indeed compromise Ed Spain. And Ryan White moves down the inside, out of Parker's and towards Chapman's, and he's going to clinch this lead. No, he's coming over your left shoulder, Ryan.
Oh, I looked the wrong way, and this could nearly, well, it almost was, wasn't it?
Yeah, side by side.
There was more than that. That was touchy.
Yeah, it was.
And he wasn't happy about it.
Yeah, it's not happy.
Not happy. There may be a little bit of a conversation in the stewards. He's saying, I don't like this. I was squeezed across.
He felt that Ryan White turned into him.
Let's have a look. They came down. He didn't give him any room at all, did he? And they were 90% alongside.
Ryan White did look over his right-hand shoulder, and he didn't see anybody there, and that's because Ed Spain was on his left-hand shoulder.
But when he turned, he would have known where the cart was. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know. We'll leave that to Dan Ashton.
I can see why Ed Spain was irritated. It doesn't necessarily mean that anyone's broken any rules.
That's not our job, mate. Our job is to inform. Let's leave Dan Ashton that one.
Lucky old Dan.
So Ryan White, the current British champion, takes the first place there in the second heat.
By no thousandths of a second. Oh, there's a timing glitch. It's not no thousandths of a second, is it?
No, it's 0.3. So, can I?
Yeah, go for it, love.
All right. It's just I thought you were going to interrupt again.
I may do.
So,
when did you become so precious?
Well, it's every time I go to make a rundown, you make some comment about nothing.
What, a comment about the actual result?
It was wrong, though.
Well.
Right then. He came from 14th to 1st, did Ryan White.
Someone's...
on the final lap. Because I'm getting precious, I'm beginning to be a diva. And I don't even like myself. All right. I'm going to have to give myself a slap. Ed Spain was second then. Just over 2 seconds was Ralphie Branscombe in third. From Archie Loveridge, who was right on the rear bumper of Branscombe in third. Equally on the rear bumper of Loveridge was Archie Cannon in fifth. And on his bumper was Cian Sullivan, who had Kevin Ivanoff on his bumper. Then there was a bit of a gap, 1.7 seconds to Luke McGall in 8th. Riley Blakemore was 9th, Ashton Horsepool 10th. And then outside the top 10, we had Ella Dixon, Ronnie Smart, Albay Smith, Jack Wykes, Oliver Ratton, Tyler Banks, Elliot Bourke, Ricky Junior McIntosh, Finley Thursfield, Otto Arney, Jane Prakash, Jacob Letherby, and we've just lost them off the screen. That was the rundown, because we're already getting on with our junior primo class. Now, this is the class for ages 2 to 14. It's just underneath
2 to 14?
Sorry, did I say 2 to 14? 12 to 14.
That'd be, you got some toddler wandering into the car.
All right. Calm down.
Well, no, someone's been a bit of a diva and snapping me down. I think he's a bit of a snappy edge.
So 12 to 14, this is the class junior primo, just underneath junior Rotax, exactly the same carts, just age group.
Someone stopped.
Oh, and that is not good. Daniel Hartley from Maya Simpson, Ellis Daly, Finley Hans, Zach Kane, Tyler Davis, third row, fourth row, Ethan Bath and Thomas Butcher, Jack Johnson, Alessio Malfa, Oscar Pitt, Leighton Kelly. It's Eddie Stewart and Ewan Stevenson sharing the 7th row. 8th row is Alfie Forrester and Kart Ainskip Clarkson. Riley Mason-Lewis and Laurie McVeigh. From Dominic Thornton, Sophie Caldwell, and then rounding off the 21 cart field is Bella Fairclough. I'm not sure who that was that remained stranded on the run down towards
like the cart
Christmas.
Just died, and they have pulled it off already now, so they could get this going as far as yellow flags are concerned. But there's been they took 3 goes last time, didn't they, to get this one rolling?
And yes, again, they did. They did take a while.
That doesn't look right to me.
That's not right at all. That
doesn't look right to me. No, that wasn't even close.
That didn't even look. I mean, that looked more like coming out of the final turn at the end of lap 1.
Alfie Forrester was
trying to start.
Alfie Forrester was the broken down cart.
That's a shame. Alfie Forrester.
Not a nice way to end the day, but it's not the end of the meeting because there's 2 superheats tomorrow. So
yeah, but it's going to put him down the grid. He'll not be happy with that. The youngster just being taken to safety there in the marshal's post, just being rushed towards the marshal's post, out of harm's way. The cart just being recovered to a safe place. As Daniel Hartley, he will continue to bring the field round, and hopefully, we did have a problem with these. These have kind of taken over the mantle of Mini-Max, haven't they?
They have.
It's the same age group. It's the same age group. There
we go. It's the same kid. You just can't tell them. You can't tell them to be. You can't tell them to go to bed. You can't tell them what to eat their dinner, and you certainly can't tell them how to start a race.
So the MSUK implemented the new Intermax class with the different size chassis and tyre, the smaller chassis, the different tyre, the less restricted engine. The Minimax was phased out, and Junior Primo is kind of filling that gap regards the age group. The performance of the karts are exactly what we're going to see for juniors.
Go Riley Mason-Lewis, says Chris Wilson.
Let's see if Riley Mason-Lewis can indeed
go.
Yeah.
We go better this time? No, that's terrible again.
No.
That's terrible again.
They're not even in grid formation.
They're not even trying.
They're not even in grid formation.
Someone else has broken down now. We may never. This race may go to the darkness, in fairness, or they might run out of fuel. We've lost another cart, which is that yellow cart. Someone else has stopped. The blue cart stopped.
Is that Eddie Stewart?
I don't know. It's just a complete disaster.
That's
like 14, isn't it?
That's
14.
Is it 14?
Is there a 14? Is there a 14?
It could be a 14. Well, that's 15.
No, Sophia Caldwell there. It's in 14, I think.
Bella Fairclough.
Bella Fairclough and Sophia. So I think Sophia Caldwell stopped and Bella Fairclough stopped. So
that's a shame.
And they've just mechanically failed. So that's 3 carts have mechanically failed for some reason.
Yeah, and I don't understand that. Why that? Because that's very rare that happens. I'm not sure who that is in the blue helmet.
That was the 14. That's the 14 of Sophie Caldwell, I believe.
That's a shame.
So now they're going to give it a third go.
We lost 2 girls there.
Yep, they're giving it a third go now. Let's see how they do.
Come on, boys and girls. Let's get this right. Come on.
Just boys,
Stay in your grid formation. There's a big gap between the second row and the third
row.
Because
someone broke down, I think, and they're leaving the space.
Right, okay. We should... Right,
stay
in the tram lines.
No, that's awful
stay
again.
In the tram
that's
lines.
Awful again. Awful again.
I have a feeling we're going to have a talk to these
They're going to need
drivers.
They're going to need to shorten the race.
It is red flag. We're going to bring them round, and Dan Ashton is going to give them a piece of his mind, which nobody needs.
No, and he can't spare.
And we're going to have a talk. They're going to have a talking to Nick. We've seen this many times.
I know. They're just
like I said, this is the age group where for the last couple of seasons we've been covering the Mini-Max class.
Yeah.
And if anywhere across the board, doesn't matter what series it is, it's this age group that
I'd like to point out
they've got so much
Yes,
They've got
so much.
Yes,
but I'd like to point
absolutely.
out, just for those watching, it's doing that thing that cameras do. It's looking a lot brighter on the cameras than it is out there.
Yeah.
It is dull.
I think we've actually got the sun dropped beyond the horizon.
They're going to stop them on the back straight and give them a talking to.
Yeah, they usually do.
And
there's Richard, our assistant clerk of the course.
Going, what the bloody heck are you doing?
Looking like he's striving across there. Can Ash pick Richard up there?
No, we've got he'll see him in a second because he's got them when they park up. Any second now. There he is. There he is in the frame in a full strident mode.
Now Richard's a member of the RAF. He's
Is he an RAF? There's a lot of RAF people. Gaz is the next RAF as well, isn't he?
Richard's still in the RAF.
Is he? Okay.
Yeah, he's got his military stance, hasn't he?
That's not good. There's a lot of what 10, 11, 12 year olds.
Well, there's Dan as well.
There's about to be a riot act read at these people.
There's Dan Ashton in the black jacket as well, and the two clocks, the course. They're very experienced. These two, they know exactly what to do with this age group.
Are they concerned that they've got the carts in the wrong place?
I'm not sure if it's that. Well, I'm pretty sure that's not why we didn't start it. We didn't start it because the grid was in a right old array.
The guy there is going, why are we going round? What's wrong? It's because you haven't managed to make a start yet, Mr. Kane.
Yeah. So while the riot act has been read to our junior primo competitors, it gives us a chance to look at the calendar going forward. Nick.
Yes.
So this is round one at Whilton Mill. We're almost finished the first day of heats. We're going to our super heats tomorrow. Round two is at Glannygores in North Wales. That's on the 23rd and 24th of March. Again, all live, fully live streamed, 2 days of coverage on Karting Live TV.
With a special guest commentator.
Are we going to tell people who the special guest commentator is?
It's not me, though, because I can't go.
No, it's not you. No, you've got a wedding.
I've got a wedding. Not my personal wedding. It's my daughter's wedding.
When are we telling people who I'm going to be working with then?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll tell people tomorrow. I'm looking forward to not being interrupted, to be honest, Paul. It's got to be... It's good, in mid-floor. I mean,
You don't know. You've worked with them before.
I have.
It might be a nightmare.
I have, actually.
Have you?
Yeah. Whilton Law.
Oh, okay.
First day of the British Champs.
Did you get interrupted?
No. Wow. Nobody ever does, only you.
Do you know what that is?
In fairness, Nick, you do interrupt everybody.
And more importantly, you interrupt me.
Do I?
Yes, all the time.
Look at this
Because
footage.
effectively, this is commentary by an old married couple.
Yes, I didn't sign up for this. Anyway, round three of the Kart Championship is at Whilton Law.
Oh,
Coming all the way up north.
Again.
That's on the 27th and 28th of April. And guess what? For round 4 on my birthday weekend. Is it Rowra? You're coming all the way up north again.
That's where you had your first race, isn't it?
It is my very first race.
Of course, people in this championship haven't heard that story.
Excellent. I'll be able to tell it all again. We've got a very special... I know we've got a special event at PF International on the weekend of the 6th and 7th of July.
That's not us, though.
But that's not us, no.
Gosh, someone hasn't started.
And then we've got round 5, finalising the 2024 Championship on the 13th and 14th of July, and that's Lincolnshire for a visit to Fullbeck.
And Laurie McVie in the 33's not started, unfortunately.
Oh, that is another tragedy for her.
Oh, poor Laurie. That must be very frustrating. So they're going around again. Now they are now single-handedly responsible for most of the delay in the event, these boys and girls. Because they've done, they've done at least 6 extra laps. Now another 5 minutes.
I think we've lost our girl competitors. Bella Fairclough has pulled off, as has Sophie Caldwell.
Soylent Green New Deal Timeshare, which I don't know whether it's a name, an advert, or a love of a film. Will they race in the dark? They won't have to because this is the last race and it won't quite get dark. It's close, though, in fairness.
It's very close. We have got limited floodlights here at Whilton Mill.
They are limited. They're all right. They'll be all right for now.
We've done 4 laps, Nick. We've actually completed 4 laps.
I'm surprised they've not done they've not reduced the race time. I'm not sure whether you can do it now. Can you do it in MSK? I'm sure you can, can't you?
I'm pretty sure you can, yeah. So for the moment, though, we're gonna call this 8 minutes and 1 lap. They've had a good talking to, so we should get
damn good talking to.
Yeah, we should get this underway. Daniel Hartley and Ellis Daly.
Oh, now they're
Mia
slow
Simpson,
at this point.
Nice and slow at this point. Well ordered. Stay in the tram lines. That's what the starter wants to see.
No, nice 66.
And we get underway. Yes, we are racing. We are racing at last for our junior primo category. Out of Crook. And
No,
on towards
someone else has
Christmas.
got a technical.
Oh my goodness, that's Eddie Stewart.
I think you're right that time.
I think that's Eddie Stewart.
How many people have we lost?
We've lost a lot of people.
Was it 21 and now we're down to 60?
Oh, and there's
15,
a spinner.
there's a spin, that's 54.
There's the 54 off.
That's fourth place, Thomas Butcher. Butcher. Penalty for 60, because I said to you, 66 out of line, so a 5-second penalty for the 66 of Alessio Lamalfa.
Yeah.
And in fairness, you could see he was the one person who, after that very stern talking to, jumped out of his tram lines. You're going, come on.
Yeah, he leapt out of the tram lines. Our leader has got quite a gap, though.
Dan Hartley.
Our pole position man has turned that pole position into the lead of this second and final heat. In fact, our final heat of the day. The clock now ticking, and that track becoming that greasy, slippery, horrid thing that it becomes after a very wet,
greasy, slippery, horrible day.
Cold day.
Yeah.
It's not going to dry. We can drive around here until dawn. It's not going to dry. It's going to stay damp and greasy. Into Christmas Corner for the second time. Maya Simpson is in second place. Ellis Daly third. Zach Kane fourth. Alicia Lamalfa fifth. Oscar Pitt sixth. Seventh is Finley Hans. Ethan Bath. Jack Johnson. And it's Carter Inskip Clarkson rounding off the top 10. We have indeed lost Eddie Stewart.
No, that's a right wide out on the from Ellis Dealey there. It all hung out. Vin Diesel will be trying to sign him up for the next film. Low light playing havoc with our cameras.
Yeah, I was going to say that's down to low light there. The camera's struggling with focus.
Eddie's back already.
Eddie Stewart quickly changing into his...
He's retired. He's taking his hat off.
Yeah. He's going to tell us why he fell out there, yeah.
Well, everyone fell out. Tell you what.
In perfect racing driver style, Eddie Stewart, having retired from this 8-minute race, this is the sort of thing we get in a 3-hour race where the driver who retires. So, Eddie, commiserations, mate. What happened there then?
The car oiled up, sat too long on the red flag.
So we've seen a lot of karts though falling out, and is that what it is? It's oiling up.
Yeah, it's the oil's going. I did it last week at Mansell's where I was.
Right.
And it just oils up, and you get it started, but then it breaks down sort of.
And was that because we did actually 4 rolling laps?
Yeah.
We didn't get started, and all that time your plug's oiling up all that time.
Yeah, all that time. So it was just a combination. It didn't work.
Eddie was saying how hard you guys are having to drive out there with the slippery conditions. Just tell us how bad it is out there. How much grip have you got?
Very minimal amounts of grip. There's not a lot there at all.
So will the kart turn into the corner when you apply the steering?
If you get your tyres warmed up enough and you've got the gearing and tyre pressures right, it should do, as long as you can let the curbs and get the wet line. But it's harder than it looks. It really is.
What about getting the power on?
The power on, you've got to have your steering wheel straight, because if it's turning sideways or left, then you're just going to lose your rear, which rubs off speed.
And how cautious are you having to be on the brakes out there? Because we see karts snapping sideways with the rear axles locking. Is it really tricky?
Yeah, if you saw, I spun out twice last session, just pushing the limits to see where the braking points are, and sometimes it doesn't work, and that's what happened.
Yeah, bad luck, Eddie. We'll see you back here tomorrow, and I think you're going to join us for one of our heats. Eddie Stewart there. Thanks, Eddie, for popping in. That's great stuff. And great insight, because we speculate, don't
absolutely,
we?
Yeah.
We speculate, but it was Eddie who told us exactly what the conditions were like.
Awful.
And we can only commiserate with Eddie Stewart, who's going to pop in tomorrow and do some commentary. I'll not be interrupted for that heat then, Paul, eh?
Yes, you will, because I'll prod him. Obviously, I think if he probably we've had several oil plugs then, if it took him out.
Yes, we have, yeah. That's what we were seeing there. Yeah. So, it depends how slowly you're going and how much fuel and how rich your mixture is, I suppose. We used to adjust it by hand, didn't we? I don't think they do that in a Rolex, Max.
No, because it was a little kind of T-piece, and if you got it, and you had to do it like an eighth at most.
I know.
And then you were
you were bouncing around. Oh, jeez. You were bouncing around.
I found it hard enough to choke the engine. That was the thing. The amount of times I didn't choke the engine, nipped the engine up when I was doing well.
You forgot to choke it. Yeah.
Well, no, I thought, I need extra power. I'll just risk it.
Was that a TKM?
Yeah. The other problem is it's choking. The thing you have to remember is that when you choke, you have to keep the throttle down.
That's right, or else it's pointless.
It's pointless. Initially, when I was learning, I just did that, but took the throttle off. And I thought, this isn't me doing very much.
Yeah, that's pointless. Yeah. This is
you haven't got
actually.
a choke anymore, have you? So
Sorry?
you don't have a choke anymore.
No, you can't. It's all boxed in. All the air intake and everything's really, really refined. And you've got electronic ignition.
They don't know how lucky they are.
And engine management
you haven't
systems.
got a mate who has to start it on a big pole.
Yeah, absolutely. Engine management systems on these things are like, computers and stuff. We've got Daniel Hartley, who's, again, another driver to convert pole position into the lead of a heat. And with getting down towards 2 minutes of the meeting remaining, the light fading very, very quickly indeed. So we're just going to be in time before the sun disappears completely. Maya Simpson is the driver who's in second, dropped off about 1.8 seconds.
Again, and she's getting closer. She's getting closer.
Is she really? Let's have a
look.
It
didn't look like 1.8 seconds. I might be wrong, though.
1.8, Nick. It's 1.4. You're right, mate.
Do you know what? The one thing about RC commentaries, you get very good at visual gaps.
Yes.
Because you just work. I don't know what it is. You had this bin where you memorise where they were corner to corner.
I'm going to put this to the test then, right? So it was 1.4.
Yeah.
Frank still fighting with the light there.
It's not. Yeah, the camera and everything. There's so little light. It's finding it hard to focus.
The camera makes it look much lighter than it is.
3 times lighter than it really is.
Yeah, I'd say more. So we're going to put this to the test. There's Maya Simpson.
Yep.
That bright orange helmet.
Yep.
I think Maya's
She's lost a little bit of time. She's lost a little bit of time.
I think Maya's a girl. I don't know.
I'll go for the bright pink helmet as a giveaway. But she's lost some time.
Right. So what we're going to say the gap is.
Oh, no, I need to wait till they come in the next 2 corners.
All right, okay. Sure call.
So if Ash shows me over the line, I'll tell you what I think it is. And I'll say it before.
Here they come.
So I need to see the leader. I can't see the second place man. There's no person. There's no good for me.
Daniel Hartley across
the
line.
That's about 1.75.
The gap is 2 seconds.
There we are. You see, I thought it was more, didn't I?
Not bad, mate.
I thought it was more.
It was more than 1.4. You did say it was increasing. So the gap back out to 2 seconds. We've indulged Nick enough, so we'll move on to a rundown of the top 10.
It's your idea.
Ellis Daly third, Zach Kane fourth, Alessio Lamalfa just crosses the line in fifth. Then we've got Oscar Pitt crossing in sixth. In seventh, crossing the line now is Carter Inskip Clarkson. Ethan Bath is in eighth with Leighton Kelly right there on the rear bumper, and then it's Dominic Thornton rounding off that top 10.
Carter Inskip Clark has picked up a 5-second penalty for some sort of transgression. Perhaps not eating enough carrots to see in the night.
They are Carter is 4.3 seconds ahead of Ethan Bath in eighth, so he only needs 7/10 to secure 7th place. Actually, to secure 7th and 8th, he's going to drop to 9th place if he doesn't do that.
We're about to start the last lap of the day. Final lap of the junior primo. We're with the second place Maya Simpson. That's just a couple ahead, just 1 kart to our leader Daniel Hartley, who's managed to put it out just a bit further, even from 2 to 2.1. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 10 a.m. We've got 2 superheat rounds in the main final. The main final I think start off about 2:30 after lunch. So lots of karting action at the Kart Championship. And hopefully it won't rain. Hopefully. I'm not predicting, by the way. I'm just saying hopefully.
Today's forecast said it wasn't going to rain, and it rained a lot.
It did. Listen, luckily it's stopped now, which I'm quite pleased about, because I just realised something which should have been in the bag wasn't, and it didn't blow up, so that's okay.
All right, that's good.
It is good.
It's a bonus. That is the leader then, Daniel Hartley, who is making his way towards what will be the checkered flag.
It's finished. Yeah, it's all over. I did the whole thing to say we're back tomorrow.
A little bit of showboating.
How dark is it? How dark is it?
That is really dark.
They couldn't get. I don't think they get another one out. I don't think they get another heat off.
I don't think we would. Maya Simpson was second. 1.4 seconds was the gap at the flag. Ellis Daly third. Zach Kane just comes across the line in fourth. And we'll watch the rest of the field come through. Alessio Lamalfa through in fifth. Oscar Pitt sixth. And then we've got, we just await the arrival of Carter Inskip Clarkson. Let's see what Carter can do. The 5-second penalty being applied to, Leighton Kelly ahead in 7th. And Carter Inskip Clarkson finishes 8th on the road. However, they are going to drop behind Ethan Bath, where they will be 9th. So it's going to be Ethan Bath 8th, Carter Inskip Clarkson 9th, Jack Johnson 10th, Dominic Thornton, Thomas Butcher, Finley Hans, Riley Mason-Lewis, Ewan Stevenson, and we lost Eddie Stewart, of course.
We did. So, Hi.
Hi and goodbye.
Hi and goodbye. Yes, thank you very much for watching today. It was our first ever Saturday coverage of the Kart Championship, and we'll have our first ever Sunday coverage tomorrow for the main event with 2 superheat races and a fun. We're back at 10 a.m. tomorrow with more race action with Joe Bradley with me, Nick Damon, and with our fabulous and quite chilly camera people, Ash and Frank, and of course our man who's producing, but tomorrow has to do some camera as well, which is Paul, and he doesn't really have that. So
should we show Paul? No,
because we've arranged a reasonably good background here.
Yeah, we have.
We go over to Paul like a nuclear.
Your head is just blocking out the coffee.
Oh, hang on, there we go.
There it is.
No coffee.
No
coffee.
coffee. Yeah.
There we are.
Yeah.
So thank you very much indeed, and we will see you tomorrow.
See you in the morning.